Get ready for football with the Garrigan Golden Bear pregame show. Brought to you by your Edward Jones representatives Bruce Keith, Jerry Soka, Brady Ross, and Mackenzie Jorgensen. We've got interviews with coaches, the starting lineups, Kimnaw Auto Center's keys to the game, the Grassmasters field conditions report, Algona Plumbing and Heating's game time temperature, Eyes on Thornton's coin toss, and more as we preview tonight's matchup. The pregame is also brought to you by Kasuth Regional Health Center, your home for healthcare, JDR Seeds of Wesley, Tom Eich's Sales, your store in the country, Banwork Trucking of Audison, Cook's Scrap Iron and Metal, family owned since 1913, and Algona Feed Store, livestock, dog, and cat food. Here's Tyler Lance on the Golden Bear Edward Jones pregame show.
A good Wednesday morning and welcome to the Unidome in Cedar Falls as we have state semifinal football today between the 11-0 number 1 ranked Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears and the 11-0 number 5 ranked Audubon Wheelers. All 4 teams left in the 8-man class are undefeated, the best of the best. They have all arrived here in Cedar Falls as these 2 teams battle for a trip to the state championship game on Thursday, November 20th. Winning this one matching up against the winner of Woodbine and Gladbrook-Rhinebeck. I'm Tyler Lance alongside Beanie Bodie. Beanie, what a great morning for football. We've been anticipating this all throughout the season. At times it feels inevitable, but you earn your way to the Unidome. This is the best of the best in 8-man football, and the Golden Bears are ready to go back to the state championship levels they reached in 2023.
Best of the best is right, Tyler. Every team down here in 8-player is undefeated. They've all, I'm sure, had this on their target all season. Some expected to get here. The Bears certainly expected to get here, and thank goodness they did. What an achievement to get down here to the Unidome. So much fun to come into the Unidome and check in at the desk and get up the steps into the fancy press box here. I will miss the Conway Field season, but this is a great way to end it.
Yeah, what a great view we have up here in Cedar Falls looking down at this excellent Unidome football field, of course. We'll talk about it in our field condition report later on in the pregame, but they've got it all taped up for the 8-man games here. This 10 o'clock start time for us and the 1 o'clock start time for Gladbrook-Rhinebeck and Woodbine to follow. But Beanie, all throughout the season, you talk about focus for the Golden Bears. I think that's an important word because you come into these games, you know you're a massive favorite most of the time. It can be easy to lose focus, trip up somewhere along the line, but the Golden Bears didn't. They've won every game this season by at least 30 points. They got their biggest test of the season last week against Don Bosco, a close game at halftime, but a 31-7 scoring advantage in the second half. They left no doubt. They imposed their will, and they earned their way to the Unidome. And again, part of that, you go 11-0. You didn't trip up at any point in the season, so it's a testament to Coach Wadley and the staff and how focused they kept these guys on the ultimate goal of playing here in Cedar Falls.
Yeah, there are a lot of teams right now saying shoulda, coulda, woulda, because so many ways to not make it in the playoffs. When you get through those playoffs every night, every game in the playoffs is such a challenge. All those teams are such quality teams when you get to the playoffs. So, like, you're right, it's so easy. You could have any sort of misstep along the way or just play a bad game, and to be able to keep that focus game in and game out and to stay on that solid ground and keep putting your best foot forward, it almost is a huge relief. You could see it on some of the players' faces after that game against Don Bosco. Very good team in Don Bosco. Great win for the Bears. They had a great second half, and when that second half bell finally buzzed, boy, those players just had this huge look of not just celebration but also of relief, like we did it. We stayed focused. It wasn't just the season, it was the off season. They had posters up in their weight room of last year's semifinal game, how they wanted to get there again and improve upon that. Like, you're right, Tyler, just a huge focus, a whole year of focus coming down to now.
And I do like the thing you brought up there, Beanie, because over the summer, you and I are calling Bishop Garrigan baseball and softball games, and I specifically remember one day when Garrigan softball was supposed to play Central Springs. It was a rainy day, so you and I retreated inside the weight room, and that's where I saw all these pictures of Remsen St. Mary's scoring the game-tying touchdown and the game-winning 2-point conversion last year in that 22-20 win over the Golden Bears. So Coach Wadley and staff, they want these guys to remember how last year ended, how it felt to lose in the semifinal game, and how it felt not to repeat as state champions. You know, that works better for some teams than others, but I think these guys kind of took that in stride. It motivated them through the offseason, and they never want to have a game like that happen again.
That's right. I remember that rainy softball game where we got shuttled into the weight room to avoid any severe northern Iowa weather. Oh, boy, the weather. Can you imagine playing outside today? It would be okay, but boy, thank goodness for this Unidome this time of the year. As cold as it was earlier this week, thank goodness that we're under a roof here for the high school football playoffs. But those posters up in the weight room, those were put there by players and coaches both. Like, there are a lot of coaches in the state of Iowa that have all kinds of great motivational talents and skills, but it is really the players that really have to buy into it, and it has to come from the players first and foremost. And it was those players that come into that weight room. That weight room's 95 degrees in July. It is no fun. It doesn't matter if it's 6 a.m. or 6 at night. They do 2 workouts in the summertime, but Tim Berkey and those guys, those players show up into the weight room, some of them after a long day of working construction or landscaping, and I'm sure the last thing they want to do is press some weight and do not just a weight workout, but a running workout. And yeah, we see them there, Tyler, when we're there doing baseball, softball games. This team is putting in the time.
Well, Beanie, it's amazing how a lot of times the players come and go, they graduate, new guys come into the program, but the same teams seem to find their way back to the Unidome. We've seen Bishop Garrigan establish this tradition of going to the Unidome now 3 years in a row in the 8-man class, but you look at Gladbrook-Rhinebeck. When haven't they gone to the Unidome? They were a state runner-up last year. They'll be playing this afternoon in the semifinals. Even Audubon, they are a consistent 8-man playoff team. They got to the quarterfinal round last year where they got knocked out by Remsen St. Mary's, but they've been to the Dome recently as well, going back to 2021 and 2019. So, players graduate. The faces kind of change along the program, but I'll tell you this, Coach Watley didn't graduate for Bishop Garrigan. Coach Burks didn't graduate for Audubon. You look at these two guys, they've seen a lot. This is Coach Watley's 34th season. We always like to look at these media guides and see the coaching records. He's won 249 games in his coaching career compared to 97 losses. He's seen just about everything there is to see, and I think team experience is one thing, but coaching experience at the Unidome, knowing how this week works, knowing how to get your guys ready after a 6-day week of prep, knowing how to get up for a 10 a.m. game, that's important as well, and I think Coach Wadley and staff, they're very well equipped to know how to do that.
Yeah, that's true. The alarm went off at 4 a.m. in our house this morning to get the kid on the bus, and I'm sure most of those players didn't have much sleep last night, a lot of sleepless nights before these big games, but the coaching staff having the experience of how to get kids ready for this and to go through that whole experience, because boy, even up here in the broadcasting booth, as long as the drive it is to get here, once you get in the building, time accelerates. Things go fast, and right now the players are all coming out to take the field, and it says there's an hour until kickoff. That will be the only long hour of the day, waiting for that kickoff to go. But the time flies when you get in these big games.
It's a battle of undefeated teams this morning at 10 o'clock of our kickoff time as 11-0 Bishop Garrigan takes on 11-0 Audubon. We will now continue with our Edward Jones pregame show. Coming up, of course, all our normal pregame features. We'll have your Chem the Auto Center's keys to the game, the Grassmasters field condition report, the Eyes on Forrington coin toss, and the Algonah Plumbing and Heating game time temperature even being inside a dome. We're going to get to all that. The coaches' pregame interviews coming up a bit, but first, we're going to do a little special feature that I put together. Throughout the course of the season, we've talked to a lot of different Garrigan football players on our Athlete of the Week segments, and they talked a lot about this moment, getting to the Dome, being there in the past, and just what it takes to be successful as a Garrigan football player. So we put together this little feature featuring some of the voices of the senior players on the Bishop Garrigan football team. This is the road to the Unidome right now on Hometown and Home Country Radio. They say every fall begins the same way, with a whistle in the distance, a marching band playing in the background, and the growing sound of pads crunching. When black and gold helmets catch the last light of September, and the promise of November still feels a mile away. The Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears have carried the weight of expectation, the spotlight of a number one beside their name, and through the long nights and cold mornings, they have answered every question so far this season. Last year ended in heartbreak, a semifinal loss that ended hopes of a repeat state title, but that loss became fuel. Every rep, every practice, every Friday night carried a simple message: take it back. Back to the Dome, back to the stage where champions are made, and now they've arrived. Inside the Unidome, where the best of Iowa high school football come to meet. And for Bishop Garrigan, this trip is more than a destination, it's a statement, a testament to discipline, to toughness, and to tradition. This is their story. This is the road to the Unidome. The road to the Unidome is not one that merely begins with the first whistle of the regular season. It goes all the way back to the dog days of summer. Bishop Garrigan starting quarterback Tate Furch credits strength and conditioning coach Tim Berkey for getting the team in great shape for the season.
Well, we have an awesome off-season workout. We got Tim Berkey. He does our strength and conditioning for the summer. So all the baseball guys come in at 8 o'clock, and we just get a bunch of work in before baseball practice at 2 or 3 or whenever we have it. So we get a lot of work in then. And then obviously the baseball season, you got to stay fit for that. So you can't really focus too much on football. But, we do a lot in the mornings. Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, we do a lot in the mornings with Tim, so that does a good job for us.
Heading into the season, Bishop Garrigan is coming off a combined 23-2 record over the previous 2 seasons, with a state title in 2023 and a semifinal appearance in 2024. Senior lineman Carter Schwab talked about the team's motivation heading into the season, coming off the taste of a 22-20 loss to Remsen St. Mary's in last year's semifinals.
Yeah, it's definitely a big motivation last year because, we won it the year before. We all wanted to be back at that spot, and it's not fun falling short. Nobody wants to fall short. Nobody likes second place, third place. So I think it's just a strive to everybody's worked hard in the off season. Everybody's put the time in. Now we just need to show it all on the field.
Bishop Garrigan entered the season with massive expectations, internally and externally, with the number 1 ranking in the state heading into the season. The Golden Bears would blast Kingsley Pearson 60-20 in their opening game and hold on to the top ranking all throughout the regular season after that, never trailing in any regular season game. Furch says the Golden Bears had to prove they belonged to the number 1 spot each and every week.
We've been making sure we've been drilling that in our heads, that just because we're number 1, we have to practice like number 1, we have to play like number 1, and that comes every week. It's not just, hey, we're number 1 this week, but we're going to slack down to somebody. No, we got to stay up and make sure we play at our level and make people come to us and make sure we don't make any mistakes and just get it done that way.
The Golden Bear offense proved to be a balanced and formidable attack, scoring at least 50 points each week for their first 11 games, averaging 57 points per contest for the number 5 scoring offense in 8-man football. Heading into the semifinals, Furch has thrown for over 1,100 yards and 22 touchdowns, while rushing for 942 and 16 more scores on over 10 yards per carry. With 58 more rushing yards today, Furch would become the first quarterback in Golden Bear history to rush and pass for over 1,000 yards in the same season. Part of the credit for Furch's production goes to an improved deep ball. Furch has stretched the field vertically to targets like Michael Joyce, who has averaged over 17 yards per catch, and Weston Rosenmeyer, who averages over 24 yards per reception for the Golden Bear offense. Furch feels he added extra distance to the deep ball over the offseason.
I think this offseason I've added like an extra 7 or 8 yards to my throw, which has allowed me to not have to gear up as far or gear up as much to throw the far ball. So I am able to keep my mechanics still and just throw the ball well without having to really gear into it because I've got that extra 10 yards I can work with.
The Bishop Garrigan quarterback also credits chemistry with the receivers.
Chemistry is another big one because if I'm throwing usually on a deep ball, I'm throwing a ball to a spot and I'm having a guy run under it, and sometimes that doesn't look as good because either a guy misses a spot or I throw the ball to a certain spot. So a lot of times it's just that chemistry between the receiver and the quarterback that helps me out the most.
And of course, a Bishop Garrigan offense wouldn't be complete without the power run game. The Golden Bears have gone for over 3,200 yards on the ground, averaging 294 rushing yards per game. Ethan Marceau made the move from starting fullback last season to starting tailback this year and has rushed for over 1,200 yards with 25 touchdowns so far this season.
Fullback position, I can be a little more reckless and I guess not think as much and not worrying about being so athletic, I guess, so to say, because mainly you're blocking 90% of the time. And then, getting moved to tailback this year, it was, they told me after last year that I was definitely going to get moved to tailback, and they like to see me run the ball a little more. So it's been fun. It's been a blast in the backfield behind McGregor. It's fun, seeing the difference between the two positions. But, I think just having that mentality of feeling more athletic than what you were last year and feeling better than what you were last year feels accomplishing.
Bishop Garrigan's offensive line of Carter Schwab, Caden Graves, and Nate Lear have been road graders, paving the way for Ethan Marceau, C.J. McGregor, and Tate Furch. Graves says it's been a blast to block for the Golden Bear runners.
Oh, it's been really fun. Just knowing that I can just focus on my job and they'll figure out it from there. I'll be able to block my guy downfield, and he'll find a hole. I don't need to worry about blocking him a certain way. They'll figure it out and find the open hole.
Graves says the O-line prides themselves on winning the length of the football.
To me, the small details are being able to win the length of the football and being able to get off the ball, make sure to get your head to the play side so they can't just break through your block. As long as you get that
1-2 yards of penetration, you're winning a rep. But if once you get blown back and lose that yard of the football, you've mostly lost the rep because they've pushed you back. So it's a little harder for your runner to navigate through that. But once you win the length of the football, you've won the rep, and then it's just a plus when you can get your guy on the ground.
Communication amongst the linemen is also a key to make the Golden Bear engine go.
We have to talk a lot up front. Like when they have different fronts, we have to communicate who's got who, so then we don't know, so we don't leave one person running and hitting Marceau 5 yards behind in the backfield. So we have to be able to communicate that with each other, and that comes with lots of practice and just being good friends with each other and good teammates. Constantly communicating with each other has brought great chemistry, and I feel like we have a really good bond between all three of us, and it's just made blocking 10 times easier.
The Bishop Garrigan defense has complemented the offense, stifling opponents to the tune of just over 9 points per game. Marshall says everything begins with the line play up front.
We've been doing really, really good up front. Our guys are huge, which helps a ton. You know, it's different having Carson Kramer in at nose guard than it is having little Carter McGregor or Brody Ludwig in there. It really opens up the gaps a little more for me to hit, and he's kind of taking all my tackles, you know, which is just fine with me. I'd rather see the team succeed, you know, more than my personal wishes. But no, I think I got to give credit to the D-line, especially our DNs. They close down real good, keep contained, and they like to stay versatile on the edge.
Bishop Garrigan has sacked the opposing quarterbacks 24 times, with a team leading 6.5 from Schwab. The Golden Bears have also been opportunistic, with 27 forced turnovers, 21 on interceptions. Furch has intercepted a school record-tying 9 passes, with 5 by Joyce. As the Golden Bears turn their eyes to the Unidome, they see 11-0, number 5 ranked Audubon on the other side, standing between them and a trip to the state title game. Graves talked about the unique experience of playing games inside of the Dome.
I mean, it's an unreal experience. Not many high schoolers get to go to the Dome once, let alone 3 times in my career. It's just an unreal experience, and I love it because you get to have the young guys experience it, and then they get the drive to want to come back. And that just keeps everybody humble and make sure that everybody wants to push for that end goal of making it to the Dome and winning a state championship.
Schwab feels this team's chemistry is on par for the championship year of 2023.
I would say our bond is right at the level where we were my sophomore year. Like, we all just want each other to get better every day in practice. All the younger kids are giving us great looks on scout team. Everybody's just, they know their part, they know their role, and they're getting it done to get us better.
The road once again for Bishop Garrigan has led to the Unidome, where the Golden Bears try to keep the hopes of a third state title in program history alive, taking on Audubon at 10 o'clock this morning. The Edward Jones pregame show continues, as we'll hear from both head coaches coming up next on KLGA and KLGZ.
A legacy that goes back generations. Let's work together to take care of your unique financial needs. Call me at 515-295-7763 to get started today. Together with Bruce Keith, Jerry Sokup, and Mackenzie Jorgensen, we are your local Edward Jones financial advisors. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Cook Scrap Iron and Metal in Algona. Think Cooks for all your new steel and welding supplies. Do you have any leftover material you don't need anymore? Cooks will take your scrap iron and scrap metal too. A family-owned business since 1913. Cook Scrap Iron and Metal in Algona. Call them today at 515-295-2512 or stop in at 900 East McGregor Street, Algona.
Is your student athlete on the injured list? We can help. This is Wendy Wagner, Physical Therapy Assistant at Kasuth Regional Health Center. As a former student athlete and coach, I want to help you get back in the game feeling healthy and injury-free. Our staff works closely with local healthcare providers and specialists throughout the area for a recovery plan that works for you. Best of luck to all our area athletes this season. We will be cheering for you.
Kasuth Regional Health Center, your home for healthcare.
Coming back right now on the Edward Jones pregame show as we get ready for Unidome football state semifinal round between the Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears and Audubon Wheelers. And we're joined as always on the pregame by Bishop Garrigan head coach Marty Wadley. Coach, congratulations once again on making it back to the Unidome, and thank you so much for joining us today on the pregame.
Thanks a lot, Tyler. Appreciate it, and thanks for all the coverage all season.
Coach, let's start by once again revisiting that state quarterfinal game against Don Bosco. Final game at Conway Field for the seniors of Bishop Garrigan, and they win it 51-21 with a big second half to defeat the Dons. Can you start us off with some of your biggest thoughts and takeaways from that game, now that you've had a little bit of time there to go back and break down the film?
Well, some good things. Adversity sometimes is a good thing. Sometimes it's not when you can't overcome it, but when you can overcome it, it's a good thing. We had some adversity in some situations. The kids had some adversity in situations last Thursday, but they overcame them, and they continue to play and to play on and to not vary with what they did and to not, feign in any direction. And I think that's a great thing. Our kids played really hard and played really physical, and that was a big outcome of the game because of how we played, and especially how well we played in the second half. And when you don't make many mistakes and you get an additional possession from a turnover, those things are really good for you in playoff football.
And, Coach, the attention now turns to the state semifinals, where every 8-man team left standing is still undefeated. This is obviously another week of prep for you that's only 6 days long, being that you're playing on Wednesday, and then, of course, it's the unique 10 a.m. start time at the Unidome as well. How do you handle what I'm sure is a unique week of preparation for the guys?
Well, we try and we call everything a certain day. So, normally a week is Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and then we play on Friday. So the coaches, and we just kind of adjust things on what we do on those days. So we played Thursday. Friday was really Sunday, and then Saturday was Monday, Sunday was Tuesday, Monday was Wednesday, and so on. I don't need to go through the whole thing. We do that. We do our adjustments towards that. We've been inside a lot this week just because of the weather and the temperature and the snow. Not much you can do about that, but we're going to be inside. It'll be 70 degrees and no rain, no wind, nothing going on at 10 a.m. in the morning in Cedar Falls.
Well, Coach, let's get into this week's opponent. For Audubon, it really starts with their sophomore quarterback, Aiden Kiergaard, who's been the engine of their run game this season. From what you've seen on film, how do you feel he's going to test the Golden Bear defense this week?
With their pin and pull, what they do, and get guys out in front and try and make extra gaps. I think sometimes the worst thing you can do is try and get there too fast, because then he's going to cut back on you. He's good at that. He can stop and cut on a dime and then take off and hit full speed very quickly. He's a very talented young man, good football player. He's got a good offensive line in front of him, good tight ends. So that's what they want to do, and that's what they're going to look to do. So I think, the best that we can do to defend that is hopefully, slow them down, and then when we have an opportunity on offense to take advantage of our possessions.
And, Coach, teams are always hunting for matchups that give them an advantage, and I'd say having a 6'5" tight end like Audubon does is advantageous for their offense. Even though they're a team that doesn't throw it a whole lot, how do the Golden Bears need to deal with a couple of lengthy targets that they have when they do throw the ball?
Well, we have to definitely read what's going on and have good eye discipline, as Coach Patterson says, and make sure our keys are our focus, so we're not looking in the backfield, we're not stepping up when we shouldn't be. So those are big factors, and they like to throw the ball long, and when they're open, boy, are they open. And that's a tribute to their play action and their ability to run the ball, and they get people to suck up, and then eventually you've sucked up too far, and you're in trouble. So hopefully our kids stay disciplined in the secondary and what our keys are, and read what we need to read.
And, Coach, moving over to the other side of the football, Audubon had a defense that was able to lock down Nolan Kriegel and Iowa Valley last week. What have been some things that have stood out to you on film from scouting this Audubon defense?
They're disciplined. They don't get out of position. They go where they need to be. And if one player and he's playing an A gap or he's playing a read, he's going to go there. He's not going to go somewhere else and ad lib. They play a lot more zone defense than what we're used to seeing, but that's okay. We can adopt things to that. Zones aren't hard. You just have to adapt what you're going to do in them a little bit and see how the coverage is going to be, and that'll be a little give and take as we go back and forth. But they play good defense. We're going to have to get on blocks and stay on blocks and move our feet and find alleys for our kids to run.
Coach, wrapping up the interview for today, what's the final message to the team before kickoff when they head out onto that Unidome field?
Big thing is it's their time. They're here for a reason. They've earned their way here. They've earned it as much as anybody else in the state has, and they have as much right to win tomorrow as anybody does, and they just need to believe that and believe in themselves and each other, and they're going to be fine.
Coach, we're looking forward to seeing the state semifinal matchup between Bishop Garrigan and Audubon. Best of luck in this game, and thank you as always for joining us today.
Thanks a lot, Tyler. Appreciate it. Thanks for the coverage. Go Bears.
That's Bishop Garrigan football coach Marty Wadley joining us on the Edward Jones pregame show. We'll take a quick timeout. More pregame coverage from the Unidome coming up next on KLGA and KLGZ.
Do you see yourself traveling, working part-time, or moving somewhere warmer when you retire? Hi, I'm Bruce Keith, your Edward Jones financial advisor, and I want to help make your retirement goals a reality. Let's talk about where you are, where you want to be, and how we get you there. Together, we can plan for the expected and make sure you're ready for the unexpected. Contact me, Bruce Keith, at 515-295-5173. Together with Jerry Sokup, Mackenzie Jorgensen, and Brady Ross, we are your local Edward Jones financial advisors. Edward Jones, members SIPC.
At Wiffles Hybrids, they're completely focused on developing and producing the very best seed corn on the planet. It's an act they've been polishing for more than 70 years, right here in the heart of the Corn Belt. Wiffles Hybrid, one thing done right. For more information, contact Rich Rosenmeyer, Dale Lappy, or Mitchell Carroll at JDR Seed of Wesley, 515-341-2452, or visit wiffles.com.
What you feed your animals makes a difference. Hi, this is Philip Dietrich from the Algona Feed Store. We are driven to provide you with products and answers that will improve the health and well-being of your animals. We proudly offer products from Hubbard Feeds, so whether you produce meat, milk, and eggs, or just want to give your family pet the proper nutrition it deserves, you can count on the very best with the Algona Feed Store. Visit our location at 525 South Phillips Street and see the difference proper nutrition can make.
As we come back on your Edward Jones pregame show here on Hometown at Home Country Radio, we're joined by Audubon head coach Sean Burks. Coach, first of all, congratulations on advancing to the Unidome, and thank you so much for joining us today on the pregame.
Thank you for covering them.
Well, Coach, let's go back to the quarterfinal game as you guys were able to defeat Iowa Valley 26-19. And I think the first thing that stands out about that game, you guys slowed down Nolan Kriegel, one of the top scoring offenses in the 8-player class. So let's start by giving the defensive side of the ball their flowers. What was the defensive game plan going into that, and how were you guys able to execute that?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit bend but don't break, right? Where we weren't trying to be super aggressive and send blitzes and stuff like that because if you guess wrong against them, they're just so explosive. So we really want to just focus on being gap sound and being alignment sound, making sure we're doing our alignment and our assignment. And then we had to tackle well. We knew we'd have a lot of one-on-one tackles, but the more we could rally to the ball, the better. And I thought for the most part, our kids did a really good job of knowing their alignment and their assignment. We got burned on the first play on a little play action, but after that, we really made them move the ball, pick up third downs, pick up fourth downs. And on the night, I think they were 3 for 9 on fourth down. So we had 6 fourth down stops, which is big.
And, Coach, on the offensive side of the ball, your guys did enough to get the win in that game, put up 26 points, and they move on to the Unidome. Take us through the offense performance there a little bit. How would you kind of evaluate the way that you guys performed in that one?
We left a lot of meat on the bone, but I think you can give a lot of credit to what Iowa Valley was doing defensively. They were very multiple on defense. They were bringing a lot of guys. They bring a lot of pressure, and they were doing a really good job. But for the most part, we had one big run called back for a penalty, which would have helped put that away. But we got up 26-6 in the third quarter after an explosive pass play. I really wish we would have kept our foot on the gas a little bit better. But give credit to Iowa Valley. They're a quality group, and they bounced back with 2 more scores in the third, and it was kind of a battle of defenses in the fourth quarter. But offensively, we have to do a little bit better this week because we can't rely on our defense to get that many stops. Our offense has to do a better job taking pressure off our defense.
Coach, you've had a young sophomore take over at quarterback with Aiden Kiergaard. He's really proven himself to be an explosive runner and big play generator for you guys. At what point did you really realize that you guys had the kind of talent that you did at the quarterback spot?
We knew a while ago. He's one of those kids where he's got it, right? He checks all those boxes as far as a leader goes. As a kid, your quarterback needs to check a lot of boxes that maybe some of your other positions don't. But the thing with Aiden is we knew he was going to start on defense. We thought he might rotate on offense because we had a senior returning quarterback in Carson Wessel. Carson got dinged up in the scrimmage and kind of forced our hand that Aiden was going to get the start week 1. And as Carson eased back in from injury, they kind of shared it a little bit at times. and then Carson got dinged up again week 7, and he's kind of working his way back again from that. But Carson's done a great job of handling that as a senior that kind of quote lost his job due to injury. But Aiden has done a great job of taking it and running with it. He's got track speed. He's got really good feet, but it also helps him in throw. He's got really good feet when he's throwing the ball. We can run the whole offense. It's nice when you've got a first-year starter that you don't have to kind of take a bunch of the playbook out or anything like that. So Aiden's been a big part of what we're doing.
We're talking right now in the pregame with head coach Sean Burks of the Audubon Wheelers. Coach, a group that often doesn't get the credit they deserve is the offensive line, but I think this is a good time in the pregame interview to talk a bit about those guys. How would you evaluate their performance over the course of this season and being that key part of the running game to open things up for Aiden and the rest of the attack?
Yeah, our offensive line, Clay Lane, and Soley are 3 guys that only play offense. It's something we went to partway through the year where we did have some little bit of rotation, but the offensive line and gelling as a unit, and allowing them to then come off the field and talk to our offensive line coach has been really big. And then defensive line is kind of similar to that. So our offensive line has done a really good job of gelling and understanding things, working together, communicating, and they're a huge part of what we're doing. And we're fortunate to have those 3 guys up front.
And, Coach, this is obviously a unique week of prep. Not only is it 6 days to get ready for the game, but it's a 10 o'clock in the morning game, so it's not the 7 o'clock get off the bus and get ready to go in the evening type of situation that it would normally be. So when you're kind of dealing with a bit of an odd prep, not to mention just the whole aspect of, hey, we're at the Unidome on this big stage, how do you handle those different aspects of that with the guys this week?
Yeah, fortunately, we've done this before. So is Bishop Garrigan, so is Gladbrook, Rhinebeck, et cetera. But you learn from previous trips, so I think we've got a good plan. We're going to head up Tuesday night. We're going to leave school about 3 o'clock Tuesday. We're going to practice in Huxley at Ballard just as a good midpoint. We're going to grab some Jimmy John's and Ames and eat on the charter bus, try to get to the hotel about 9 o'clock so they've got a little bit of downtime to decompress, and then get up the next morning. We'll serve them breakfast in the hotel about 7 and try to head to the Unidome about 7:45, and that kind of keeps us on our usual our pregame schedule, so to speak, our itinerary, so to speak. It's a little bit different than going to a school, and you've got your picture taking and some of those things, but we're trying to keep the schedule as normal as possible. And luckily, fortunately for us, we've been there before. We know some of those things. As a coaching staff, we know the parking and the locker room and the tunnels and the garage doors and all those things that are unique. Fortunately for us, it's not the first time, which I will say the first time was a little bit, unique, and it's a really good learning experience. Second time we made some changes, and now third time we're making a few more changes as well.
Well, Coach, one of the things that really stands out about the 8-player class is the talent at the top, and that now shows up at the Unidome here. You've got 4 11-0 teams getting ready to play this week. You'll be taking on 11-0 Bishop Garrigan, so I'm sure it was a big weekend of prep for you guys, watching film and getting to know more about the Golden Bears. What were you able to take away this weekend getting that scouting preparation underway for this one?
Yeah, I think their size and athleticism jumps off the chart. They're phenomenal. Marty does a great job with those guys, and they've been there before. They were, they're a couple plays away from being, trying to complete a 3-peat this week or be on the next step for 3-peat. We know that, and our kids respect that, but they're not scared of that, right? Our kids have earned the opportunity to be at this point. And as we talk to our kids about as the playoffs are starting, every week's going to be a step up. And our first-round playoff prep, Lennox, is one of the better teams we've played all season. Montezuma was better yet. Iowa Valley was better yet. And now Bishop Garrigan is better yet. So we have to keep ratcheting up our game to match that. But, Garrigan jumps off the chart of how fundamentally sound they are, how physical they are, how athletic they are, how well coached they are. There's a reason they've been number 1 all season. They've got the pieces, on both sides of the ball, special teams. You can tell they're well coached. You can tell they've been in big games before. We're going to have to play well to have a chance at the end.
Coach, wrapping the interview up for today, what do you see as 1 or 2 of the biggest keys for an Audubon victory in this one?
I think we're going to have to, convert drives into points. The other night, 26 points. After that, we kind of sat on it. We had some punts and things like that. We didn't turn it over a lot, but we just didn't convert into points. We're going to have to be a little more opportunistic this way. And defensively, I think we have to do a good job being sound against the run game. While not allowing explosives over the top. We can't just sell out to stop the run game because they've got the athletes. Forge Kid does a good job of throwing the ball, and he's got weapons on the outside as well if you try to sell out to stop the run game. So, it's a totally different prep for us. Iowa Valley was a lot more shotgun, a lot more spread, a lot more quarterback key, a lot more pulling guards. Bishop Garrigan's going to pull guards occasionally. They'll go shotgun occasionally. but they really want to shove it right at you with their big guys up front. With the Marceau kid in the backfield, they've got weapons, but they really want to show their physicality. And then if you start cheating up, they can be super explosive and efficient in the pass game.
Coach, it's going to be a great game as 11-0 Audubon takes on 11-0 Bishop Garrigan this week. Thank you so much for your time on the pregame, and best of luck in this matchup.
Thank you.
That's Audubon Wheeler head coach Sean Burks joining us on your Edward Jones pregame show. We'll take a quick timeout and come back with more pregame coverage from the Unidome next on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
What does it mean to be rich? Maybe it's less about reaching a magic number and more about discovering the magic in life. Hi, I'm Edward Jones financial advisor Jerry Sokup. Count on me for financial strategies that can help support a life you love, because the key to being rich is knowing what counts. Contact me at 515-295-7766 and let's find your rich. Along with Bruce Keith, Brady Ross, and Mackenzie Jorgensen, we are your local Edward Jones financial advisors. Member SIPC.
Kossuth Regional Health Center is your home for recovery care. This is Shane Meschke, physical therapist at KRHC. Let our local team help you recover with physical therapy, cardiac rehab, and many other services. And for student athletes, we're ready to help you get back in the game. Find us online at krhc.com or call 295-2451.
Kossuth Regional Health Center, your home for healthcare.
Cook's Scrap Iron and Metal in Algona. Think Cook's for all your new steel and welding supplies. Do you have any leftover material you don't need anymore? Cook's will take your scrap iron and scrap metal too. A family-owned business since 1913. Cook's Scrap Iron and Metal in Algona. Call them today at 515-295-2512 or stop in at 900 East McGregor Street, Algona.
Back here on your Edward Jones pregame show on Hometown and Home Country Radio as you get ready for the Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears and Audubon Wheelers in the 8-player state semifinal round from the Unidome in Cedar Falls. Now time to take a look at the projected starters for both the teams in this morning's game, starting off with Audubon's on offense and Bishop Garrigan's on defense. First, for the Wheeler offense, it all starts with their sophomore quarterback, Aiden Kiergaard. He doesn't throw it a whole lot, 33 out of 46 passing this year for 772 yards and 12 touchdowns, but what he's done on the ground has been massive so far for this Audubon offense. 131 carries, over 1,400 yards, and 32 touchdowns on the ground. He's averaging nearly 11 yards per carry. Starting running back for Audubon is Mason Kasperbauer, their 5'9", 175-pound sophomore who's gone for 800 yards on the ground and 15 touchdowns himself. Starting wide receiver is Jorgen Nowatzki. He is a 6-foot-tall sophomore for Audubon. On the offensive line, this will be the biggest line that Garrigan has opposed so far this season. The left guard is the 6'3", 210-pound senior Sullivan McLean. At center, the 6'1", 230-pound junior Clay Van Arnhem, and at right guard, 6'3", 245-pound junior Lane Meyer. Bunch of size at tight end as well. Some very tall receivers, some tall tight ends for Kiergaard to target in the passing game. The starting tight end, 6'5", 210-pound junior Brody Weber, who's caught 3 touchdown passes this year, as well as the 6'3", 180-pound senior Austin Christensen, who has 9 touchdown catches and nearly 400 yards of receiving on 24.5 yards per catch. Meanwhile, for the Bishop Garrigan defense, you don't change what's working. Up front, Carter McGregor, their 5'11", 175-pound senior. The 6'4", 260-pound nose guard, sophomore Carson Kramer, and another defensive end, 6'2", 245-pound Carter Schwab, with his 9.5 tackles for loss so far this season. Starting linebackers for Bishop Garrigan, the senior Ethan Marceau, who leads the Golden Bears with 44.5 tackles. Marceau at 6'2", 230, as well as the junior Madden Miller at 6'1", 195. He's made 21.5 tackles this season. And Titan Troyer, the Bishop Garrigan sophomore, also starting at linebacker, coming back from an injury earlier this year and returning to the Garrigan starting lineup. And in the secondary, you have Michael Joyce, a junior who's picked off 5 passes so far this season, and Tate Furch, a senior who has 9 interceptions, which right now is tied for the Bishop Garrigan single-season record. Moving things over to the Bishop Garrigan offense and the Audubon defense. First for the Garrigan offense, it's that senior quarterback Tate Furch making his third appearance at the Unidome. So far this season, 22 touchdown passes, only 1 pick, and he's also scored 16 times on the ground. His starting tailback, the battering ram Ethan Marceau, 52 career rushing touchdowns for Marceau, looking to add to that this morning. Starting fullback is the senior Carter McGregor. Up front, left guard is the 6'2", 245-pound senior Carter Schwab. At center, the 6', 215-pound senior Caden Graves. And at right guard, 6'3", 265-pound junior Nate Lear. The starting tight end is your junior Weston Rosenmeyer with 6 touchdowns receptions, including one last week to put the game on ice against Don Bosco. Starting wide receiver is Michael Joyce, who has 430 yards receiving and 7 touchdown catches on the season. Defensive line for Audubon, a different defensive line than their offensive line as they keep those two sides of the ball pretty separate. At the end position, you've got the 6'3", 225-pound junior Hayden Larson and the 6'5", 210-pound senior Brody Weber. The defensive tackle for Audubon is a 6'1", 280-pound senior Isaac Sorensen. He's going to keep Caden Graves' hands full today, folks, we can tell you that. At linebacker, you've got the 6'3", 180-pound senior Austin Christensen, who has 63.5 tackles to pace the Wheelers, and he's 5'9", 165-pound junior Carter Obermeyer. In the secondary, the cornerbacks, the sophomore Aiden Kiergaard, leading the team of 4 picks, and the sophomore Jorgen Nowatzki, who has 1 pick on the season. Sophomore Mason Kasperbauer, also have 4 interceptions, the starting safety today for the Audubon Wheelers. That's a quick look at the starting lineups for the Audubon Wheelers and Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears here on your Edward Jones pregame show. We'll step aside for a quick timeout and come back for our Chemna Auto Center keys to the game after this.
Life changes, then it changes again. At Edward Jones, we believe that when it comes to your financial goals, you can't predict the unexpected, but you can prepare. Challenges such as job loss, change in health, or loss of a loved one can have a big impact on your family's financial security. Hi, I'm Mackenzie Jorgensen, an Edward Jones financial advisor. Let's work together to help make sure you're ready for life's ups and downs. Call us at 515-395-4021 to get started. Together with Brady Ross, Jerry Sokup, and Bruce Keith, we are local Edward Jones financial advisors. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Get ready for a powerful outdoor experience with products from Tom Eisen Sales. They stock and service still products and Toro mowers and snow blowers. Hitch up and go with their awesome selection of trailers. They carry a variety of trailers to fit your needs, like flatbed, enclosed, utility, gooseneck, and more. Turn pro in your own backyard with a Green Mountain pellet grill. Whatever the job, get it done like a pro with products from Tom Eisen Sales. Your store in the country, Highway 18, just west of Algona.
At Wiffles Hybrids, they're completely focused on developing and producing the very best seed corn on the planet. It's an act they've been polishing for more than 70 years, right here in the heart of the Corn Belt. Wiffles Hybrid, one thing done right. For more information, contact Rich Rosenmeyer, Dale Lappy, or Mitchell Carroll at JDR Seed of Wesley, 515-341-2452, or visit wiffles.com.
At Chemna Auto Center, they understand that you have no shortage of options when it comes to purchasing or servicing your car. They're your hometown dealer for new GM, Ford, and Chrysler makes and models. Plus, they also offer an extensive selection of pre-owned vehicles. Serving you with a dedicated sales and finance team, along with world-class service technicians that are passionate about keeping your ride in top shape. Visit their showrooms today for an experience you deserve. Chemna Auto Center in Algona.
Welcome you back inside the Unidome in Cedar Falls. I'm Tyler Lance alongside Beanie Bodie, continuing our Edward Jones pregame show. Right now it's time for our Chemna Auto Center keys to the game, brought to you by Chemna's, an experience you deserve. Well, Beanie, I'm going to start when Bishop Garrigan's on defense and Audubon's on offense. You've heard all about Audubon's starting quarterback, Aiden Kiergaard. What a great runner he is. But I think the thing that to focus on first here is the Audubon passing game. They don't throw the ball very much at all. In fact, only 46 pass attempts this year for Kiergaard. But when they do, they are going for the home run ball. They will take a couple of home run shots per game. So I think key number one for Bishop Garrigan, even though you've got to, of course, play the run first and foremost, you can't let those receivers get over your heads as the safeties. You've got to make sure if Audubon does pass the ball, you take away the deep ball, because this is not a diverse passing game. It's either run the ball or take a deep shot. There's not a lot of intermediate stuff, so you've got to have at least one guy back there to make sure nothing gets over your head today.
All right, so to sum up what you're saying basically don't get beat deep. If
exactly.
You're Bishop Garrigan, and I totally agree. No one wants to see anybody getting behind the Bear defense. Well, I'm going to go then on the offensive side of the ball. I'm going to talk about what's been Garrigan's bread and butter these past trips to the Dome. They have worn teams down in the second half with their offensive line play and taken over the second half with their offensive line power. But as you said in your lineup introductions, this defensive line for Audubon is not only big, they also stay fresh because not all of those guys go both ways. So My key is, will the Garrigan offensive line be able to exercise their dominance like they have all season and continue to do so here in the semifinal game? I think that's a big key. And, of course, you and I will both agree that when there's a big game on the line, the low-hanging fruit key to the game is always turnovers. These teams both got to hang on to that ball because turnovers really tip the scale on these big games that are going to be close.
Well, think about it last week, Beanie. Coming out of halftime against Don Bosco in the quarterfinal game, the Golden Bears are up 20-14. They drive down, score a touchdown on their first possession of the second half, go up 28-14. Then after that, Don Bosco's getting ready to score. They turn the ball over, and they only did it once. Their only turnover of the game, but the entire momentum went Garrigan's way. Don Bosco never got it back, so I think you are on track there. Even just one turnover today could really swing this direction of this game, especially you look at these two offenses. They are two of the best in the state. Bishop Garrigan, 57 points per game. That's number 5 in the state. Audubon's actually number 1 in the state. 67.8 points per game for Audubon. They've scored over 80 points 5 times. They have a 6th game where they went over 70. So
Boy.
you turn it over once here. That's an extra possession for an explosive offense.
We have seen a lot of big blowouts by Garrigan this year where there's a running clock after a 35-point lead. It is difficult to score 80 points in the running clock era. That is impressive they can put up. That means they score, of course, on big plays. They only have the ball for 1 or 2 possessions here before they're punching in the end zone on some of those 80-point games. But their game last week was close, so I presume that this game won't get into the high-scoring arena, but maybe we're wrong. Maybe both the Bears and the Wheelers will light it up offensively, and that scoreboard will be ticking.
Well, Beanie, you talk about the endurance in the second half. Like we said, Audubon's starting offensive line, they play offense, so they're going to be playing one side of the ball. For Audubon's defensive line, 2 of their 3 defensive line starters are only playing defense, so they're going to be fresh as well. So we're watching, of course, to see how the line play goes. Does Garrigan get that second half advantage against a team that is going to rotate guys a little more and just, kind of rest and keep things siloed to one side of the ball? But as far as second half endurance, I'm actually looking at Audubon's starting quarterback, Aiden Kiergaard. This run game for Audubon is based so much on the quarterback run game. So Kiergaard, he's going to carry the ball at least 20 times, if not 30 times today. And I just wonder, he's taken all those hits. You've got 230-pound Ethan Marceau, and you've got Matt Miller landing on your back. That is going to take a toll at some point today. So if I'm Kiergaard, I'm probably running out of bounds at least a couple of times today to preserve a few hits. But how does his body hold up in the second half, taking this pounding from a Garrigan physical defense?
Yes, I've been watching Kiergaard in warm-ups here this whole hour. He does move really well. He reads his blockers really well. Of course, they're just warm-up drills, but they do a lot of plays where they get him out to the outside where he's going to be facing the edge of the sideline, and if he cuts back, he's going to be facing a lot of Garrigan linebackers that are very good at flying to the ball and making a big hit. So he will take some hits today. Yeah, how good is his durability? Has he been hit like Garrigan's going to hit him? That's a great question. That will be answered here shortly. I'm getting excited for it, but yeah, go back to what you said about their defensive line and their offensive line being able to rotate guys. Garrigan can do the same thing. We bring Matt Besh in a lot on defense. Carson Kramer will come in on offense sometimes. Garrigan's got some depth on their linemen too, but you caught my attention when you said that the Wheelers have a 280-pound nose guard, and Caden Graves, the center for Bishop Garrigan. He doesn't weigh 280 pounds, and as hard as he works, he's not going to get tired. If you know Caden Graves, he never runs out of energy. But, yeah, having 280 pounds to move every play, will that wear us down? So a lot of fun little things to watch into the game besides how far the ball is going every play. A lot of interesting little matchups down front. And looking at these 280-pound guys down there, sometimes you can spot the 280-pound person in a lineup, no problem. But these Audubon Wheelers are fit. There are a lot of tall guys on this team. So sometimes you get on the field and you can tell who's going to win just by looking at the physical nature of the teams. But 2 evenly matched, big, fast teams today.
Yeah, very physical teams. Caden Graves, like you said, he's given up 70 pounds in that battle of Isaac Sorensen, the nose guard of Audubon, so that'll be one to watch for the books here today. Again, it's the Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears and Audubon Wheelers coming up in state semifinal action from the Unity Dome. We'll take another timeout and get to our Grassmasters Field Condition Report. It's next on your Edward Jones pregame show.
What you feed your animals makes a difference. Hi, this is Philip Dietrich from the Algona Feed Store. We are driven to provide you with products and answers that will improve the health and well-being of your animals. We proudly offer products from Hubbard Feeds, so whether you produce meat, milk, and eggs, or just want to give your family pet the proper nutrition it deserves, you can count on the very best with the Algona Feed Store. Visit our location at 525 South Phillips Street and see the difference proper nutrition can make.
Get ready for a powerful outdoor experience with products from Tom Eisen Sales. They stock and service still products and Toro mowers and snow blowers. Hitch up and go with their awesome selection of trailers. They carry a variety of trailers to fit your needs, like flatbed, enclosed, utility, gooseneck, and more. Turn pro in your own backyard with a Green Mountain pellet grill. Whatever the job, get it done like a pro with products from Tom Eisen Sales. Your store in the country, Highway 18, just west of Algona.
At Grassmasters, we believe the secret to a successful season is hard work and dedication, the same qualities that make up a winning team. Preparation, perseverance, and teamwork have enabled us to rise above the competition and bring you a championship team. So as this year kicks off, we at Grassmasters would like to wish all of the local athletes the very best and a successful season on and off the field. Grassmasters, growing satisfied customers.
Back inside the Unidome in Cedar Falls, just about 15 minutes away from kickoff between the Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears and the Audubon Wheelers. Again, I'm Tyler Lance alongside Beanie Bodie here on your Edward Jones pregame show. With that, it's time for our Grassmasters Field Condition Report, brought to you by Grassmasters, the area's premier lawn care and tree care provider. Of course, this is a wonderful Unidome turf here inside. Great field conditions, but of course, the real notable thing here is how they get this field ready for the 8-man game, because you've got to shorten the length of the field to 80 yards. You've also got to shorten the width of the field as well. So the sidelines are not the painted sidelines, but some yellow tape they have running vertically up and down the field. Of course, the end zone down to our left, that's a normal end zone for the UNI logo, but down to our right, it's actually between the 20 and the 10-yard line on the 11-man field, where they have the special 8-man end zone taped off. They've got a whole new goalpost wheeled in here as well for the right side of the field for that 8-man end zone. Beanie, they know what they're doing here, but this is why the 8-man games are so early. They've got to dress this field up and get it ready for the specific dimensions of the 8-man action.
Yep, it does take a while to get used to the yard line markers, but after the first snap or two, we'll get the hang of it. But nothing changes in the physicality of the football game, and that's what's going to take place on the turf. And that all starts with your footing. I asked the coach the other day, I said, so everyone going to wear their same shoes? And he said that the players do typically just wear their same old molded cleats that they use throughout the season. And but it used to be the old AstroTurf. You had to get all different shoes and everything. And Coach actually thought, boy, he thought you'd grip just as good wearing a pair of basketball shoes down there. But that is a little bit different when you get down to the Unidome, the way it feels, how the players move. So that turf does make a difference. It's not a Grassmasters report, a grass report. It's just a turf report. But one thing that doesn't change is the Garrigan crowd. Looking at them, boy, it's a huge crowd here for Garrigan. They I guess, would say travel well. We get a great crowd down here. I see a lot of faces that I don't always see at the games. They're going to come out for the semifinal game. And a lot of people that live in this area are going to pop over to the Dome and check out the game. I would say just by the eye test, the Garrigan crowd at least 3 times the Audubon Wheelers crowd.
Yeah, and it's quite the trip for Audubon. Talking of Coach Burks in the pregame interview, he mentioned the fact that, yeah, we had to come down last night, get that hotel Tuesday night, come here to the Dome this morning, which that could be interesting to watch, too, because I would imagine Audubon got to sleep in a little longer than Garrigan did. Garrigan getting to the bus bright and early in the 4 o'clock hour at some point to take the trip today. So that's one thing to watch today as well, Beanie. Just the energy for both these teams of how they come out. You know, is sleeping in better? Is being up early better? Is going the night before better, the day of? So not that this game necessarily proves that, but it's a different preparation for both these teams.
Yeah, that's a mixed bag. I know if it was Beanie Bodie in the 1990s, I would have not gotten 1 ounce of sleep in that hotel because I would have been messing around in the hallways playing with the ice machine. But these kids are much more civilized these days. Maybe they slept well in that hotel. But Garrigan chose to just leave early this morning, get on the bus, and do it like a regular road game. And who knows how that will play into the game. I know, though, that both these teams are incredibly excited. You can see that from their body language and warm-ups. These teams, they warm up like it's the state semifinals, and you can just see the energy coming off these kids as they run their drills.
Yeah, they warm up with a purpose, and like we said, down on this Unidome turf, Bishop Garrigan did play on turf once earlier this season, then they play at St. Edmund, and the field configuration for that's pretty similar. It's the Fort Dodge field, so they tape things off, make it an 80-yard field, although I will say it's a bit of a different type of turf. That's St. Ed's field, you know, you're cutting, those little black pelts are popping up. That's not the case here. You said it's more of like an Astrodome type of turf, so the feel will be a little bit different, even though Garrigan has played on turf once this season.
Yeah, and I see a lot of the St. Ed's team is here in support. That's kind of fun to see, the Fort Dodge St. Edmund teams, unless they're just trying to skip school and get out of class. But they came down here to watch this game. A really nice crowd forming here.
It should be a great crowd, should be a great game. Again, all 8-man teams left are undefeated. Bishop Garrigan and Audubon both 11-0. In the afternoon game, Woodbine's 10-0. They're playing 11-0 Gladbrook-Rhinebeck, and that'll decide who goes to the state championship on Thursday of this upcoming week. Well, that's our Grassmasters Field Condition Report, brought to you by Grassmasters, the area's premier lawn care and tree care provider. Welcome back. More of your Edward Jones pregame show after this on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
With fall starting, so is seasonal allergies. This is Dr. John C. Kortenberg at Eyes on Thorrington. Do your eyes itch? Are they irritated or watering? If you answered yes to any of those questions, you may benefit from a prescription for your ocular allergies. Why not feel better today? Call to schedule an appointment at Eyes on Thorrington at 395-EYES. That's 395-3937.
Living in Iowa sure means we rely on our furnaces and air conditioners to keep us comfortable all year round. That's why Algona Plumbing and Heating is proud to be your local trusted Armstrong dealer. They're committed to bringing you the highest quality products in heating and cooling, and it doesn't get any better than Armstrong furnaces and air conditioners. For all your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs, give them a call at 295-5240 or stop by their Dodge Street location. Live comfortably with Algona Plumbing and Heating.
Home Country Radio presents Golden Bear Football. Brought to you by Iowa State Bank, Northwest Iowa Bone, Joint and Sports Surgeons, Security State Bank, Murphy Farm Services, and the many hometown and home country sports club members you'll hear throughout the game. Now we go live to Home Country Radio Sports Director Tyler Lance with the call.
Kickoff from the Unidome rapidly approaches here on Hometown and Home Country Radio. The 11-0 Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears and the 11-0 Audubon Wheelers. I'm Tyler Lance alongside Beanie Bodie. We've got a little extra time here on the pregame show to account for the TV that's going on here today as well, Beanie. So more time to talk about today's great matchup. We're actually going to start here with our game time temperature brought to you by Algona Plumbing and Heating. Even though we're a little ways away, we know it's a static temperature here inside the Unidome. Outside, Beanie, it's 47, but what do you think it is inside here in the Unidome?
I'm putting it right at 64 degrees is what it feels like, and I know that because the thermostat in my house is set at 68. Feels about 4 degrees cooler. That's why I got the sweater on, Tyler, but perfect wind speed in here. I hate the wind. We've called so many games where the wind is blowing in our face, and it just is the worst. We don't have that here today. In fact, you have to remind yourself that you're playing an outdoor sport on the inside. But beautiful lighting here in the dome. They had to redo this dome a few years ago after it kind of collapsed in a storm, and they got these huge girders up here. It feels a little more serious in this dome. Pretty good place to be if you're a UNI student, which I see some of those. There's some Garrigan grads that are at UNI. I see them skipping class down there as well. Justin Bauer was on the screen. That's another thing we have here in the dome. We've got the big screen, Tyler. We can actually see replay. We never have that luxury during the regular season, but we've got replay here on the big screen here, and they were just showing highlights of previous years. And the last time Garrigan was playing in the dome, it showed a picture of Justin Bauer making a catch, and I know he's a student here at UNI now. How fun is that?
Yeah, it's great. Justin Bauer, of course, a wide receiver on Bishop Garrigan's state championship team, played a huge role in that year's playoff run. And like I said, a lot of Garrigan alumni, they're taking the day off from work, they're taking the day off from school. Great way to watch some football here at the Unidome. But it's comfortable in here. You said 64. I'll say it's about 67 degrees in here, so it's a really nice temperature for football, of course. And, Garrigan, they had to do some practices inside this week, Beanie, with the snow covering Conway Field.
Can you believe it?
I'm sure it was the same situation for Audubon, but it's melted now, and it's looking like a nice day outside.
Well, this is interesting at Garrigan. Since the snow fell and it got so cold, they were able to practice in the gym, which was only built a few years ago. The other gym, the Freedman Auditorium, was completely set up for the musical that was happening at Garrigan. So where would they have practiced if it wasn't for the second gym? I guess they would have been outside in the freezing cold in the snow like the olden days. But, hey, modern kids are a little bit softer. We got to get those guys inside. I have a question for you, Tyler. Audubon Wheelers. What's a wheeler? Where did that come from?
Boy, I didn't do quite the same research as I did last week for the Dons, but they've got that A and the wheel logo on the side of their helmet intertwined. I believe it's got to be like someone like operating a mill, right? You're a wheeler.
Yeah, you can make a wheel. You're a wheelwright. Back in the day when people had to make their wheels, maybe it's that. There's an Audubon station here. Maybe I'll ask them at halftime. Explain the Wheelers mascot, but pretty cool logo. It's nice to see our logos up there. You got the BG Cross logo up on the big screen now with the Audubon Wheelers. really fun celebration of football. That's what it really is in the semifinals. Win, lose, or draw, you got to celebrate the fact that you got to take a day off work and come down to the Dome.
Yeah, and certainly, and it's a credit to the players who've gotten to this point, so let's talk about a few of those guys. You know, it's so cliche to start with the quarterback, but Beanie, Tate Furch is built for the Unidome. This guy is calm, he's confident, he's cool, we say it all the time, and today he has a chance to make Garrigan history. No Bishop Garrigan quarterback has ever rushed for 1,000 yards and passed for 1,000 yards in the same season. Tate Furch has already checked off the 1,000 yards passing. He has 942 rushing yards, so a chance to make Garrigan history today, but there's really not a better quarterback, temperament-wise or performance-wise, to be leading this Garrigan team back to the Dome.
Tate Furch is just an absolute gamer. He just loves sports of all kinds. Doesn't matter basketball, baseball, track. He is competing. He really, really loves to compete. And he's all-around kid. He was a lead role in the musical that just played last Friday night at Garrigan. Did a great job in the musical. He's in the hallways. He's this year's homecoming king. I mean, he's really got a storybook senior year going. And, boy, I've had to eat crow so many times with Tate Furch because when he started QB as a sophomore, I will admit I was doubting the sophomore Tate Furch, saying, is this our guy, the sophomore? He's our quarterback? And now here 3 years in a row, he's led Garrigan to the state semifinals and beyond. And hats off to Tate Furch. What an incredible job he's done as a QB.
Well, they have the great entrance here at the Unidome. Audubon is taking the field right now. Down to our right, they've got that big purple garage door that opens up, and then the Audubon Wheelers wearing their white jerseys emerge out of that garage. They've got Bishop Garrigan down in the near side tunnel right now. They don't get the big garage door entrance this year, but you can hear the Golden Bear fans, this huge crowd roaring down beneath us as the 30-plus Golden Bears run onto the field wearing their all-black uniforms here today. And we are just moments away from kickoff here at the Unidome. Beanie, before we get to another commercial break here, I want to talk defense a bit because Audubon, they're known for their offense. We said 5 games with 80-plus points, but it was their defense that won their quarterfinal game against Iowa Valley. You know, Iowa Valley comes in, they've got the hype. Nolan Kriegel, best player in the state, the 8-man, has the best statistics, and they hold Iowa Valley to 19 points in that 26-19 win. Iowa Valley got that first play touchdown. They didn't score again until late in the third quarter. This Audubon defense, you know, the offense gets all the credit, they get all the flash, but this is going to be the best defense that Bishop Garrigan has faced so far this season.
Well, if you're an 8-player football and you can hold other teams like Kriegel of Iowa Valley down, that means you have speed in the defensive backfield. That means you have guys that can run down anybody that gets in the open field and keep them from scoring. And we saw the defensive back. Not only is Kiergaard their quarterback, he can run people down from his defensive back spot. Garrigan has the same guy on the other side. His name's Tate Furch. They got Joyce. They've got defensive back speed as well. So this could shock us all here in the 8-player level. This could be a defensive battle. But what Garrigan has is that battering ram you introduced in the pregame player announcements. Ethan Marceau. Garrigan can use him as that battering ram and control the clock, let him pound forward for 5 yards in a cloud of dust here on this turf, and that could really control the game if they can establish that power running game. I expect to see a lot of I formation by Bishop Garrigan today, and maybe some new twist on it as well.
Yeah, they don't make a whole lot of guys like Ethan Marceau, but Bishop Garrigan is fortunate to have big number 11 on their side. Here comes the national anthem, so we'll take a timeout on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
High school sports on Hometown Home Country Radio, brought to you by these fine sports boosters.
Greg Penning and Company, certified public accountants, where everyone counts.
Albert Electric, flip the switch to Neil Albert Electric.
Dump It, Kasuth County's local and reliable waste service provider for commercial and residential customers in our area.
Glenn's Green Thumb, paint your outdoor space with inspiration from Glenn's Green Thumb, North Main Street, Algona.
Weikert Realtors, the 515 Agency, a fresh approach to real estate.
Tom Eischen Sales, your store in the country, carrying steel and Toro products and Green Mountain pellet grills.
All sponsors of this broadcast.
Mike, they did it. Bishop Garrigan is going back to the Unidome. You know what that means, right?
We need to make the biggest intro of all time.
Hey guys, did you see that Bishop Garrigan's going to state?
Yeah, we were just talking about that.
Look, I know what you guys normally do, but I'm going to need you guys to keep it down a bit this year.
But Bernie, this is state semifinal football.
You mean we can't do a hype intro?
Last time I let you guys record a hype intro, it blew the speakers in the studio. The answer is no.
Come on, Bernie. This isn't just any game. It's the state semifinals.
2 undefeated teams.
The high-flying offense and hard-hitting defense.
The best players in the state. We need to do this. The community expects us to.
Guys, the answer is no.
Well, I guess that means no hype intro.
You guys are doing a hype intro, right?
Well, no. Bernie says we can't.
Bernie doesn't run this station.
The Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears are on a mission to take back the state title.
Back to throw Youngblood. Has some time. Flips it near side. And it's picked off. Matt Miller has the interception. A turnover inside the red zone. And a huge stop by the Golden Bear defense.
8 players playing as one.
It's a read plays first. Takes it around the left end. He's got a big opening. He's across the 30. There he goes on the first play. He's to the 20. He's to the 10. Tate Furch is gone. How about that to open the game? Tate Furch blows the doors off the defense.
Do the Golden Bears continue their march to the state title game, or does it end today? Find out right now on KLGA and KLGZ.
Mike Vandy and I are going to be in big trouble tomorrow morning if the boss after playing that intro here on the air, folks. Well, that'll get you ready for Unidome football, the state semifinal round between the Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears and Audubon Wheelers as the two teams get ready to go out to midfield for the coin toss. Bishop Garrigan wearing the all-black uniforms today, black jersey pants, black jersey tops, the gold numerals front and back of the jersey, and the BG and cross logo intertwined on the sides of the black helmet. For Audubon, it's white jersey pants, white jersey tops. They have the red numerals front and back, 2 red stripes going down the side of the shoulders on the jersey. They have the red helmet with the A and the wheel overlapping logo. A very unique logo. You don't see a whole lot of wheelers in high school football beanie, but we see them here at the Unidome because, like Bishop Garrigan, they dominated. They were 11-0, and they really weren't tested until their state quarterfinal game when they beat Iowa Valley 26-19.
Yeah, the writing was on the wall for both these teams, but they both had to win a big quarterfinal game to get here to these semis. They're both got great leaders. Garrigan sends its 3 leaders out for the coin toss right now. Tate Furch, Ethan Marceau, and Carter Schwab, 3 seniors on this team, are going to go out there as captains for the Bears against the Wheelers, send out 4, and the coin toss is in the books.
The Eyes on Forrington coin toss brought to you by Eyes on Forrington. See the difference at Eyes on Forrington. Audubon wins the opening coin toss. They defer their choice to the second half, so we will see the number 5 ranked offense in the 8-player class, Bishop Garrigan, who averages 57 points per game. They'll be going up against the Audubon defense, who is not too shabby themselves. Audubon's only allowed 11.5 points per game. That's number 4 in the 8-man class. So Audubon's got the number 1 ranked offense, the number 4 ranked defense. Garrigan, the number 5 ranked offense, and the number 2 ranked defense here today, and it all collides at the Unidome. Well, Michael Joyce is going back to receive. He's taken 2 kickoffs back for touchdowns so far this season. He'll be down to our right as Audubon will kick left to right on the radio dial. Audubon doing one last pregame huddle. Everyone jumping around on the Audubon sideline. Like we said, great crowd here today on the Garrigan side. I'd estimate about 70-30 Garrigan fans here today as Audubon had to make a very long trip from the western part of the state to get here. Audubon fans, mostly clad in white with a few red specks in there. All black and gold down beneath us with the Bishop Garrigan fans, and a little green and gold as well with that St. Edmund football team coming down to watch this game.
I see a Riceville team down below us. I see several teams, in fact, that Garrigan has played throughout the season. There's a lot of high school kids on the Garrigan side coming here to watch, support the Bears here as they all line up. And this is important for the Iowa economy. T-shirt sales are big. It looks like the Audubon, they all got the white T-shirts. Garrigan purchased some, looks like gold playoff T-shirts, and everyone's sporting their school colors.
It'll be Orm Vogt to kick it off for Audubon, left to right on the radio dial. As Michael Joyce is back to receive for Bishop Garrigan. They've actually got 2 guys back there as Vogt into the ball for the left foot, end over and down the field it goes towards the goal line as Joyce stays out of the end zone, but then his foot went in. He caught it on the 1, and then that back foot trying to brace himself just stepped on that yellow tape, so that's an automatic touchback.
He wanted to return that kick so bad. I could tell before the ball was even in the air. Him and C.J. McGregor were high-fiving, getting ready to go. He tried to avoid that goal line like a receiver trying to keep his feet in bounds, and he just couldn't do it. And tapped that yellow line with his foot.
Well, you had Don Bosco last week just booming touchbacks out of the end zone, so Joyce had no opportunity to return the ball last week. As the Golden Bear offense starts from their own 15-yard line, Tate Furch in the shotgun, takes it on the run play, gets a block by Marceau, squeezes past the line of scrimmage, he's out to the 20-yard line, and a solid 5-yard pickup to stay ahead of schedule on the first play of the game.
Good opening push by the offensive line. That's one thing I was looking at. You want to see how good we're firing off the ball. Can they move that big 280-pound nose guard? And Caden Graves did just there.
So Bishop Garrigan up a 2nd down and 5 from their own 20-yard line, moving right to left on the radio dial. They operate from the shotgun once again with Furch having Marceau on his right side. Direct snap by Graves. The handoff to Marceau. Has a hole on the right side. Lowers the shoulder. Chugs the legs and has the first down. 7-yard pickup off of the right side by Ethan Marceau as the Golden Bears are onto that UNI logo at about the 8-man 32-yard line.
That was the experience of Ethan Marceau because that was supposed to go behind the left guard, but they slanted. The defensive linemen slanted, and Caden Graves and Lear and Schwab took everybody the way they wanted to go. Marceau wisely saw that he needed to cut back and get some open field. That's experienced by the senior running back.
Bishop Garrigan on the season. They averaged 399 yards per game, 105 passing, and 294 rushing. They ran for 353 yards last week against Don Bosco as Furch takes it on the run, and he's hit hard up the middle, knocked sideways, and he'll only gain 1 yard. A little disruption there in the middle as it'll be 2nd down and 9.
That time the victory did go to Isaac Sorensen, the 280-pound senior, heading up the defense there from his no guard position. I love that play. It's a draw play. Nate Lear comes across as the pulling guard and lays a huge block, but that nose guard came back up through the middle and foiled the play.
And we've got our first scoreboard mistake of the game. They do their player spotlight where they put the camera on one player. They said Landon Blum, but they put the camera on Tate Furch. Landon Blum is the Woodbine quarterback, by the way. They're playing next as Marceau runs up the left side. They stack him up and they drive him backwards. Mason Kasperbauer in there first as Marceau maybe got half a yard as they blew up the left side that time.
Well, that's just a great call by the defensive coaches for the Wheelers. They knew that play was coming. They slanted their line all again, putting all their power over there against Garrigan's power. And Marceau nowhere to go. Big 3rd down here early on.
Well, Brody Weber, the defensive end, didn't get the tackle, but he blew up the fullback, Carter McGregor, to really disrupt that play. As Furch boots out to the right side. He's going to gun it down the field. He's got Rosemeyer open. Makes the grab inside the 25-yard line, down to the 24. Tackle made by Nowatzki for Audubon, but Furch extends the play and moves the chains.
Just a beautiful pass by Furch right into Rosemeyer's hands. He had someone on his back hip in good coverage. Love that play for the Bears. Tyler, we were on the car ride here. We knew we'd see that play. Garrigan sends 2 tight ends out and says to Tate Furch, take your pick. One of these tight ends is going to be open. It was either Hayden Miller or Rosemeyer, and it was Rosemeyer deep.
And you had even Marceau blocking the 225-pound defensive end, Hayden Larson, on the edge.
Oh, penalty.
But it's going to be a penalty on Bishop Garrigan.
I think we missed that in our excitement of the first down. I think perhaps Tate Furch was over the line of scrimmage.
I believe you are right, Beanie. He was very close. In fact, we're watching a replay here at the Unidome. And he was past the line of scrimmage. So that's going to be a loss of down penalty, and Bishop Garrigan will be forced to punt.
Oh, that is unfortunate because Tate Furch probably could have continued running for the first down. He opted to throw it. So good choice, bad choice, topsy-turvy world for Tate Furch in that play. But ouch, that'll force Mike Joyce to do something he has rarely done.
And the dangerous Nowatzki back deep to receive. He's taken 4 punts back for a touchdown this year. Joyce angles it beautifully towards the sideline, rolling inside the 5, and that's going to die at the 3-yard line. Dalton Clems was covering that ball, but it hops out of bounds along that yellow tape. A perfect coffin corner punt by Michael Joyce.
Wow, how about that? Michael Joyce probably has less than 10 punts on the season. Comes up with a big one in the state semifinals. Boy, we saw him punting in pregame. It's certainly not that he can't punt, he just hasn't had to. What a fantastic punt, all-around athlete in Mike Joyce.
So Audubon will start in field position jail, but it's the #1 scoring offense in the state, 67.8 points per game. They average 393.5 offensive yards. As Kiergaard starts in the shotgun, Kasperbauer out to the right. He's got a receiver split left as well with 2 tight ends along the line of scrimmage. The snap to Kiergaard. They pull the left guard. Kiergaard for the hole. Drops the football. It's loose on the ground. Fight for the football at the 3-yard line, and Bishop Garrigan recovers it. Golden Bears scoop up the fumble at the 3-yard line. Carter Schwab.
Wow, what a turn of events. Holy smokes, someone put their helmet on the ball, and that ball squirted right out of there. Carter Schwab had it, lost it, got it back again.
Yeah, they tried to run off the left side. Marceau had the punch out. He only got his right hand in there, but he knocked it out of the hands of Kiergaard. Golden Bears vacuuming the fumble, and they are inside the Red Power red zone, inside the 5-yard line. Brought to you by your local Red Power team in Bancroft, Corwith, West Bend, and Humboldt. You talked about turnovers and can they keep the game. There it is as Furch is going to sneak up the middle. Furch is driving the legs, pushing to the 1, and they'll knock him sideways. Brody Weber making a stop as Furch gets down to the 1-yard line.
Wow, power versus power. Those 2 linemen, the offense for Garrigan versus the defensive linemen, that is going to be a battle to watch all day, folks. Buckle up. That was Garrigan putting their best up against it. The quarterback sneak didn't work. They gained a yard.
Well, they tried again here. They got a little closer. You've got the 80-pound defensive tackle in the middle. So give to Marceau. Marceau off the left side. Burrows his way into the end zone for a touchdown. If the quarterback sneak doesn't work, you go to number 11. 6-0 Bishop Garrigan.
Wow, what a turn of events for Garrigan. After their punt, they get the fumble on the first play by Audubon Wheelers. They punched it in the end zone. Let's go back to that fumble recovery, Tyler. Now that we got to see it on the big screen. That ball almost went out of bounds. Talk about a game of inches. If Schwab doesn't regather that ball before it goes out of bounds, Garrigan does not score there. Whew.
2-point conversion. McGregor in the backfield takes the pitch from Furch. Running to the near side of the field. He's headed the goal line, and he fumbles the ball as he couldn't get to the end zone. The 2-point try is no good for Bishop Garrigan, who will settle for a 6-0 lead. We'll take our first time out from the UD Dome. 8:51 left in the first. A turnover turns into a touchdown by Ethan Marceau. Golden Bears 6, Audubon nothing.
Thank you to these sports boosters bringing you this game on Hometown Home Country Radio.
J&J Custom Meats located in Whittemore, continuing the tradition.
West Bend Ford, meeting your service, new car sales, and used car sales needs.
Tango Salon for all your cuts, colors, hair extensions, and massage therapy needs.
Fairway Meat and Grocery. Everything's easier, fresher, and faster with Algona Fairway.
Lusher Family Dentistry, serving your family since 1965 on Call Street in Algona.
Ulrich Construction, let them do the work.
Trend Salon, your complete family hair salon. It's all about you.
Bringing you this game on Hometown Home Country Radio.
Audubon fumbles inside their own 5-yard line. Bishop Garrigan recovers and eventually scores on an Ethan Marceau rushing touchdown. Marceau with his 26th rushing score of the year. And now Bishop Garrigan will kick off from the UNI logo at the 8-player 30-yard line. Ethan Marceau into the football, kicks a low-line drive towards the far side of the field. Taken in by Casper Bauer at the 8, tiptoes to the 20, and he's taken into the sideline by Dalton Clens. Casper Bauer was looking for a hole, never really accelerated, and that is where Audubon will start at the 20-yard line.
Well, in the 8-player game, you put your best guys back there. Casper Bauer, the running back, also back there was Kiergaard, the QB, who we're going to see here. Anxious to see Kiergaard, Tyler. We've heard a lot about him on the pregame and throughout the season. Is he as good as advertised?
Over 1,400 yards rushing this season, 11 yards per carry for Kiergaard, who's in an empty formation right now. The tight end Christensen flexed out to the left. Casper Bauer's over to the right. One tight end each side of the line of scrimmage as well for Audubon. Casper Bauer comes in motion. Kiergaard runs through the middle, and that hole closes quickly. Ethan Marceau moving laterally and knocking down Kiergaard for no gain.
Boy, it is impossible to do anything against the Bears unless you at least try to block Ethan Marceau. That time Marceau, the linebacker, is untouched. Matt Besh gets the call on nose guard there. They rotate Matt and Carson Kramer in with each other. Matt's in there right now. He took on 2 blockers. That left Marceau free.
And look for some 4-man fronts today as well for Bishop Garrigan, because, of course, this is a run-based Audubon team. They rarely throw, but when they do, they take a deep shot, so that's where the safeties come in for Bishop Garrigan.
You called it, Tyler. 4 guys right now.
Now more condensed formation. Here comes the rush. Pass left side caught by Weber. Weber surging towards the chains, and they'll give him forward progress for the first down. Furch with the ankle tackle, but that'll go for a 10-yard pickup.
Beautiful play design. Boy, they ran that just over the middle into the soft spot right between the linebackers and the safeties. Furch comes up from his safety spot, makes the tackle. But as you said, Tyler, these guys don't throw it a lot, but when they do, they are open.
Yeah, they want to take some deep shots at some point too, but again, it's going to be that quarterback run game driving the Audubon offense. Kiergaard in the shotgun. Bishop Garrigan comes out on a 4-man front again. Kiergaard gives to Casper Bauer on the option. Casper Bauer for hole. He's across the 30-yard line, chugging the legs, breaking tackles. 35-yard line, 36-yard line. A tough 6-yard run there of 2 broken tackles by Casper Bauer, and it's a solid pickup on first down.
Well done by the running back for Audubon. He kept his legs grinding. Ethan Marceau hit him, and that is usually the end of the story. But he kept his legs driving and eventually got out of the grass, picked up another 3 yards. It's second down.
Yeah, that was sort of a low man wins situation as he put his shoulder into the chest of Ethan Marceau, and that sort of caused Marceau to recoil a bit and lose his grip on Casper Bauer. In the shotgun again is Kiergaard. Casper Bauer on his left hip this time. 2 tight ends on the right side of the formation. This time it's a quarterback keeper off the left side. Big hole, 40-yard line, 35-yard line, first down Kiergaard. That's about a 12-yard pickup as they'll march into Bishop Garrigan territory down to the 33-yard line.
Coach Wadley was correct. It does not take long for Kiergaard to get to full speed. The 6-foot-plus sophomore quarterback can really turn on the jets. That time Carson Kramer was in playing some nose guard. He busted it up and got in the backfield, but Kiergaard just said, I'll just run the other way. And a great cutback by him.
Kiergaard empties it out this time as he's the lone player in the backfield. One receiver to the right, one to the left is it's Christensen left and Casper Bauer right. Casper Bauer goes in motion. Kiergaard runs up the middle, has a hole again. He's across the 30-yard line, down to the 25, as he'll slice off 8 yards on that carry, setting up a 2nd down and 2.
Well, I'm starting to see what Coach Wiley meant by their zone blocking. It's pretty straightforward. These linemen, they have very wide splits, and it forces the Garrigan linemen to get really wide. So they're just basically creating a lot of open space in that front line to see if Kiergaard give him whatever he wants to run through.
Yeah, there's a ton of space right now in the run game for Audubon. Clay Van Artem's the center. He's over the top of the football right now as Kiergaard's in the shotgun, calling out signals at the line of scrimmage. Left guard Sullivan McLean and right guard Lane Meyer opening up some holes so far as well. Here's the run up the middle by Kiergaard, picking his way through. Kramer makes the tackle, but not before Kiergaard falls forward, past the line to gain. He picks up 4, and Audubon moves to the 21-yard line of Bishop Garrigan.
That was a great hog tie by Carson Kramer, snagged the ankles to bring him down. Yeah, they're making no bones about it. They are no wide receivers. Everyone's packed in tight, just trying to show some power against this Bishop Garrigan defense. And Garrigan defense does not like to stunt and try to fill gaps, at least not at the beginning of the game. They just tell their kids, hey, got to tackle better.
6-0 Bishop Garrigan, 5:35 on the clock. As Kiergaard takes the shotgun snap, he's going to throw. Has Weber in the flat to the 15-yard line. Breaks the tackle to the 10, tiptoes to the 5, and finally forced out of bounds by C.J. McGregor. They'll mark him out at the 5, but an elusive catch and run that time by Brody Weber.
Nice play call. What makes that play call so effective is that Ethan Marceau, as the middle linebacker, has to respect the running quarterback. So he can't cover that receiver coming out of the backfield until he is sure that the quarterback's not going to run. That gives just enough time for the receiver to get open.
And Kiergaard made a nice throw with Madden Miller screaming off the edge. Now Carson Wessel is in to take the direct snap. Wessel was the quarterback earlier this season before an injury. As Wessel takes the snap, runs left side, looking for a hole. He dances, and he's met by Carson Kramer. Big Moose stopping him for a 1-yard gain as the ball's now at the 4-yard line of a 2nd and goal.
And Moose is pumped up. He's a sophomore. So that is one of the very many interesting matchups to watch. If you look at each lineman as a person versus person, right now Carson Kramer is winning his battle every play so far.
2nd down and goal from the 4-yard line. Kiergaard back in with an empty backfield. Christensen out to the left, and Casper Bauer wide side of the field to the right. Ball's on the left side hash. 4:49 on the clock, and a false start on Audubon. Boy, you could have called that on 3 different guys there, as there was twitching everywhere.
Everybody took off. Everyone's pointing fingers at each other. It looks like Audubon's going to have to mark backwards. Boy, Tyler, that gives us a chance to talk about that defense the Bears put out just there. As they try to figure out a way to corral this offense now that they've seen a few plays. They went with 3 down linemen and 5 linebackers across the top. That is one way to be able to read this zone as long as your linebackers can come up fast and fill that gap and make the hits. And I think Garrigan's got the backers to do it.
Yeah, especially in this condensed field, too, of Audubon inside the red power red zone. Empty formation for Kiergaard. Casper Bauer to the right, Christensen to the left. Kiergaard runs, they pull the guard. Kiergaard straight for the middle, chugging the legs. Got the penalty yardage back to the 5-yard line, but again, met in the hole by Carson Kramer and Madden Miller to stop him right there. 3rd and goal from the 5.
I know, this is a great adjustment early on by the Garrigan coaching staff to go to this kind of what I'm just going to call 5 linebackers, because they've got kids that have great speed. Here comes Titan Troyer in for Carson Kramer. He's another one with speed. And it's given a chance for the linebackers to see it, and it makes the offensive line for Audubon not know who to block.
Carter McGregor is going to play nose guard on this defensive snap for Bishop Garrigan with Rosenmeyer and Schwab at the end positions. Kiergaard in the gun, this time 2 receivers out to the right. They've got Hooker far right as Casper Bauer goes in motion. Kiergaard picking his way for the middle. He's got blockers. He's in for a touchdown. Followed his man all the way in, had the convoy, and Audubon has tied the game with 3:52 left in the first quarter.
Boy, great blocking by Lane Meyer, 6'3", 245-pound junior. He sealed off that gap, and wonderful patience by Kiergaard to wait for that hole to open up and then use his power.
Yet his tight end Austin Christensen running for the hole first. Christensen could have gotten in almost untouched. That's how well Meyer blocked that play. Now Audubon, they do not kick PATs. They always go for 2. Unbalanced formation. Kiergaard runs left side. Kiergaard breaks a tackle and he's in. 2-point conversion Audubon. Wheelers have their first lead of the game, and for just the 2nd time this year, Bishop Garrigan is behind. It's Audubon 8, Bishop Garrigan 6. 3:52 left in the first from the Uni Dome and on KLGA and KLGZ.
High school sports on Hometown Home Country Radio, brought to you by these sports boosters.
Farmers State Bank, a strong history, a bright future.
Iowa Lakes Community College, your community, your college.
PMC Advantage Insurance Services. Having the advantage makes all the difference.
Northwest Iowa Bone, Joint, and Sports Surgeons, proud to serve area athletes.
Hy-Vee, use the Fuel Saver card. Fill your cart, fuel your car.
Farm Bureau Financial Agents Dave Beisch and Daniel Foth.
American Glass, for all your glass needs, think American.
Sponsoring this broadcast on Hometown Home Country Radio.
Orm votes to kick it off for Audubon as the Wheelers march down the field. 10 plays, 60 yards. Took just under 5 minutes to do it, and they cap it off with a rushing touchdown by Aiden Kiergaard, his 33rd rushing touchdown of the season. Vote, the left-footed kicker, into the football, end over end toward the goal line. Joyce will have to go into the end zone as that's a touchback. Interesting formation on the kick return, Beanie. They've got C.J. McGregor lined up 1 yard in front of Michael Joyce, but it doesn't matter because that ball gets booted into the end zone.
Yeah, Garrigan has seen a host of really good kickers this year. Joyce has not gotten in on many kick returns. All right, now the Garrigan offense will take the turn. We've learned a lot already in this early going. 3:52 left to go in the first quarter. We've learned that this is going to be a major battle of the linemen here on the defensive and offensive fronts on both sides. Garrigan's offensive line is going to try to show some authority here.
Time to buckle those shin straps. Marceau on the draw, tries the right side, picks his way forward, and he falls across the 19-yard line. 4-yard pickup by the Bishop Garrigan senior.
Yeah, well, Ethan Marceau is going to sub out now. Dalton Clens coming in. Moose is checking out as Garrigan's going to try to open up that offense here, realizing that if they were going to have some points scored today, they better put some up, so they're going split wideouts now.
Carter Obermeyer on that last tackle for Audubon. Bishop Garrigan operating mostly from the shotgun so far, even on the run plays. Not a lot of under center stuff yet. Empty formation for Tate Furch. The line surges forward. Great block by Schwab. Furch across the line to gain. He absorbs a tackle, and he is all the way out to the 28-yard line. Solid pickup to move the chains off a great block by the pulling guard Carter Schwab.
That was a great block by Schwab. Now, Schwab goes both ways. Not all the linemen go both ways for Audubon, but Schwab is going to have his work all day here. He's going both ways, and there was a couple plays in that last drive when he was on defense where he got double teamed and blocked to the ground. That'll fire a guy up, and Schwab showing some revenge here on this drive.
Bishop Garrigan will split 2 receivers to the left for this play. Joyce slot left and Clens wide left with Furch in the gun, joined by Marceau in the backfield. Marceau takes it on the option, trying the right side, plugging his way forward, but big Isaac Sorensen makes the stop. Marceau limited to a 3-yard gain.
You know, you're okay with Marceau grinding out 4-yard gains because it wears the other team down. So the more we see Ethan Marceau running over some guys and picking up a few, there's nothing wrong with that.
We have 2:33 left in the first quarter. Audubon on top of Bishop Garrigan 8-6. Golden Bears with their third drive of the ball game as Furch gets a nice block on the edge by Marceau, has a big opening. He's across the 40, spins away to the 35, tiptoes down the sideline, and he dances out of bounds at the 32-yard line. Obermeyer, who comes up a little bit limping there, able to force Furch out, but a solid, elusive run by the Bishop Garrigan quarterback.
Well, folks, if you're at home listening, I'm listening through really nice headphones here that block out a lot of sound, but I heard that crunch of Ethan Marceau making that block. If you want to rewind some film and see how important blocking is in football, Tate Furch does not get out in the open there if Ethan Marceau doesn't pick up that huge block.
Well, they've fixed their scoreboard here at the Unidome. They no longer think that Tate Furch is Landon Blum, the great Woodbine player. They fixed it to his name after that run as Tate Furch is approaching 1,000 yards rushing on the season. 2:19 left in the first. Shotgun snap to Furch. A Marceau run again. Rosemeyer leading the way. Marceau chugging the legs, falling forward and getting a 5-yard pickup. Tackle made on the play by Hayden Larson, but Bishop Garrigan again stays ahead of schedule.
Marceau just running so hard as always, gets right up off the turf. He is that battering ram that is going to keep carrying Garrigan offense forward here.
Bishop Garrigan at the 27-yard line. It is a 2nd down and 5. Furch in the shotgun has 2 players on the wing to the left with McGregor and Marceau, and Furch will follow them. Leaps over a man at the line of scrimmage, tries to surge his way forward. He's shy of the line to gain, held to a 3-yard pickup to set up a 3rd down and 2.
Boy, if you like smash mouth football, this is the game to watch. Both teams just packing everybody around that line of scrimmage in the box, and Garrigan just putting 2 blockers, everyone they have at the point of attack.
Bishop Garrigan quickly back to the line of scrimmage, moving right to left on the radio dial. Ball's in the center of the field. This is the big formation. as they've gotten multiple tight ends in, 2 backs. It's Marceau. Marceau past the 20, breaks a tackle to the 15, being held onto by the jersey. Marceau has the first down to the 13-yard line as Nowatzki held on for dear life.
Boy, that's a good strategy by Nowatzki that not a lot of people have done on Marceau. Just grab onto that front of that jersey and hold on and twist him around, because Marceau is going to drive him all the way to the end zone if he tries to take him head on.
Well, and Nowatzki absorbed a huge block by Carter McGregor, but he got off it to make the tackle on Marceau. Bishop Garrigan first down inside the red zone. Marceau left side run, bounces it outside to the 10, churning the legs to the 8-yard line, and he'll be stopped right there. Weber's got him by the legs that time, helped up by Obermeyer, and a solid pickup of about 6 yards.
Yeah, that is a good sign. They're already getting tired of Ethan Marceau hitting them. When Ethan's carrying the ball, boy, he is the deliverer of the power there, and 2 guys getting up slow after that one after having to bring Marceau down.
Second down and 4 from the 8-yard line for Bishop Garrigan. I formation once again. Marceau takes the handoff through the middle. He's met right at the line of scrimmage as that hole got filled quickly. Marceau stopped after a 2-yard gain as that was Christensen knifing in there for the stop.
Well, as I suspected, when Garrigan wants to show some dominance offensively, they go to that I formation. They are marching down the field. It takes some time, but boy, that power I is really doing well.
5 seconds left in the quarter. Bishop Garrigan up to the line of scrimmage. 3 seconds, 2 seconds to get the snap off. Furch sneaks, first down Golden Bears, trying to keep the legs moving. They push him back, but that's forward progress. The Audubon crowd cheered as if they got the stop, but Furch broke the line to gain, and the Golden Bears are all the way down to the 3-yard line. Quarter number 1 comes to an end. It's Audubon 8 and Bishop Garrigan 6, but the Golden Bears at the Audubon 3 when we come back on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
More sports boosters bringing you this broadcast.
The Water Connection. From softeners to bottled water and service, call 295-SOFT.
Good Samaritan Society Algona, senior housing and services rooted in God's love.
Schindler Lawn Care and Landscaping. Call 515-320-3840 or schindlerlawncare@gmail.com.
Feed Mill Coffee Company, Algona's locally owned coffee shop.
Billy Offerman, your State Farm insurance agent in Algona. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Signworks for all your signage needs, as well as printed shirts, caps, and jackets. Stop in or call 295-9544.
All bringing you this game.
Thank you to these sports boosters, bringing you this game on Hometown Home Country Radio.
Daylight Donuts, open early with delicious donuts and great coffee.
Lichter's Garage Door Service and New Installations, a reputation you can trust. Call 295-5988.
TAFE Wellness Center in Algona and Armstrong, keeping athletes in the game with chiropractic care. Take charge of your health.
Steyr Ag Aviation, aerial and ground application agronomy services.
State Line Cooperative, real people, real pride.
Redding Gravel and Excavating, serving Algona and the surrounding area since 1948.
All sponsors of this game broadcast.
We've got more sports club members making this broadcast possible on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
Schumacher Well and Water Care. You never know the value of water until the well runs dry.
Lance and Tracy Ludwig, your Channel C dealers in Wesley.
Triple W Livestock of Wesley.
Goshi Custom Cabinets. They'll meet all of your kitchen, countertop, and cabinet needs.
Grand Jeanette Jewelry in Algona. Think inside the box.
Sponsoring this broadcast on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
Start of the second quarter from the Unidome in Cedar Falls. I'm Tyler Lance alongside Beanie Bodie as the Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears trail the Audubon Wheelers 8-6 in this battle of 11-0 teams. But Bishop Garrigan's currently on a 10-play drive. They've marched down the field just like they did in the second half last week against Don Bosco, and they are inside the 5-yard line right now, Beanie, trying to punch it in.
Yeah, Tyler, we get a chance to talk a little bit more about the game here because extended first quarter break here in the Dome as Veterans Day just yesterday. Always in the semifinals, they honor Americans veterans here after the first quarter of each playoff game. Each school picks a veteran representative, and Garrigan's representative this year is Lee Freilich. Congratulations, Lee Freilich, Vietnam veteran here, being honored between the first and second quarter here, getting a huge round of applause from the crowd. Lee is out there with his family, his wife Kathy, Chad, Pat, I think Bill's down there, his daughter Molly. Very cool to be recognized here in the Dome as a veteran, Lee Freilich.
Yeah, it certainly is. It gets the crowd definitely giving them their great salute. Audubon had a veteran member of their fan base as well down there in the end zone, getting some pictures there and some hugs from the cheerleaders too. So, like I said, Beanie Veterans Day just wrapped up. Of course, if you've been listening on Hometown and Home Country Radio, you've heard all those great Veterans Day salutes where people who serve the country were able to talk about their experiences. So, a nice way to kind of cap off that a little bit here as well as we get to the Unidome.
Well, as nice as that moment was, and both crowds on their feet and a big standing ovation for the veterans and applauding, now they got to get back to some football here. And Garrigan is knocking on the door of hopefully another score.
The ball's at the 3-yard line. It's a first down and goal following the quarterback sneak on the play to end the first quarter by Tate Furch. This time, Ethan Marshall's lined up as the fullback, C.J. McGregor as the tailback. As Garrigan comes out in the I formation, Madden Miller will be the tight end on the right side of Weston Rosenmeyer, the left side tight end. Again, a 2-point Audubon lead as the players will await the ready to go here. So 3 chances to punch it in from the 3-yard line. It's been ground and pound so far this drive for Bishop Garrigan, just chopping off those 5- and 6-yard gains. Furch awaits the Graves snap, takes it, gives to Marceau. Marceau plunging for the middle, and he is met by a brick wall. Maybe 1 yard there for even Marceau, but the middle got gummed up very quickly.
Yeah, that was a defensive stand by the Audubon Wheelers. Caden Graves fired off the ball and hit a wall. They brought guys from the side, filling every gap. That was just nothing there. Just not enough blockers for as many defenders that were there.
Football's a numbers game. Audubon going with the big defensive front here to try to make a goal line stand. Ball's to the 2. Marshall tries again. Lowers the shoulder. He got low, and he wedges his way into the end zone for a touchdown. Bishop Garrigan takes the lead back. Beanie, low man wins, and Marceau got very low on that touchdown run.
That same wall was there. That was there the last play. But Ethan Marceau with the power just batters through that wall they had set up. Good blocking, of course, up front. Now the Garrigan's going to go for 2 once again. Try to get back. They didn't make the 2 the first time around.
Yeah, 2-point conversions, as Garrigan learned last year. Very important at the Unidome if you don't get them. Furch fakes to McGregor, boots out to the right. He's got men open in the end zone, but he can walk in instead. Madden Miller of the block. Tate Furch could have thrown it to Miller or Rosenmeyer, or he could walk at him himself. 3 great options for Garrigan, and it is a 2-point conversion to make it 14-8.
Smart play by Madden Miller. Ran a good pattern, like you said, Tyler. Probably could have caught a pass, but then he turned around and blocked, seeing that Furch was going to go to pay dirt. Well, good to get those 2 points back, like you said, Tyler. Recap how important 2-point conversions are in these big games in the Dome.
Yeah, you think about it last year, Beanie. Garrigan missed on 2 of their 3 2-point conversions. Rems and St. Mary's got 2 of their 3, and then that's the difference. That's a loss. And, you know, regular season you get away with missed PATs or missed 2-point conversions, but here at the Dome, every team's undefeated. You're just so evenly matched.
Yes.
It's those marginal gains. It really could come down to a 2-point try. So that one was an important one for Garrigan to go back up by 6.
And I kid you not, listeners, we have seen Garrigan run at least 25 different 2-point conversion plays throughout the season. Some of them direct snaps to C.J. McGregor, some of them rolling out, some of them swinging gate trick plays. We've even seen passes to Caden Graves, the center, on their 2-point conversions. There's a lot of 2-point plays to choose from.
Well, Beanie, that was a 12-play, 65-yard drive. It took 4:24 off the clock, and it ends in Ethan Marceau's second rushing touchdown of the game. Ethan Marceau now with 54 career rushing touchdowns and 27 on the season. And, of course, he's on kickoff duty as well, kicking it left to right on your radio dial. So Bishop Garrigan back on top, 14-8, just underway here in the second quarter with 11:28 on the clock. Casper Bauer's back deep, as is Nowatzki. End over and kick. That one's going to be returnable. Nowatzki cuts in front of Casper Bauer at the 6. Returns near side. He's to the 15-20. Big hole, 25. Driving his way to the 30-yard line. And Titan Troyer and Carter Sink finally pile on top of him. But a good run back by Nowatzki and solid field position out to the 31 for Audubon.
Yeah, Nowatzki stepped right in front of his teammate and ball hogged and took it away, but now I understand why. He let Casper Bauer, a much more powerful guy, get in front. Sean Tilgis, the sophomore, was heading in to make a big tackle, but Casper Bauer just blew him out of the play and set up for that big return.
So here comes Audubon, their big offensive line. McLean, Van Arum, and Meyer up front for Audubon with a couple of tight ends. In the shotgun, Kiergaard by himself. They'll pull the guard. Kiergaard will follow that as he wedges his way forward, trying to grind for a few yards there. Schwab jumps on his back. It'll be a modest 3-yard pickup by the sophomore.
Garrigan still playing it safe. They're not sending any blitz. They're leaving Michael Joyce and the other linebackers just hanging back to make sure that, like you said in the pregame, nothing goes back behind them, trusting their linemen and Ethan Marceau to bring down the running plays.
Hooker is the tight end on the left side. They've got two tight ends of Christensen and Weber over to the right, with Kiergaard in the shotgun and Casper Bauer joining him in the backfield. Kiergaard straight drop back. It's a screen in the middle, caught by Christensen and covered up by Madden Miller. Boy, Kiergaard really drew the rush to him and lobbed it over the head, but Miller was right there in that second wave to make the stop. That play will go for maybe a couple yards.
Boy, Madden Miller had a smart play on the two-point conversion and an equally smart play there. He read that all the way, and he just timed that hit perfectly, leveled the ball carrier as the Bear defense is starting to figure out this Audubon offensive line.
3rd down and 6 from the 34-yard line for Audubon. They'll send trips to the right. Hooker, the single receiver, over to the left as the ball is on the near side hash. At the UNI logo, the snap is taken by Kiergaard, flings it out to the right side on the swing pass. Casper Bauer trying to make a man miss. He runs into Marceau, and he surges forward of a second effort. It depends on the spot. They're marking him 1 yard short as he stepped out of bounds, but some elusive running again by Casper Bauer to set up a 4th down and 1 yard to go.
Boy, Casper Bauer might be the most well-rounded running back Garrigan has seen this year. He's big, he's powerful, and he's got moves. He just shook Tate Furch out of a tackle, and Madden Miller. That's hard to do. Those guys are fantastic open field tacklers. So Casper Bauer really showing his grit here.
The Bishop Garrigan crowd gets on their feet for a 4th down and 1. Ball's at the 39-yard line as Audubon has it right now. Shotgun for Kiergaard. No, it's Wessel in the game to take the direct snap, and a timeout called by Audubon.
Oh, good thing they called the timeout because their left guard flinched, or left tight end, number 62, flinched, but the coach got the tight end. He got the timeout called before the penalty was issued.
Yeah, that's Sullivan McLean, their left guard, who they called the timeout before the false start. So with that timeout, we'll take a quick 30-second timeout as well and come back to the Unidome for the 4th and 1 after this.
High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio, brought to you by these sports boosters.
Dieterine Brothers in Bancroft, farm equipment sales and service.
Al Lobig Marine in Wesley, your authorized Mercury Repower Center dealer.
Johnny's Bar and Grill in Wesley. Come for the food, stay for the fun.
Jumbo's Liquor in Wesley, everything you need for a good time.
Arndorfer Brothers Seed in Bancroft, providing farmers with high performance and strong yields season after season.
Algona Floor Design in downtown Algona. You'll be floored by their selection.
Miller's Bar and Grill, where sip by sip, bite by bite, you'll create memories.
All sponsors of this game broadcast.
Fourth down and 1 for Audubon. They trail Bishop Garrigan 14-8 right now as Audubon has the ball at their own 39-yard line. They'll have Wessel on the shotgun. Wessel takes the snap, looking for blocks, lowers the shoulder, he dives across the line to gain, and he got it. By the narrowest of margins, Wessel sneaks across the 40, and it's a 1st down for Audubon.
Well, like you said, when Ethan Marceau has the ball, low man wins. That time, Marceau wasn't the low man, and the quarterback got through. Marceau came in, tried to snag him from behind, but just enough to get the 1st down. Garrigan changed defenses during that timeout.
And Beanie, how about putting your backup quarterback in to run that 4th and 1 play instead of Kiergaard? Wessel's a great runner himself, but not having Kiergaard on for a 4th and 1. It worked out, but that is a roll of the dice as Kiergaard's back in the ball game. 2 receivers out to the right, motioning out of the slot is Casper Bauer, and a flag before the snap.
Too many guys in the backfield, I believe. They're, you're only allowed to have 3 in the backfield, and they had 4.
They'll call it a false start on Audubon, but either way, it's going to be a 5-yard penalty to back them up to the 36-yard line.
Well, Garrigan's defense is continuing when Audubon comes out with any receivers whatsoever. They're really letting their defense get spread out over the field, really trusting Carter McGregor right there in the middle of the line, leaving huge gaps, trusting Marceau to fill.
Yeah, and that biggest gap is in front of number 11 as they're going to run right to that gap, bouncing it outside. Big gainer for Kiergaard. He's the 30, 25-20. Kiergaard says bye-bye. We are tied with 8:47 left in the second quarter as Kiergaard scampers around the right end, taking that play to the outside and taking it to the house.
Kiergaard showing his breakaway speed, running away from the likes of Michael Joyce, who's got fantastic sprinter speed. Kiergaard showing the track quality right there. Look for him in track season. He's got some high-speed gears right there.
And the playmaking block was by Sullivan McLean. He blew one of the Garrigan ends out of the play, and that opened things wide open for Kiergaard as they'll try now a 2-point conversion.
Well, we saw that big gap right there on the line, and they're doing that formation again. They're leaving a huge gap, so basically the left guard and the tight end have nobody in front of them. the right guard and tight end have no one in front of them.
An unbalanced formation here for Audubon. The furthest right offensive lineman will snap it. Option play out to the right. They want to throw it into the end zone, and it's incomplete. They snapped it to Kiergaard, the quarterback, as he was able to shovel the ball over to Obermeyer, and then Obermeyer tried to throw it, but incomplete. 2-point try, no good, as we stay tied at 14 with 8:47 left in the second quarter. Well, Beanie, this run game of Audubon, though, they are chipping off some big yards against Garrigan here. After that opening turnover, they have settled in, and you can now see the flow of this offense and why they're able to average 67 points per game.
Both teams can clearly run the ball with skill here. This is going to be a great running game matchup. I just don't understand why these teams try to get so cute in their two-point conversions. They both have the ability to use some power and run that football. I don't think either of these coaches is going to want to throw the ball at all unless absolutely necessary, as long as their running games are working.
I'm interested on the Audubon two-point conversions. They're lining up in these unbalanced lines. I didn't have a ton of time to describe it, but you've got everyone lined up on the left side hash. It's actually the furthest right player in the formation to snap the ball. So they lined up everyone to the left, but then they ran it to the right, and that's where the Garrigan pass rush kind of came in. I think you're probably setting up maybe a throwback play to the other side later in the game. But that's one of those things, you kind of show that on film a little bit, and you have a bunch of different wrinkles coming out of it.
You know, one thing Garrigan defense will have to adjust here, 8:47 left till halftime, so they'll have to adjust on the fly, is their movement on defense after the play begins. I'll explain that in a second.
Tied at 14 as Vogt kicks it away. Joyce can return this one. He's at the 2. Returns up the far side of the field to the 10. 15 back to the middle, 20. Joyce trying to get to the edge, 25. And Nowatzki rides him into the sideline, ripping him down by the jersey. But Joyce, a 28-yard return out to the 30-yard line.
Boy, Nowatzki really just likes to grab onto jerseys and just fling the guys down. He's going to get tagged for penalties eventually with horse collaring. Nothing illegal about that, but we've seen him bring down Ethan Marceau and Michael Joyce just by kind of grabbing onto the collar and flinging them down as the Garrigan offense comes out. Good return by Joyce. He had to run about 80 yards to get that 30.
So solid starting field position for Bishop Garrigan. They'll split Cleanse out to the left side with Furch in the shotgun. More shotgun offense here for the Golden Bears, as they'll give to Marceau. Marceau off the right side. He slips on the turf and he falls down. That'll be a 1-yard gain as Sorensen is credited for the tackle.
You know, there's a little bit those molded cleats for Marceau. Those are the same shoes he wears all year. Sometimes he tried to plant the heel there and cut back, but on those shoes, there's only 2, sometimes 4 small little nubs on that back heel. Didn't quite catch there for Marceau. Second down and long. The Bears at least got to get 4 here, set up a manageable third down.
Again, it was Hayden Larson who did a good job of setting the edge on that last play and forcing Marceau to cut back inside, which is where he slipped. McGregor is winged up on the left side. Marceau takes the handoff. He follows Lear. He's hit by Christensen, though, and he is dropped. 1-yard gain by Marceau, but Christensen, the linebacker, knifed in and stopped his momentum rapidly on that play.
Boy, Caden Graves got a good push on that big nose guard. Lear and Schwab got 1 push, but usually those guys can block a couple. It was another numbers game. Not enough blockers for the number of people that Audubon is sending. Lear and Schwab are talking to each other afterwards, trying to figure this out or saying, what the heck is going on? You know, they're used to having more success on that offensive line on second down.
And Bishop Garrigan will call a timeout to try to get things figured out on offense. Tied at 14, 7:33 to go until the half at the Unidome in Cedar Falls and on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
Thank you to these sports club members bringing you this game on Hometown Home Country Radio.
Fidelity Bank and Trust in Bancroft, banking on the community's future.
Burhow and Dornbeer Drainage and Excavation in Wesley. Innovative drainage solutions that return for generations.
Jason Gardner, your Whiffle seed dealer. Plant your independence. Plant Whiffles.
First Plumbing and Heating in Algona, delivering plumbing and heating excellence every time.
Algona Feed Store, home for all your feed needs.
Cook Scrap Iron, home for all your new steel or metal.
All bringing you this game.
Thank you to these sports club members bringing you this game on the radio.
Jagger Associates, North Iowa roofing specialist.
Murphy's Realty and Management, serving Algona and the surrounding area.
Prism Wealth Advisors, your roadmap to financial freedom.
Jake Ingalls Electric, shockingly good service.
Thompson Sewer and Drain, your septic specialist.
Steyer Flooring, home of the Floorinator.
River Road Golf Club, your friends go here.
Sponsoring this broadcast on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
3rd and 7 from the 33-yard line. Bishop Garrigan rolls first out to the right. They throw back left to Rosenmeyer, but he is lassoed along the sideline. Bishop Garrigan does not convert on the 3rd and 7 as that throwback play only garners them 3 yards, and the Golden Bears have a decision, and they're lining up to go for it. 4th down and 4. Don't jump off sides here for Audubon as Garrigan's going tempo here on their own side of the field. They're trying to draw Audubon off sides as Furch is going with a hard count. Audubon not biting, and a whistle on a timeout by Bishop Garrigan. Audubon did not bite on the hard count, Beanie, and that throwback play on the previous play ended up getting stopped by a disciplined Audubon defense.
Good discipline indeed. They are pumped up after holding on that fourth down. These guys have done their homework. Garrigan has gotten 2 teams in the last 2 weeks to jump off sides on that fourth down quick hurry, and those guys were well prepared after seeing that on film not to fall for it. Now, this momentum seems to be switching towards Audubon's side. Garrigan can get it back if they want to continue to go for it on fourth down. I think they just need to play that numbers game. Like you said, Tyler, it's simple. You got to have more blockers than they have tacklers. And right now, Audubon is quite simply just has more tacklers in the area that Garrigan is going to. Garrigan has more success by adding another blocker, using that lead blocker as a fullback. And whether that's going to be Marceau or Carter McGregor or pick a guy, but they need one more blocker in that backfield if they're going to get that running game going.
Well, Bishop Garrigan called the timeout. Beanie, I don't think he called a timeout unless you're going for it. Otherwise, just take the penalty for delay of game and punt it away. But it is fourth down, 4 yards to go from the 36-yard line. And it does appear that Bishop Garrigan is leaving the offense out there.
Yep, Furch is out there. This is when we see the best out of Tate Furch. Tate Furch, the gamer, is very good in these situations. We'll see if he can pull a rabbit out of the hat here.
This is the first huge roll of the dice by Bishop Garrigan. A fourth down inside their own territory. Furch alone in the gun. Bishop Garrigan almost false started there as Furch is going to throw, taking a shot down the seam, looking for Rosemeyer, and he overthrew him incomplete. Bishop Garrigan had a touchdown there, but Furch put too much air on that ball, and they'll turn it over inside their own territory.
Rosemeyer got open right off the jump. He's got good speed. He kind of had a mismatch there. He kind of ran towards the center of the field, but then Furch threw it straight deep. If Rosemeyer had run straight from the get-go, he probably would have been under that ball, but he thought that he needed to run more centered. Just kind of a misplay. Boy, now excellent field position for the Wheelers. Garrigan D's got to step up now.
Yeah, it was blocked well. Furch had all day to throw it, but Garrigan cannot connect on the fourth down and 4, and Audubon starts on the plus side of the field from the Bishop Garrigan 36. Garrigan's going to go with some wide splits here from their defensive ends to try to reel in the quarterback, Aiden Kiergaard. Kiergaard up the middle, being led by Christensen, bumps off a man, gets past the 35-yard line down to the 33, as he'll pick up 3 on that first down run.
After getting blocked hard, Carter McGregor fought off that block and got back in there to make the tackle with Schwab. Fantastic line play by Carter Schwab there, working off the block to make the tackle.
Tied at 14, 7 minutes left in the second quarter here at the Unidome as Audubon is now at the 33-yard line of a second down and 7. Kiergaard will send 2 men out to the left. He's got Casper Bauer in the slot to the left, Hooker wide to the left, and running behind his tight end Christensen. Kiergaard trying to turn the corner to the 30-yard line and hemmed in nicely by Dalton Clens. He'll limit Kiergaard to a 3-yard pickup, and it's third and about 5.
Kiergaard's best skill is reading those Garrigan linebackers. He is just very adept at seeing where Madden Miller and Ethan Marceau are going and just quite frankly just running the other way. And then they get caught up in the good blocking of the offensive line, and then he's able to use those skills to just kind of pick his way up the field.
Third and manageable. We'll actually call it 4 yards as the ball's at the 30. Line to gain is the 26. And Kiergaard alone in the gun. 2 receivers short side of the field to the left with Hooker and Casper Bauer. Now Casper Bauer goes in motion towards the right. Kiergaard reading, looking, trying the middle, picking his way forward, and he didn't get there. He only got 2 yards as Weston Rosemeyer grabbed him down low, and it's 4th and 2 for Audubon.
Great speed by Rosemeyer on the backside defensive end. They pulled 2 guys that time. They pulled 2 of their linemen and headed left, and Rosemeyer just followed them and got there faster and got behind and wrestled the ball carrier around the waist.
So a big 4th down here. Tied at 14. Audubon will go for it at the Bishop Garrigan 28-yard line. Got a whistle here before the play.
It's like an equipment thing. Someone dropped a mouth guard. That official kindly picked it up and gave it to him. Better wash those hands now, buddy.
Ugh. Ball's on the left side hash. Approaching the 6-minute mark of the second quarter as Audubon is ready to go for it. They've got Hooker and Casper Bauer to the left again with Kiergaard in the shotgun. 4-man front for Garrigan as Casper Bauer motions towards the right. And hard count got Garrigan to jump. But were they drawn off sides? I think that's Garrigan moving and giving Audubon a free first down.
I think so, too. It's hard to say. Carter Schwab said he was drawn off, but I didn't see anybody move there. And, yep, the officials, linesmen and the line judge say, yeah, we're going to mark it off.
Yeah, I think they're going to call that on Schwab, but they really could have gotten Rosenmeyer, the other defensive end, as well, as both Garrigan ends bid on that hard count, and it's a free first down for Audubon.
Oh, that's a backbreaker. It was 4th down. Garrigan had themselves in position to stop this drive after giving up good field position. Now they got to refocus all over again.
Yeah, fresh set of downs for Audubon, and their mobile quarterback, Aiden Kiergaard. Ball's on the left side hash. This time a 3-man front for the Garrigan defense as Casper Bauer motions to the right. Kiergaard will follow Casper Bauer as Rosenmeyer got free into the backfield. Kiergaard being stretched to the sideline, and he's dropped for a loss. C.J. McGregor and Ethan Marshall making the tackle, but it was Rosenmeyer getting into the backfield to disrupt that play and string it out wide.
Rosenmeyer and C.J. McGregor slowed him down just enough, but he had to bear with Ethan Marshall landing on top of him. How many times can you have Ethan Marshall flatten you to the ground before it wears on you? And so far the answer has been all Kiergaard. This guy can take a hit. We had the question, can this quarterback from Audubon take these hits from Garrigan? So far, the sophomore has proved absolutely capable of taking these hits.
Yeah, Kiergaard listed at 6 feet, 165 pounds on the roster, as it's Wessel this time taking the direct snap. Picking his way through the middle, past the initial line of scrimmage, still chugging the feet. They've got a rugby scrum at the 20-yard line. It gets pushed to the 19. Physical run that time, but really physical blocking. And it'll be a 3rd down and manageable here. We'll call it 3rd and 6.
That scrum just kept pushing forward for 2 extra yards. I saw Madden Miller try to go in there and maybe get that ball out. I thought we were going to see a ball come shooting out of that rugby scrum like in the actual rugby game, but just a mass of humanity falling to the ground there.
Ethan Marceau eventually at the bottom of the pile to make the tackle there, as you could have credited probably 6 different Golden Bears on that stop. Ball's on the right side hash. Kiergaard back in. 2 receivers split to the left, as now it is a motion here from Casper Bauer. Kiergaard looking to throw against the 3-man rush. Throws over the middle, and it's incomplete. Tate Furch had the coverage on the big 6'5" tight end Brody Weber, and it's 4th down and 6 for Audubon.
Oh, the back judge, I saw him going towards his back pocket. He knew this was a am I not going to have interference here, and he was getting ready, but good coverage there by the Bears. No penalty on that coverage.
Yeah, watching here on the replay, I think that's a good no call. Furch had his hand in between the 4 and 2 on Weber's back, but I don't think he redirected the receiver at all. That's a good play to eat the flag on.
Absolutely. Now 4th down and everything right here.
4th and 6 for Audubon. They're inside the red power red zone at the 19. Kiergaard back to throw. He lobs it near side, and it's picked off. Madden Miller has it. He's to the 25-30. He's got a convoy to the 40. 35-30. Miller rumbling to the 25-yard line. They tried the throwback screen, and Madden Miller sniffed it out again.
Oh, no one gets as pumped up as Madden Miller, and the sidelines are just swarming him. Kiergaard saw him there. He thought, I can throw this over the top of Madden Miller and drop it right into the breadbasket of my guy. But Madden Miller said, no. I'm going to jump up and get that thing. 2 weeks in a row, Madden Miller has used his athleticism to get an interception the QB didn't see coming.
That's the 6'5" tight end Brody Weber that Madden Miller just boxed out. Beanie, we saw earlier in the game, they tried a middle screen that Madden Miller sniffed out beautifully. He has been so disciplined on defense, always in the right spot on those screen passes that Audubon likes to run.
That guy is a tight end at heart. He's a receiver. He wants the ball.
Furch takes the snap from Graves, gives to C.J. McGregor. Dancing his way past the 25-yard line down to the 21. It'll be a 4-yard pickup on 1st down.
Oh, now this is what I like to see. I know it was only pickup before, but here's what I like. I formation, Ethan Marceau, as good as he is as a tailback in the back of the I formation, man, is he a fantastic lead blocker. And now you've got him lead blocking for C.J. McGregor. I love this recipe.
And I will note, Bishop Garrigan is +2 in turnovers right now. Golden Bears did fail on the 4th down, so that's like a turnover, but 2 big forced turnovers as McGregor bends to the left side. He surges forward. He's fighting towards the 1st down sticks. Getting a little push by Schwab as he'll come up 1 yard short. It'll be a 3rd down and 1 from at the 16-yard line.
CJ took a good pop there. All season, the coaching staff for Bishop Garrigan has tried to implore TJ to don't subject yourself to so many big hits by cutting back into them. Pick a direction and go for it. That time he got some good yards before he cut back. Took a big one here. You can tell he felt that one. He's holding that hip.
Yeah, Mason Casper Bauer laid the wood on that tackle. 3rd and 1. Marshall, the fullback, taking it, picking his way forward, steps out of a tackle, and walks past the line to gain. It's a 3-yard pickup for Marceau as Bishop Garrigan gets down to the 13-yard line.
Good blocking up there by Lear, Caden Graves, and Schwab. Boy, we've said that a million times this year, but those 3 guys, guard, center, guard, really getting good push all year, and now they're starting to grind it out.
Tied at 14 with 2:50 left in the first half, but Bishop Garrigan is inside the red zone, moving towards our right. Unbalanced line, run from McGregor, and he's hit in the backfield and dropped by Christensen, who came in untouched once again. They'll say McGregor fell forward back to the line of scrimmage, but it's a no-gainer on the play.
Garrigan puts Lear and Schwab on the same side of the line that time. Everybody's over on the left. It's obvious the ball's going over there, and they give up that guy on the right. Other teams haven't been able to get in the backfield that fast. Excellent play there by Audubon. Christensen showing that speed on the backside.
Christensen came into today of 16.5 tackles for loss, 63.5 total tackles on the season. Here's an end-around run to Joyce. Joyce across the 10-yard line, and he'll get forward for a few yards there and set up a third down and manageable. We'll call it 3rd and 4 for the Golden Bears.
Kiergaard with the tackle, lasted them around the legs. Again, the Garrigan speed guys, McGregor and Joyce, looking to pick their way through. Just turn on the Jets, boys, and don't stop running until someone puts a good hit on you.
1:45 left in the first half. Remember, Audubon gets the ball to start half number 2, so this is an important drive for Bishop Garrigan. 1:39 and ticking. Bishop Garrigan lines up with 3 tight ends. Hand off to Marceau. The lone setback breaks a tackle, surges forward to the 5-yard line, and they'll stack him up right there. Marceau did not make it. 4th and 1 from the 5-yard line for the Golden Bears.
Now, in recent past, this is an automatic quarterback sneak, and Garrigan has had zero problem getting a 4th and 1 first down inside the red zone. But this Audubon line is a different animal that they're dealing with today. These guys are big and have played well.
The Bishop Garrigan crowd rises to their feet, as does the Audubon crowd across from us. I formation again of Furch under center. Takes the snap, he'll sneak it, and the play gets blown dead by a flag. Oh boy.
Oh no, what are they gonna call here? I did not see it. I just was watching. Tate Furch was tapping Caden Graves on the right cheek, and that tells Caden which way he's gonna sneak it. And it doesn't matter because penalty.
Yeah, Bishop Garrigan is walking backwards right now. They're going to get that one on Rosenmeyer. It's a false start, and a 4th and 1 just turned into a 4th and 6.
You know, on those quarterback sneaks, all likelihood is that they go on a silent count. Furch just taps Graves on the butt, and Graves gives him the ball when he's ready, and they just get that initial push from the fire off, but Rosenmeyer jumped it.
Well, this just got a bit more complicated. 4th down and 6 from the 9-yard line. Joyce just off the line to the left, Cleanse to the right, goes in motion. Furch fakes the Cleanse, rolls right, he's gonna run it. Furch to the 5, Furch will go in, it's a touchdown! Tate Furch around the end, and Bishop Garrigan up 20-14 with 40 seconds left in the half.
Wow, gutsy and fantastic play call, but I always like the call on 4th down when you put the ball in Tate Furch's hands. Let him make the decision. I love the jet sweep fake to Cleanse. They had Joyce out on the other side. That got that Audubon defense thinking, who do we cover? We got 2 fast guys on the edge here, and let Furch do it.
Yeah, Audubon had the unblocked end, Hayden Larson, but Furch just outran him to the edge, and then he saw open green turf in front of him into the end zone.
Well, just a great play design. Someone had to follow Cleanse across just in case he got the ball, and then they left a lot of green real estate for Furch.
Big 2-point conversion for Bishop Garrigan. Furch alone in the gun, takes the snap, runs left side, trying to work his way through traffic. He drives the legs and he's in. Tate Furch ran through a brick wall that last yard. He followed Carter McGregor and Ethan Marceau into the end zone, and it's 22-14 Golden Bears.
Great blocking by the Bears. Schwab, Madden Miller, Nate Lear, Rosenmeyer. Boy, those guys got huge push, and of course, Ethan Marceau with a big block. Furch, talk about trusting his teammates. He saw no hole there. He just said, I guess I'm just going to get behind this big wall of black jerseys and hope they push our way into the end zone, because he got hit. They got hit 3 yards deep, and they just plowed forward. Great blocking. That'll pump up the linemen.
Well, Beanie, your chem the key to the game is looking good so far. That's 14 points off of turnovers so far for Bishop Garrigan, who leads 22-14 with 40 seconds left in the half. Audubon does have 2 timeouts, but now you ask Marceau, do you have enough leg to get to the end zone, because you do not want to give up a big return here to Nowatzki.
I mean, boy, that was just huge. 2 weeks in a row, Madden Miller comes up with an interception that has just played huge in these games. Boy, great job. Team, all-around team play by the Bears here. Yeah, those 2 turnovers are big. What could have been a 22-14 deficit without the interception, the Bears take advantage, turn it into a 22-14 lead here with 40 seconds to go. I'm squib kicking this ball, Tyler. We'll see what Marceau does.
And he's going to kick it deep. Look out. It's the Casper Bauer. Takes it to the 8-yard line and angles right. He's across the 15-yard line, and he is hemmed in. Big hit by Carter Sink and Titan Troyer, combining on the tackle at the 16, and Casper Bauer has nowhere to run.
Boy, those two guys, Titan Troyer and Carter Sink, are just fearless in the open field. And someone unwisely let them go because they're little guys. And boy, Titan Troyer, maybe the best open field tackler on the Garrigan team next to Furch. And he is a good one. He's been injured. He's really got that elbow taped up big again. I wonder if that's bothering him a little bit.
Audubon will go trips to the left. As long on the shotgun is Kiergaard. Kiergaard looking to run, trying the right side. He's got blockers in front. He's to the 20, and Marceau does a good job of forcing that plane to the sideline. 6-yard gain, but that could have been a lot more as Marceau just forklifted the blocker right into the running quarterback Kiergaard.
Yeah, Carter McGregor in there on the defensive line. He's a senior. He gives up a lot of weight to everybody he's been being blocked by all season, but especially this Audubon team. He's given up about at least 60 pounds here to the guys he's trying to take on.
All right, you traded 9 seconds for 7 yards right there. That's an okay trade if you're Bishop Garrigan. 2nd down and 3 from the 23-yard line. In the shotgun is Kiergaard. He's got the pulling guard in front, tries the right side again. Kiergaard explodes past the line of scrimmage. He's got the first down, and he got out of bounds. Ripped out by C.J. McGregor. The Audubon crowd screaming for a late hit, but I think McGregor made the contact in the field of play there, as that just looked worse than it was.
Yeah, he made contact, and he had him around the upper part of the jersey and just kind of flung him. He let go, but the momentum of Kiergaard sent him flying, so it looked bad, but it was not bad.
It's a first down. That was the slingshot effect right there. Because, yeah, McGregor stopped touching him when he got past the line, but...
Yeah, and being the wrestler, McGregor knows how to use guys' momentum against him.
That's a good point. The McGregor brothers, both excellent wrestlers. As it'll be shotgun formation, ball on the right side hash. The snap to Kiergaard. He's looking to throw back against the grain. He's got all day to throw. He'll load up and take a deep shot down the field, and it falls incomplete. Tate Furch was in the area almost to pick that off, but Bishop Garrigan had everything covered deep that time.
Boy, the Garrigan defensive line has clearly been instructed to just keep him in front of you. Don't let Kiergaard get past you, because Carter McGregor, Matt Besch, Carter Schwab, they all were resisting the kill instinct to go in and try to get a sack, because they've been told, don't let that guy loose in the open field. Keep him corralled.
That was a long developing play. We only have 19 seconds left in the first half, as Audubon does have 2 timeouts. They're at the 28 right now. As the snap is over Kiergaard's head. He's got to chase it down inside the 10-yard line. Ball still loose. Ball still loose. Matt Besch on top of it. Garrigan recovers. Ball at the 6-yard line. Kiergaard couldn't dive on top of the greased pig beanie, and the Golden Bears take over with 11 seconds left in the half.
Oh, that's the 3rd greased pig we've seen today. Carter Schwab thought, is this happening? He wanted to pick it up and score. But it was Matt Besch that comes sliding in and corrals that ball. Garrigan's got 11 seconds to punch this in.
Kiergaard was just going to dive on top of it and say that's the end of the first half, but the ball took a left turn on him, and he ended up diving on top of nothing but open turf. Now, 11 seconds left, 1 timeout, and Bishop Garrigan can lay a devastating blow here to Audubon after the 3rd Wheeler turnover of the first half.
Well, that's the stuff you just dream about as a defensive lineman. The ball bouncing around on the turf, clock ticking down, a chance for a scoop and score. Good job securing the ball. Kiergaard, yeah, just slipped right out from underneath him. He had Schwab bearing down behind him. Wow, this is a golden opportunity for the Bears. It was 14-14 just a minute ago. Then an interception by the Bears led to a 8-point turnaround, and now a chance to put another 8 on.
Yeah, this is a disastrous sequence for Audubon. You're giving one of the best offenses in the state multiple extra touches with these 3 first-half turnovers. That one was just a snap by Van Arnhem, their junior center, and he just sailed that way over Kiergaard's head. Nothing Kiergaard could do but go chase after the ball, and now you get a couple bites at the apple here. Ball will be spotted at the 6-yard line, and you've got a couple shots to the end zone. We'll see what Garrigan dials up on this one.
Yeah, you maybe have time for 2 plays here. I assume the coaches for Garrigan just called both plays right in a row. I assume they're going to put the ball in Tate Furch's hands on a rollout, get those tight ends and Michael Joyce rolling across the back of the end zone this first time around.
Yeah, while we were talking there, Garrigan used a timeout to set up this play, so no timeouts left for the Golden Bears.
They're going power.
Two players to the right. Furch is rolling. Furch is looking. Reversing field. He's got a man open. It's Madden Miller. Touchdown, Tate Furch to Madden Miller. They threw back against the grain, and nobody covered the Garrigan tight end.
Another beautiful play called by the Bears offensive coordinator. I think that's probably John Kessler coming up with that mischief. Boy, they go power right. It looks like they're just going to try to run student body right and let Tate Furch follow him into the end zone. Madden Miller sneaks out of the pile to get wide open.
Boy, is that a backbreaker for Audubon. Back-to-back touchdowns by Bishop Garrigan to end the first half, off of turnovers by the Wheelers, and now a 2-point try as Garrigan leads 28-14 with 5 seconds left in the half.
Hats off to the linemen for not going downfield on that play, selling the run.
Michael Joyce goes in motion. Furch taking, gives to Joyce. Joyce wants to throw into the end zone. Miller's there. He catches it. 2-point conversion. Michael Joyce shot putting it in there for the 2-point try, and it's 30-14 Bishop Garrigan.
Another great play call. I like that one too. Boy, this has been the Madden Miller quarter. Has an interception this quarter and 8 points of production here. Big time quarter for Madden Miller. What a game for that junior.
What a change in momentum in this game, Beanie. Bishop Garrigan was down 14-8, seemingly not that long ago. And all of a sudden, you rip off 22 straight points to end the half. Now you cover this kickoff, you go to the locker room, and you feel really good about where you're at.
Yeah, those 8 points took 6 seconds of clock here. Garrigan is not known for scoring fast. They're known for their long, methodical, pounding drives. But boy, this really, really puts Audubon in a pinch. I would say, Tyler, the end of the first quarter, all the momentum was on Audubon. They were winning the line of scrimmage on enough plays to give them confidence. They were doing well offensively. And boy, now talk about facing the challenge here as they go into their locker room. Now, Tyler, let's squib kick it. I'm getting nervous watching Casper Bauer every time he goes back there and receives that kick. He's an excellent running back with great power. We saw a fantastic tackle by Troyer on that last one with the help of Carter Sink. But I don't want to play with fire too long on these kickoffs to these good returners.
Well, they've got Gage Meyer in there, so that seems to be the exact purpose for Bishop Garrigan. Number 6 and number 31 do not touch the ball in this play. Gage Meyer, the squib kicker for Bishop Garrigan, is into the football. It's a short kick to the near side and covered up by an up back, but near midfield. That was nice coverage on the play to dive on top of the ball for Audubon by one of their up backs, Sullivan McLean. And now you've got time for one Hail Mary here from the 36-yard line.
Yeah, this is going to be about a 50-yard toss by Kiergaard to the end zone. Garrigan, no doubt, putting in their prevent and defense. They've got Carter McGregor and Schwab are going to be the only guys rushing the QB. Everyone else is going to drop back into deep coverage.
Yeah, Tate Furch, C.J. McGregor, and Michael Joyce are going to be deep. They'll form a great wall in front of the end zone on that Bishop Garrigan side of the defense in this prevent. Out to the right, it's Christensen. In the shotgun, it's Wessel to throw this Hail Mary. Wessel back to throw. He's got a bigger arm, lobbing it towards the goal line. It's going to come up short, and Tate Furch picks it off. He's got room to run to the 15, to the 20, and tracked down from behind by Nowatzki. Tate Furch now holds the record, most interceptions in a single season by a Bishop Garrigan Golden Bear as he picks off the Hail Mary, and the Golden Bears end the first half, leading 30-14.
Wow, good toss there. Better catch. Throw it to the wrong guy. Tate Furch, boy, he wanted to run that one back, but good tackle there as we go into halftime. Whew, what a half, Tyler.
Yeah, can you imagine if Furch has gotten a little more of a return on that? But Golden Bears will take it. They forced 4 Audubon turnovers in the first half, and the Golden Bears will turn those 4 turnovers into 3 touchdowns, leading it 30-14. We will break for a timeout. Your Edward Jones halftime show is coming up next on KLGA and KLGZ.
That's it for the first half of play. Now get set for the Edward Jones halftime show featuring Algona Municipal Utilities. You make the call. And the Murphy Realty and Management first half recap. Your Edward Jones representatives are Bruce Keith, Jerry Sokup, Brady Ross, and Mackenzie Jorgensen.
What does it mean to be rich? Maybe it's less about reaching a magic number and more about discovering the magic in life. Hi, I'm Edward Jones financial advisor Jerry Sokup. Count on me for financial strategies that can help support a life you love, because the key to being rich is knowing what counts. Contact me at 515-295-7766 and let's find your rich. Along with Bruce Keith, Brady Ross, and Mackenzie Jorgensen, we are your local Edward Jones financial advisors. Member SIPC.
We've got more sports boosters making this broadcast possible.
Workman Chiropractic and Massage.
Greenfield Spreading and Sales for all your spreading needs.
West Bend Community Lumber, your local Marvin and Birch dealers.
Dean Meyer Electric. They'll help you look to a brighter future.
Wine and Spirits, locally owned at 111 South Phillip Street in Algona.
Algona Manor Care Center, your home away from home with quality care.
Rothler Electric. Don't be left in the dark. Call 295-7117 today.
Sponsoring this broadcast on Hometown Home Country Radio. High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio. Brought to you by these fine sports boosters.
Miller Construction, proud supporter of area athletes.
Doctors Klepper and Trainers, Family Vision Clinic, Total Family Eye Care in Algona.
Premier Pizza, your locally owned pizza place in Algona.
Algona Municipal Utilities, community owned for community benefit.
Northwest Bank, commitment you can bank on.
Algona Dairy Queen, happy tastes good.
All bringing you this game on Hometown Home Country Radio.
Life changes, then it changes again. At Edward Jones, we believe that when it comes to your financial goals, you can't predict the unexpected, but you can prepare. Challenges such as job loss, change in health, or loss of a loved one can have a big impact on your family's financial security. Hi, I'm Mackenzie Jorgensen, an Edward Jones financial advisor. Let's work together to help make sure you're ready for life's ups and downs. Call us at 515-395-4021 to get started. Together with Brady Ross, Jerry Sokup, and Bruce Keith, we are local Edward Jones financial advisors. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Safe and affordable housing. Those are words we like to hear. And Murphy Realty and Management Incorporated provides just that. With properties in Algona and several surrounding counties, Murphy Realty and Management Incorporated provides safe and affordable apartments at a time when everyone could really use it. They pride themselves as a local entity that aims to help you find exactly what you're looking for. Give them a call at 515-295-2927 or stop in their office located at 208 East State Street in Algona. This institution is an equal housing opportunity provider.
Halftime at the Unidome in Cedar Falls. It's Bishop Garrigan 30 and Audubon 14 here on Hometown and Home Country Radio as the 11-0 Golden Bears lead the 11-0 Audubon Wheelers right now. Again, I'm Tyler Lance alongside Beanie Bodie for our first half recap brought to you by Murphy Realty and Management. And the number one key I'd say to the recap, Audubon has 4 turnovers, Bishop Garrigan has 0. The Wheelers have not played bad at all. They played very even with Bishop Garrigan, but those 4 turnovers have made all the difference in this one. You look at the way the game started, Bishop Garrigan, they do not advance the ball in that first drive. They have to punt it away. Michael Joyce, beautiful confident corner punt to put Audubon inside their 5-yard line. And on the first Audubon play from scrimmage, they fumble the ball. Carter Schwab recovers it, and Bishop Garrigan punches it in for an Ethan Marshall touchdown to start off the scoring. After that, you saw Audubon answer in a pretty big way. They went on a 10-play, 60-yard drive to take the lead 8-6 as Aiden Kiergaard capped it off with a rushing touchdown. Then it was Bishop Garrigan taking the 14-8 lead. Golden Bears respond, 12 plays, 65 yards, another Marceau touchdown, plus a 2-point conversion for the Golden Bears to make it 14-8. Audubon would then tie the game. They embarked on a 5-play, 50-yard drive to knot it up at 14 apiece as the 2-point try was no good. And then we saw the turnovers really come into effect. Audubon forced a turnover on downs by Bishop Garrigan, but the Golden Bears would intercept a pass on Audubon's next possession. Mad Miller rumbling down the sidelines, taking it into the red zone, and Garrigan capping off the drive of a touchdown. Then before the half, a snap over the head of the quarterback, Aiden Kiergaard. Matt Besch recovers inside the red zone. Garrigan scores with limited time remaining in the first half. Just 6 seconds remaining there on the first touchdown pass to Mad Miller, and all of a sudden the Golden Bears blow it open for a 30-14 lead. That's our first half recap. As again, I'm Tyler Lance alongside Beanie Bodie. And again, Beanie, I'm a broken record, but this is what the coaches all talk about. Turnovers, turnovers, turnovers. Audubon has not taken care of the football, and they are paying for it right now, down 30-14.
Well, it's hard to talk about anything else looking at the way this half went, but the first turnover, I think, was the most detrimental to them. They had just stopped the Bears' opening drive, which is hard for teams to do, so they accomplished their goal number 1. Great punt by Michael Joyce. Puts them down inside the 5-yard line. And the last thing they were thinking about happening was a fumble by their excellent QB. But Ethan Marceau got a hand on the ball and knocked it loose. And that turnover just really crushed them. But I'm very impressed with the Audubon Wheelers team to deal with that dilemma and come back and put together some serious momentum. I think the first quarter, by the end of the first quarter, like that momentum was squarely on their side. They were moving the ball well. The linemen for Audubon were having a good push against the Garrigan guys, and they had all that momentum going. But yeah, that interception by Madden Miller was just huge. I think the difference is in the regular season they get away with that because their defense just holds serve and they can take those risks. But the Garrigan offense really made them pay there. No really turnovers that aside from that Marshall one. It was just the Wheelers were shooting themselves in the foot. That snap over the head of their quarterback, and then of course the one at the end of the half, that Hail Mary interception by Furch. You know, that hasn't go away. But let's take away all that. Let's take away all this turnover nonsense. You still have to feel good about the way the Bears are holding their own on the line of scrimmage, the play calling. They've had a couple penalties on procedural, but both teams have really kept their nerves in check. Like, aside from their turnovers, both these teams are really playing their game.
Yeah, they certainly are, Beanie, and I think the first half stats kind of bear that out. Audubon's actually somewhat limited Bishop Garrigan's run game. Golden Bears have rushed 28 times or 116 yards, but you look at the individual totals. Marceau, 15 carries, 51 yards. That's only 3.5 yards per carry. C.J. McGregor has 3 carries for 8 yards. Tate Furch, 9 carries for 51 yards. So it's not huge rushes by the Golden Bears, but again, just kind of working their way down the field. Some timely passes as well by Tate Furch, who's completed 2 of his 3 passes so far for 9 yards and a touchdown. Meanwhile, for Audubon, kind of the same story. Aiden Kiergaard, he's thrown it a few times today. 4 of 7 for 31 yards. No touchdowns and 1 pick. Kiergaard has carried the ball 15 times for 97 yards, has 2 touchdowns, but a big 44-yard run is kind of the outlier there. Besides that 44-yard run, he's had to take some modest gains as well. So I think you're right, Beanie. This is, outside of the turnovers, this looks like a pretty normal football game between 2 pretty evenly matched 11-0 teams.
Yeah, having the lead here is really going to give Garrigan some comfort, especially defensively, because they were getting the ball pushed down the field against their defense. You know, they just want to kind of be a bend but not break against this team. They want to keep Kiergaard in the box. They don't want to let him get out and loose, and that was working. But boy, having this little cushion makes that defensive strategy a lot easier to swallow. Garrigan fans, they're not used to seeing offenses move the ball against the Garrigan defense, which has basically been just stellar this year of holding teams. But they're willing to give up 5 or 6 yards every now and then to this Audubon offense, as long as they don't give up the big play. And that's going to be a lot easier to swallow that strategy for the players when you have a 30-14 lead coming out of halftime. Now, if they can just keep this game in front of them, keep that quarterback corralled, and as you say, take care of the ball, boy, you don't want those turnovers to balance out for sure. Pretty good spot to be in here at halftime, but Garrigan has been down at halftime and come back and win the game. That's what makes sports so interesting. I would love to have a microphone in those locker rooms right now to see what those teams are talking about.
Yeah, you certainly would. And you look more at the stats, we're pretty much even at everything besides turnovers and the score on the board right now as Bishop Garrigan leads 30-14. But total yardage on offense, 125 for Bishop Garrigan, 121 for Audubon. First downs, 10 by Bishop Garrigan, 9 by Audubon so far in this game. Time of possession, 12:26 for Garrigan, 11:34 for Audubon. So again, we are even in just about everything besides the 4 turnovers by Audubon and the 30-14 score that Bishop Garrigan leads by at halftime. That's your first half recap, brought to you by Murphy Realty and Management. We'll take another timeout on your Edward Jones halftime show and come back if you make the call next, brought to you by Algona Municipal Utilities.
Do you see yourself traveling, working part-time, or moving somewhere warmer when you retire? Hi, I'm Bruce Keith, your Edward Jones financial advisor, and I want to help make your retirement goals a reality. Let's talk about where you are, where you want to be, and how we get you there. Together, we can plan for the expected and make sure you're ready for the unexpected. Contact me, Bruce Keith, at 515-295-5173. Together with Jerry Sokup, Mackenzie Jorgensen, and Brady Ross, we are your local Edward Jones financial advisors. Edward Jones, members SIPC.
It's time for You Make the Call as we test your knowledge of the rules. You Make the Call is brought to you by Algona Municipal Utilities, where they are community-owned for community benefit. Our referee this evening is Tom Claude.
A1 is in scrimmage kick formation with his back heel near the end line in the end zone. On a high snap, the potential kicker jumps and is able to keep the ball from going out of the end zone. It falls to the ground and is rolling around 5 yards into the end zone. A1 kicks the ball off the ground and it rolls to the A25 and is bounding around when there is an inadvertent whistle. What option does Team B have? You make the call.
Make the call with AMU Telephone Service. AMU local and long-distance telephone provides the call clarity and reliability you expect at an affordable price. Enhance your AMU telephone service with calling features like caller ID and voicemail. When you switch to AMU telephone, you can keep your 295 phone number and you get friendly local customer service. Make the call to AMU to install AMU telephone. Algona Municipal Utilities, community-owned for community benefit.
Team B has a choice of accepting the penalty for an illegal kick by A, which, if accepted, results in a safety against Team A as a foul occurred in the end zone. If B declines the penalty for an illegal kick, the inadvertent whistle allows for A to replay the down since the ball was not in player possession at the time of the whistle.
And this has been You Make the Call, brought to you by Algona Municipal Utilities, where they are community-owned for community benefit.
You shouldn't need an advanced degree to figure out how to pay for one. Hi, I'm Brady Ross, your Algona Edward Jones financial advisor, and I want to help you understand all the options you have when paying for an education. Whether you're the first in your family to attend college or planning for a grandchild to build on a legacy that goes back generations, let's work together to take care of your unique financial needs. Call me at 515-295-7763 to get started today. Together with Bruce Keith, Jerry Sokup, and Mackenzie Jorgensen, we are your local Edward Jones financial advisors. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
We've got more sports boosters making this broadcast possible.
Worspin Chiropractic and Massage.
Greenfield Spreading and Sales for all your spreading needs.
West Bend Community Lumber, your local Marvin and Birch dealers.
Dean Meyer Electric. They'll help you look to a brighter future.
Wine and Spirits, locally owned at 111 South Phillip Street in Algona.
Algona Manor Care Center, your home away from home with quality care.
Rothler Electric. Don't be left in the dark. Call 295-7117 today.
Sponsoring this broadcast on Hometown Home Country Radio. High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio. Brought to you by these fine sports boosters.
Miller Construction, proud supporter of area athletes.
Doctors Klepper and Trainers, Family Vision Clinic, Total Family Eye Care in Algona.
Premier Pizza, your locally owned pizza place in Algona.
Algona Municipal Utilities, community-owned for community benefit.
Northwest Bank, commitment you can bank on.
Algona Dairy Queen, happy tastes good.
All bringing you this game on Hometown Home Country Radio.
It's time to gobble up the savings at North Iowa Appliance Center. Just about everything in the store is on sale. That means better prices for you on refrigerators, ranges, dishwashers, washers, and dryers. Feast your eyes on a new refrigerator, a dishwasher that will take some work off your plate, or a washer that's ready to give dirty clothes a kick in the pants. Gobble up the savings at North Iowa Appliance Center, Highway 18 East in Algona, where they sell the best and service the rest. Carrying Maytag, KitchenAid, Whirlpool, and Amana.
More sports boosters bringing you this tournament broadcast.
Steinman Insulation and Roofing in Wesley. You can count on them to keep you covered.
The Market. Be happy. Shop the Market.
Wrightsell Excavating, turning soil into progress.
Algona Floor Design. You'll be floored by their selection of flooring.
Exit Realty, finding your dream home.
Sudol Tax and Accounting. Leave the numbers to them. Focus on growing your legacy.
Pizza Ranch. Make it a buffet day at your Algona Pizza Ranch.
All bringing you this broadcast on Hometown Home Country Radio. More sports boosters making this broadcast possible.
Heartland Mutual Insurance, offering a variety of property casualty insurance.
Miller Sports and Service, North Iowa's original Kawasaki dealer.
The Grotto of the Redemption in West Bend, a miracle in stone.
Ruhlman Construction of West Bend. Call 515-320-4902. Specializing in concrete.
Geving Chiropractic, Doctors Geving and Jensen, wishing athletes the best. Stay strong, stay alive.
Countryside Barbecue Sauce, 2 sauces for all seasons.
Emerald's Fine Food and Libations, serving your favorite steaks and seafood, a great salad bar, and more.
All bringing you this game on the radio.
Our Edward Jones halftime report coming to a close as we get ready for the second half in the Unidome on Hometown and Home Country Radio. The score right now, Bishop Garrigan 30 and Audubon 14. The winner in this game will play on Thursday, November 20th against the winner of Gladbrook, Rhinebeck, and Woodbine. That game coming up at 1 o'clock after hours wraps up. Again, I'm Tyler Lance alongside Beanie Bodie. Beanie, the Audubon Wheelers get the football to start the second half. Needless to say, they've got to go down there and score in order to stay in this game against Garrigan, because this Golden Bear offense, they've gotten in rhythm, they've been relentless, and they've capitalized on the Wheeler turnovers.
Yeah, that is a great spot to be in if you're the Audubon Wheelers. They have a chance here to go and get right back in this game. I assume that Garrigan defense has made some adjustments. They really were working on the fly there in that first quarter, second quarter, kind of saved by some turnovers, and Mad Miller had a great interception. But this halftime enabled that defense to go out there and think, how are we going to adjust to Kiergaard, get in the open field? What are we going to do with Marceau and Miller? Those two linebackers have been fantastic, but they're getting bottled up here and there. I bet they move some positioning around to free up that defense, because if the defense can come out right now, Tyler, and get a stop, and that offense goes on what we know Garrigan can do, a big, long, grinding drive, as boring as it is for the listeners, that's what you want Garrigan to do here. Start putting together those big, pounding, brutal drives, and have you call out a lot of Ethan Marceau for 4, Ethan Marceau for 6, and that will take them to the state championship game. Other than that, it's going to be 2 quarters of an absolute fight, because this Audubon Wheelers team, they can hit, and here they come.
They certainly can, and right now, again, it feels like a blowout, 30-14, but remember, this is still just a 2-possession game. Audubon needs 2 touchdowns and 2-point conversions, but the more important thing, they need to summon that defense that last week limited Iowa Valley to 19 points. They've got to stop this Garrigan offense, because if these two teams trade touchdowns throughout the second half, Bishop Garrigan's going to the state championship game. So not only does Audubon need to drive down and score on their opening drive to start the second half, but maybe they force a Garrigan turnover at some point, maybe they get another 4th down stop, but at some point, they're going to have to stop Ethan Marceau in this Garrigan run game.
And that's the kind of game plan Coach Wadley loves. If he can give it to Ethan Marceau, and then every now and again let Tate Furch fake that handoff and go for his brilliant score, that's all Garrigan's favorite things to do. Defensively, though, is what I'm more concerned with. This running back has been fairly bottled up, but Kiergaard, boy, he is a very scary quarterback if you're a defensive coach, because he has got a lot of abilities there as just a sophomore.
Well, Kiergaard and the Audubon offense will get the ball to start the second half. Jorgen Nowatzki back deep to receive, as is Mason Kasperbauer. Remember, Nowatzki has 4 punt return touchdowns this season, although does not yet have a kickoff return touchdown. Garrigan squibbed it away from him at the end of the first half, but right now, Ethan Marceau is in, looking to keep it deep. Ball's at the UNI logo at the 50-yard line on the regular field, and the 30-yard line here at the 8-man field as Marceau kicks right to left on the radio dial. End over end kick. Nowatzki comes up and takes it at the 12-yard line. Returns near side to the 20, picking his way forward to the 25-yard line. Makes a jump cut out to the 27, and a late flag flies in at the very end of the play. Titan Troyer making a stop, as we'll check on the penalty.
Boy, Titan Troyer continues to be standout special teams guy. He would be playing a lot more linebacker if it was different formation, but Titan Troyer is making himself a presence here on these special teams. Fantastic tackle.
And it's a holding penalty against Mason Kasperbauer, so chop off 10 yards from that Audubon return.
Kasperbauer hit Carter Sink initially, who's been also good on special teams, and then just continued the block too long, wrapped his arms around and didn't let Carter get free. Pretty easy call there.
Yeah, it's a bear hug. Kasperbauer's behind Sink there, just grabbing onto that shoulder and not letting go. So routine call there for the officials, and Audubon will instead start at their own 19-yard line. So here comes the Wheeler offense. Like we said, #1 scoring offense in all classes. And they're going to need some big fireworks here in the second half to get back into it. Down 30-14 against Bishop Garrigan. Aiden Kiergaard, the sophomore quarterback, calling out the signals as he's alone on the shotgun right now. Kasperbauer motions into the backfield. As Kiergaard takes it, he reads, works for the middle. He's across the 20-yard line and limited to a 2-yard pickup. Carter Schwab and Weston Rosenmeyer gumming up the middle that time.
Nice job by Weston Rosenmeyer, the left defensive end. He read that play all the way. He shows his speed on offense. That time he showed his speed defensively. Great closing speed from behind, getting to Kiergaard. Of course, doesn't even happen if Les Schwab does a great job over there on the right side, slowing it down. So great team defense there.
Kiergaard's at 99 yards rushing on the day, has that long of 44, but has taken modest gains outside of that, as it's a 2nd down and 8 from the 21-yard line for Audubon. Kiergaard in the gun has Kasperbauer in the backfield. Kasperbauer takes it, has a man leading the way as he chugs across the 25-yard line and gets a forward push just shy of the first down sticks. 7-yard pickup to set up a 3rd down and 1 for Mason Kasperbauer.
Well, that's a fantastic run on the bend but not break defensive strategy for Garrigan. Matt Miller's the defensive end over there. He did a great job of setting the edge and turning the ball carrier in, but they're just getting good blocking downfield there. Garrigan going with the 4-man front. Best just subbed out for Carson Kramer. It's going to be McGregor, Rosemeyer, Kramer, Madden Miller, and Schwab getting big in there.
That pulling guard, Lane Meyer, leading the way for Kasperbauer on the last carry. This time, Kiergaard is alone in the shotgun. One receiver each side of the formation of 2 tight ends in as well. Christensen motions back to the line of scrimmage. Taking it is Kiergaard. He reads, he reverses field, and he's balled up at the line of scrimmage. He did not get there. Carter McGregor makes the stop. No gain, and it's 4th and 1 from the 27-yard line.
Well, I don't know how McGregor got that. That must be his wrestling skills, getting low and getting in there and getting a leg like a takedown. But Ethan Marceau comes from the linebacker spot to finish it off unbelievably. I was just getting ready to criticize that defensive formation thing, and there's such a huge gap there. It's easy pickings for Kiergaard, but Marceau fills the gap from his linebacker spot.
Here we go. 4th down and 1, deep in their own territory for Audubon. Kiergaard takes the snap, surges for the middle, got the 1st down across the 30-yard line. McGregor makes the stop. That is called getting north to south, Beanie, as they fired up the line, and Kiergaard did not dance at all, just went straight up the field.
Well, I kind of feel like that was the game for Audubon right there. If they don't pick that up, they're in big trouble. But Ethan Marceau was blocked by Lane Meyer. Lane Meyer, congratulations. That was maybe the best block I've seen on Ethan Marceau all year. He made that play happen for the Wheelers.
And we have a whistle before the snap as one of the teams called timeout. Bishop Garrigan takes the timeout as that'll be their first time of the half with 9:39 left in the second quarter, in the third quarter, that is.
You know, I like this timeout because whatever strategies they employed there at halftime, they were barely working. Like, they're working enough, and I think that strategy was to continue to let Ethan Marceau try to fill this giant gap they're leaving on their three linemen are leaving these huge gaps. The Wheelers are trying to spread them out really wide, and Marceau's having to cover a lot. I wonder if they might start trying to go back to that 4-man line we saw at the beginning of the game and letting those linebackers roam the field a little more. So I think good timeout there because they definitely saw something they didn't like. And you see Coach Patterson down there right now making adjustments to his defensive alignment.
And this is the dirty work time for the defensive line. You've just got to eat those blocks. And like you said, let Marceau get free, let Madden Miller get free. You occupy those offensive linemen and tight end as much as you can, and then hopefully your linebackers can come in and hold the Audubon Wheelers to 2 or 3 yards per carry.
Yeah, and those guys that are occupying those blocks are Matt Besch right there in the moment, Carter Schwab, Madden Miller, and Rosemeyer. They're going to be the 4 men. They did change back to that 4-person defensive front. We'll see if it pays off, letting Marceau have more room to roam and hit people.
A more condensed formation this time for Audubon with 3 tight ends. Kiergaard in the shotgun of Kasperbauer on his right side. Ball's in the middle of the field at the 32-yard line. Kiergaard fakes the Kasperbauer, reads, and works his way off the right side, breaks a tackle, 35-yard line, and the ball came out late. The ball came out late, and Garrigan has recovered. They poke the ball out again, and Bishop Garrigan's on top of it at the 37-yard line. Turnover number 5 for the Wheelers.
Outstanding guys on the defensive line, fighting off blocks, pushing that play, and making that fumble happen.
Yeah, that ball was punched out by Weston Rosemeyer, who got the right bear paw and ripped it out. That ball never hit the ground. Rosemeyer just ripped it out of the hands of Kiergaard and put it in his own pocket.
He just swiped it, just burgled that ball right away from Kiergaard, who was running into a pile of bears. Great defensive adjustment, good timeout usage by Garrigan. Get that momentum right back to them.
A devastating end to the first drive of the second half for Audubon. First back to throw, wants to take a deep shot down the right sideline. Joyce wide open, makes the grab. He's going for the goal line, and he's in. Touchdown! Garrigan goes for the jugular, and they hit a 38-yard touchdown pass. Tate Furch to Michael Joyce.
Oh, I love it. Love the play call. Let the speedster Joyce see if he can get some separation. It looked like there was some coverage there, but Joyce just turned on the Jets and broken record all season. Perfect ball thrown by the QB, Tate Furch.
He's able to beat Mason Kasperbauer for the touchdown. Michael Joyce's 8th touchdown catch of the season, his 14th in his career. And now Garrigan will line up for a 2-point conversion. The ball spotted down there at the 3-yard line. They will come out in the I formation with Marceau and McGregor in the backfield. Rosenmeyer at tight end alongside Miller. The pitch to Marceau, running to the wide side. Marceau trying to drive the field, lowers the boom, and he drives into the end zone for a 2-point conversion. He was hit at the 3, and he went through a defender to make it 38-14.
Ethan Marceau had no business scoring those 2 points. When he got hit at the 3.5, I'll say it looked like there's no way he's going to get there, and he just plowed his way. Just absolute power by Marceau, using every bit of that 230 pounds.
And that's Aiden Kiergaard taking another hit from Ethan Marceau, but this time on the other side of the football. That is a determination, and Beanie, we saw against John Bosco last week, the Golden Bears did it. They had 2 9-play drives to start the second half, really sort of ground and pound against the Dons. This time, they got greedy. They went for the big chunk, and we knew that deep pass would be there eventually. They missed on one earlier in the game. That time, Tate Furch did not miss his second touchdown throw of the afternoon.
I love the call on that big deep ball. I mean, I want to see Ethan Marceau grinding out those yards and using up clock, but a quick score like that only took 20 seconds. That's a lot of fun, too, as long as you can put points on the board.
Well, I'm already upgrading us to the afternoon. It's actually only 11:38 on the clock as Marceau kicks it away. Taken by Nowatzki at the 8, up to the 15-20. Big hole, 25-30, 35-40. There goes Nowatzki down the sideline. What an answer for Audubon. Nowatzki to the house. A kickoff return touchdown against Bishop Garrigan as Nowatzki runs it back 72 yards, and Audubon still has a pulse.
Just complete erasing the Garrigan momentum. All goes back to Audubon's side. Beautiful blocking by Casper Bauer leads the way for Nowatzki. He didn't have to hit anybody. Garrigan just got split down the seam, and he was gone.
Yeah, nobody laid a single finger on the kick returner that time as Audubon will go for the 2-point try. This is big. You need this 2-point conversion to make it a 2-possession game with 9:17 left in the third quarter.
Tyler, have I said, let's squib kick the ball a couple times this broadcast?
You have, Beanie. Frankly, I'm not sure why number 6 is getting a chance to touch that ball, but they do there as they snap it over Kiergaard's head again. He chases it back to the 20-yard line, trying to pick it up, and Matt Miller's got him in a bear hug. An errant snap again from Van Arnhem, and that will short-circuit the 2-point conversion. It stays a 3-possession game as Garrigan leads 38-20. Beanie, all the small things so far being done right by Bishop Garrigan. The small things have gone against Audubon so far in this game.
Yes, for sure. Now, Tyler, we had a very elaborate you make the call at halftime, but I've got a question. I know the answer to this, I think, but Madden Miller makes a great open field tackle on that botched 2-point conversion. I believe that is unreturnable, even if Madden Miller picks that up and tries to run it the other way.
Yeah, in high school, you're right, that is a dead ball if Miller picks that up.
But even so, let's credit Miller for a 30-yard tackle for loss, I guess. Boy, he ran that broken play down. Miller having a heck of a game here for the Bishop Garrigan Bears.
Yeah, he's caught a touchdown. He's caught a 2-point conversion. Had that big interception return in the first half. And Bishop Garrigan leading Audubon 38-20. So kickoff return touchdown, but the 2-point try does not work, and Vogt will kick it away.
I'm always looking for silver linings, Tyler. And what silver lining is, that'll get the attention of your team right back in case the Bishop Garrigan boys were getting a little too confident getting up 3 scores. This will wake them up real quick.
I'd be a little leery of the onside kick here. Make sure Audubon doesn't surprise you as they do onside kick it. It's down the middle, and it's recovered by Bishop Garrigan. That was a little squibbing ball as Caden Graves lined up as one of the blockers, got on top of that at the 37-yard line.
You know, they may have thought, hey, that's their center in the front line. Let's kick it right at the center. He's probably got terrible hands. But if they really studied, they'd know Caden Graves was a dark horse candidate for tight end this year and has a couple receptions on 2-point conversions. He's on the hands team. He's very good in that front row. Here comes Tate Furch and the Bears here, up 38-20, 9:16 in the third.
Yeah, if you're Audubon, you're hoping for a bad bounce there, but that took a pretty routine hop, just like at a baseball diamond at second base where Graves could handle it. Marceau takes the handoff, trying the left side. He's hit in the backfield, and he is dropped. Christensen penetrating into the backfield that time. Marceau got back to the line of scrimmage for no gain.
Marceau got hit before he really had that ball secured. I thought it might squirt out, and the Bears might get a little bit of the fumble rooski. Boy, Marceau clamped it onto his side and held onto it as he went to the ground. A good thing there, he didn't try to fight for extra yards. I don't think he had that real secured. Christensen has been a bugaboo for that offensive line to get a hold of.
Yeah, Christensen coming from the linebacker spot. They've had a really hard time blocking him so far today. Furch to Marceau again. Marceau, bigger hole right side, runs into a brick wall, though, as he's being pushed back. He got forward for 3 yards, but then a brigade of white jerseys came to stop his forward progress and set up a 3rd down and 7.
Well, that time Nate Lear got a good hit on Christensen, but he fought it off. He's quick, and he fought off that block. I watched him that time. He's just good at a very slippery defender to block.
3rd and 7, just inside of midfield of the Golden Bears. On the silhouette on this field of the state of Iowa that outlines the UNI logo. Ball's at the 39-yard line. As Furch is alone in the shotgun, 2 receivers left, 1 to the right. C.J. McGregor motioning out of the slot. Furch fakes to him, works to the middle. First down Furch, and he'll slide down and avoid a big hit. He had Nowatzki ready to lay the wood, but Furch got down as he got the yards he needed. 8-yard pickup and a chain mover.
Beautiful zone blocking by the Bears. It did not look like that play was there, but good block by Schwab and Caden Graves to kind of seal off their guys. Didn't make a huge gaping hole, just enough for Furch to read, and he did the rest, hitting the hole quickly.
Enough to move the chains. Bishop Garrigan is at Audubon's 31-yard line. 7:40 and ticking left in the 3rd quarter. But the Bears on top by 18 right now.
That QB draw by Furch, Tyler, has been just the answer every time they had a 3rd down and long situation.
Yeah, Furch just gets north and south so quickly when he does that as Marshall runs right side through the line of scrimmage, driving the legs forward and taking Casper Bauer for a little ride. 6-yard pickup, Ethan Marceau, 2nd down and 4, Golden Bears.
Well, that was both teams' best running backs, power versus power, running into each other in the open field. That is some fun football here, and I would love to see more of Garrigan running that ball, picking off that 6-yard gain like Ethan Marceau just had, using that clock as now we're below 7 minutes in the 3rd.
Marceau has 60 yards rushing so far today. His longest run, though, is 9, so he's having to earn some hard-fought physical yards. 2nd down and 4. 6:50 on the clock as Furch has the ball on the right side, hash underneath center. Turns and gives to Marceau. Marceau runs off the left side, drives his way forward. He got maybe 1 or 2 on the play as it was Brody Weber making the tackle, setting up a 3rd down and 2.
Well, Tyler, your good research tells us that not many lines in 8-player football have what Garrigan has. This might be the only team in the state that Garrigan happens to have in the semis that has the linemen that can match. It's been a fun battle to watch, but big test now for the offensive line of Garrigan as Caden Graves comes up and puts his hand on the ball.
Furch is in the shotgun. 2 tight ends. The receiver, Michael Joyce, split out to the left, and Marceau in the backfield. Marceau takes it on the handoff. Through the middle. 1st down. Breaks a tackle. He's to the 15-yard line, and finally ridden down there by Christensen. Even Marceau pinballing around and refusing to go down.
Oh, Coach Wadley is pumped up, and he's telling protect that ball. You see him yelling at his running backs. What a beautiful cutback by Marceau, and a unbelievable block by Schwab. He just drove his guy into Caden Graves' guy, and Lero's holding the fort down, and Marceau read it beautifully. Cut back, picked up the 1st.
Bishop Garrigan inside the Red Power Red Zone, brought to you by your local Red Power team in Bancroft, Corwith, West Bend, and Humboldt. The line of scrimmage is the 15-yard line. Michael Joyce out to the right, shotgun for Furch. He'll run, being led by Marceau. Furch to the 10, chugging the legs down to the 8-yard line, where he is wrapped up right there. They'll mark him back at the 9, but solid pickup, give him 6 on that carry.
Carter Schwab pulled that time. He's really blocking well this drive. He hits Casper Bauer, makes sure he can't come up and make the tackle. And Casper Bauer says, hey, I wasn't going to make the tackle. You have to hit me so hard there. Play is nearly over. Great blocking by the Bears up front.
Yeah, Carter Schwab was just going through that hole, looking for a man to block, and of course, the quarterback Tate Furch could follow right behind him. Same formation, 1 tight end each side for Bishop Garrigan as Furch will operate from the shotgun. Michael Joyce is wide to the left. Furch calling for the ball, gives to Marceau, across the 10, he's to the 5, rumbling forward, and he has the 1st down. Or does he? It is right there, and it actually looks like they're going to mark him a half-yard shy. Marceau needed 4.5, and he got 4.
That time, Caden Graves leading the charge. Boy, this blocking's been impressive after that initial stall. That time, Marceau, full weight, goes on Caden Graves' legs. That didn't feel good for Caden, but he pops back up, and Schwab helps him up, gives him a pat on the helmet. He knows that they're doing their job as linemen here in this drive.
Well, as right the first time, they are indeed going to give Marceau the 1st down. They'll say he just got it. 1st and goal from the 5 as Bishop Garrigan moves towards the left. I formation. Marceau again through the middle, chugging the legs down to the 2. Marceau got hit hard in the hole that time, but he got forward for positive yards.
Good run, but boy, Casper Bauer comes in, lays the wood to Marceau. This has been, without a doubt, the hardest hitting football game the Bears have played, without a doubt, as you watch it on replay. There's some smacking going on down there.
Yeah, I don't see Marceau fall backwards a whole lot, but he did on that play if that hit by Casper Bauer. Usually Marceau was falling forwards.
Well, the Audubon fans, they're clamoring for a turnover there. They're saying Marceau dropped the ball, but the play was well over when the ball came out.
Furch will sneak it, driving the legs, pushing into the end zone, and he scores! A late spin move by Tate Furch got him into that purple end zone, and Bishop Garrigan adds another 6, 44-20.
Well, that is the kind of drive that I was asking for. You got to be happy if you're a Bear fan. It might not be as awesome as the Michael Joyce big touchdown on the deep pass, but that is what you want. They chewed up over 4.5 minutes of clock and 6 points as a reward.
What a drive by Bishop Garrigan as Gage Meyer will kick a PAT. First time we've seen him try a PAT tonight, as he is 37 of 46 on those. Top 5 in the state in made PATs this season. That drive, 10 plays, 42 yards, as Meyer will have the ball come off the foot odd, kicks it into the back of his line as he misfires on the PAT, and the Golden Bears will settle for a 44-20 lead. We'll take a quick timeout. Back to the Unidome after this with 3:35 left in the third on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
More Sports Boosters bringing you this broadcast on Hometown Home Country Radio.
Sportsman's Corner, your power sports headquarters. Can-Am and Honda side-by-sides, ATVs, and motorcycles.
Farmers Cooperative of Odison and Algona, offering Kent show feeds for all your livestock projects.
Capacious Brothers Incorporated, Pioneer Seed.
Flipside in Laverne, open 7 days a week, dine in or carry out.
Advanced Drainage Systems, our reason is water.
Snap-on Tools, the most valued tool storage solutions in the world.
All bringing you this game.
Thank you to these sports boosters bringing you this game on Hometown and Home Country Radio. Algona Hearing Center, better living through better hearing.
Bodie's Moonlight Garden, for all your fall pumpkins, gourds, and squash.
Vanward Trucking of Odison, livestock and flatbed hauling.
Suiday Health and Production.
Carroll Implement of Laverne, serving area farming communities for over 50 years.
All sponsors of this game broadcast.
Gage Meyer into squib kick the football now as Bishop Garrigan does not want Nowatzki touching it again after that 72-yard return earlier. The squib kick, oh boy, got through to Nowatzki, but it bounced over his head inside the 5-yard line, and now Nowatzki's in trouble. Trying to angle to the near side, and he is crushed. Carter Sink drops him at the 4-yard line. What a beautiful squib by Gage Meyer as it bounced over the head of Nowatzki late, and Audubon is pinned back inside their own 5.
Great special teams. Carter Sink and Titan Troyer, they have been the guys tonight that are getting downfield and putting the big hits on the ball returners. Troyer looks a little shaken up today. I don't think he's feeling top notch, but he is making the plays on special teams. Him and Sink have been stellar.
Bishop Garrigan leading 44-20 after a 10-play, 42-yard drive that took 5:41 off the clock. We're down to 3:31 remaining in quarter number 3. Audubon's turned it over 5 times so far today. If you're just tuning in, Casper Bauer fumbles the ball. He's in his own end zone, but he got out. He's to the 5, he's to the 10, and he got the first down out of that as he got the push forward. Tackle made by Matt Besh on the play. They're going to say his forward progress stopped. Knee down just 1 yard shy of the first down. Nearly a disaster for Audubon.
Wow, unreal. Madden Miller almost had him for a safety. He can't believe he missed that tackle. Chance to get a 2-point safety turns into a first down for Audubon because of a missed tackle. That'll be something the coaches, they're always looking for something to be upset about. They'll be upset about the missed tackles a couple times on Casper Bauer, but he is a good running back.
2nd down and 1. They didn't get a great spot there as Casper Bauer, patient running across the 15. He's to the 20. Tripped by Furch. Ball came out, but Casper Bauer was down. That one a little more clear as Casper Bauer was sent head over heels. Got the first down out to the 21.
Yeah, Furch came up and took out his ankles, and he went headlong, and the ball came out when he hit the ground. The ground caused the fumble. One of the rules I always had such a hard time understanding when I was a kid. I thought it's still a fumble, is it not? But the ground
is not.
The ground cannot cause a fumble.
And again, good blocking on that run play as Lane Meyer walked Matt Besh several yards back off the line of scrimmage to help out that run by Casper Bauer. They'll read Kiergaard running right side. Nothing there as Kiergaard is taken into the boundary by C.J. McGregor. He got 1 yard on the play.
That is a misdirection play. It looks, the linemen pull left, and it looks like the ball's going to go left, and then Kiergaard just keeps it back right. Good job by C.J. McGregor to read the ball carrier, stay with that ball. Linemen and the linebackers read the blockers.
We haven't seen Audubon throw the ball in quite a while. You wonder if they've got to take a deep shot here at some point, down 44-20. A 3-possession game right now. 3 touchdowns and 3 2-point conversions is what Audubon trails by. Actually, a couple two-point conversions. There's a run left side. It is taken forward by Kiergaard as he gets across the 25-yard line out to the 28. This will be a third and about 4 for the Wheelers.
We don't sing the praises of Michael Joyce very often on defense. It's usually his flashy offensive skills that get the note, but he really came up from his linebacker spot right there, made a beautiful tackle on Kiergaard, solo tackle. He's the one that calls the plays, defensive captain here in the huddle.
Third down, 4 yards to go for Audubon. They're at the 27. They need the 31. Kasperbauer takes it off the right side. He's got an opening. He's across the 31. He's to the 35, pushing forward to the 38-yard line as C.J. McGregor ushers him into the boundary, but not before Kasperbauer moves the chains again.
Great blocking by their offensive line this series. Carson Kramer and Weston Rosemeyer just got sealed off beautifully by their linemen. Nice hole, good read. That's a good running game right there. Carter McGregor is going to come out and get a breather. They're going to go big. They got Schwab and Moose on the line, along with Madden Miller and Weston Rosemeyer in a 4-line front.
The play calling has changed for Audubon here in the second half as they'll give to Kasperbauer, running across the 40-yard line, breaking a tackle to the 35-yard line, and he's able to carve his way down there for a 6-yard gain. We've seen a lot more running back runs. In the first half, it was a lot of Kiergaard, the quarterback. In the second half, Kasperbauer has taken it. In fact, Kasperbauer only had one designed run in the first half, but he's been the main man here on this drive.
Yeah, boy, they're gonna say coulda, shoulda, woulda when they're looking back at this game field, because their offensive line is doing the job right now. And Kasperbauer, he's been fantastic at both defense and offense. He's getting a break for a moment.
Kiergaard in the shotgun. They will give it to Obermeyer. Obermeyer stacked up in the line of scrimmage and buried under a swarm of black jerseys. Carter Schwab and Madden Miller getting there first. No gain on the play, 3rd and 4.
Another great play by Madden Miller. Took on the blocker and held his ground, didn't get moved an inch, and then fought off the blocker to help make that tackle. Good team tackling there by Garrigan. I did not think Obermiller was going to get the ball because Kasperbauer was out. Now it looks like Kasperbauer is back in the game.
Obermeyer will go out to the right. Christensen to the left of Kiergaard alone in the shotgun. They'll pull the guard. Kiergaard runs, breaks a tackle. He's across the 30, 25, and Madden Miller chases him down at the 23-yard line. First down, Aiden Kiergaard, and Audubon working their way down the field with less than a minute to go in the third quarter.
And this is a flashback to the end of the first quarter. This both teams running the ball at each other, good old smash mouth football until the wheels came off for Audubon and those turnovers. But boy, Garrigan, I want to see them. I know they're ahead 44-20, but I want to see Moose and Schwab and Rosemeyer and Miller get a stop here. Show that offensive line they've got some power here.
19 seconds left in the third quarter. Kiergaard's looking to throw, fires over the middle, and it's knocked down. Carter Schwab was right there, Madden Miller as well on its 2nd down and 10.
Madden Miller got that on his left hand. I see Madden came out. He's got the sleeves on. I know this turf scrapes up a lot of elbows, get a lot of rug burns out there. I see a lot of the Garrigan players came out at halftime saying, "Coach, I'm bleeding all over the place." They got to tape that up. Rosemeyer, Besh all come in with those protectors.
Again, you're right. That was Madden Miller unblocked off the edge to knock that pass down. Schwab was thinking he could have picked that off, but he was engaged in a block of Sullivan McLean. Kiergaard wants to run. He follows Kasperbauer, and he is tripped up. He tried to go over a pile of Garrigan defenders, jumping over Matt Besh, but he will fall forward for only a 3-yard gain inside the 20 to the 19.
Well, I'm really enjoying watching these offense and defensive lines battle it out. Carter Schwab's just having a battle here. Matt Miller, Matt Besh, they're all tripping over each other. Ethan Marceau tripping on it. They're just trying to get to that ball character. It's a fun play.
The Bishop Garrigan half of the crowd rises to their feet as Bishop Garrigan is 12 minutes away from a trip to the state championship game. Golden Bears 44, Audubon Wheelers 20. Fourth quarter coming up next after this on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
We've got more sports boosters making this broadcast possible on Hometown Home Country Radio.
Central Financial Group, where you belong.
Kemco Tires, your Goodyear tire dealer.
Murphy Farm Services, your local Generac and Cummings authorized sales and service center.
AK's Chrome Kitchen, come get you some yum.
Stroman Family Dental, giving you something to smile about.
Bill's Auto and Truck Repair, service is the difference.
High Point Land Company, your destination for land transactions.
All sponsors of this game broadcast.
Where you bank matters. Hi, I'm Sherry Bacon at Security State Bank, and we're relationship bankers. We get to know our customers and understand their financial needs. We're locally owned and operated, which means family, community, and service always comes first. So come to Security State Bank. We'll treat you like family. Security State Bank in Algona, Burt, and Laverne. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Security State Bank.
Thank you to these sports boosters bringing you this game on Hometown Home Country Radio.
Iowa State Bank, helping people succeed.
Algona Livestock, sales every Monday.
Algona Frame and Auto Body, we meet by accident.
Farm and Home Services, view their listings at farmhomeservices.com.
Holmes Animal Clinic, animals large and small, they love them all.
Engineered Farm Drainage, specializing in drainage tile solutions. Visit them on Facebook or engineeredfarmdrainage.com.
All sponsors of this game broadcast.
Heading to the fourth quarter inside the Unidome. I'm Tyler Lance alongside Beanie Bodie. The Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears on top of the Audubon Wheelers, 44-20. But Audubon has driven inside the Red Power red zone, trying to make one last push to get back into this game. So far, the story of this one, the turnovers. 5 turnovers by Audubon, 0 by Bishop Garrigan. That's one of the big differences in this one. But Beanie, this Golden Bear offense, they've gotten drives when they needed to, big plays when they needed it as well. And they've had enough here to get this 24-point lead heading to the fourth.
Oh, I'm sure the coaches will tell you the best thing about this game so far is going into the fourth with this cushion of a lead. Because if it was a nail biter right now, this Audubon Wheelers is a caged animal. They are cornered and they are fighting and battling, trying to get back in this game. Garrigan is fortunate, thankful to be up by 24 points here going into the fourth, because they're knocking on the door from the 19. Garrigan's going with the big defensive line. Schwab, Besch, Miller, and Rosemeyer. Carson Kramer will come in here trying to get some stop here on this Audubon offensive line, who is going everybody. There are no split out receivers when they're running the ball like this.
And the total yardage almost totally even. 205 total yards for Bishop Garrigan, 197 for Audubon. So that's been about the same so far today. But we keep harping on those turnovers. 5 by Audubon. They fumbled on their first drive of the second half on a tremendous play by Weston Rosemeyer to rake the football out from Aiden Kiergaard and put it in his own pocket. And the Golden Bear offense, they have been relentless, getting down the field, scoring touchdown after a couple of non-scoring drives in the first half.
Yeah, one punt today by the Bears. Initially, the opening drive of the game, the Bears were stopped. Michael Joyce had a 52-yard punt, which we haven't seen much of this year, and that's the only time after that the Bear offense has gone to work and done what they need to do, move the ball well.
Yeah, they had one failed fourth down as well, but you got to stop Garrigan more than twice in this game, especially if you turn the ball over 5 times.
No, I believe we're waiting for television. We don't have to say that very often on the radio broadcast in high school 8-player football, but the referee blows the ball ready to play. And here comes Kiergaard in what's almost definitely a designed run.
Matt Besch playing nose guard on this snap for Bishop Garrigan. Kiergaard's going to run to the right, following his pulling guard McLean. He squeezes for a hole to the 15, to the 10, around the corner to the 5, and ushered into the boundary by C.J. McGregor. First down, Aiden Kiergaard as they convert on that third down.
That's a nice play, the beautiful design. That's one that the Garrigan coaches might steal. I think they stole one from Don Bosco last week. If it looks good, steal it. That one's a beautiful play because the 2 guys that are out right are blocking. They pull the guard. They've got just more hats out there blocking than there are hats of tacklers. And a rumble, rumble, rumble.
It's a copycat game. Brody Weber also had a great block on Ethan Marceau on that play as he was fully engaged with Bishop Garrigan's number 11. This time it'll be Carson Wessel, who has 13 rushing touchdowns this season. Was previously the starting quarterback. He'll take the snap and run left side, trying to get past line of scrimmage. He breaks a tackle. He dives to the goal line, and he got in. Bishop Garrigan had that play contained, but a second effort by Wessel got him into the end zone for a 4-yard touchdown scamper.
Well, both these teams just have such good guards. Blocking well that time. The pulling guard kicks Madden Miller out of the play, and he just a beautiful run by the quarterback, cutting inside the blocker. Both these teams just well coached on their ability to read blockers.
For what it's worth, he was close to being down there at the half-yard line, but they will give that to him. Over the way Audubon was running the ball that drive, though, I would imagine being down at the half-yard line wouldn't have mattered so much.
I think they were scoring. It would have just taken them a little bit longer.
2-point conversion. Kiergaard spins 360. It's a trickeration as he gives to Hooker, coming around the end, and Hooker's going in. 2-point conversion for Audubon. Little razzle-dazzle of 2 men in the backfield. 360 spin and a handoff to the receiver coming around the end. That's a lot of effort for 2 points, but it makes it 44-28.
That is a lot of razzle-dazzle, but all that motion in the backfield is just to get more blockers over on the scene of the crime, and that is working really well for them. Their play design, just putting more blockers in the vicinity, and that's what you got to do if you're going to have your quarterback running the ball. Use everybody else to block. We see that a lot in 8-player football, Tyler, all the teams we watch. they usually put their best athlete at the QB position and try to get everyone else just blocking for that person and letting them run wild. That's what Garrigan's offense has got, a kind of a little edge on a lot of other offenses. They're very balanced. They've got the running backs, they've got the QB, they've got the QB that can throw, and they got receivers, they got tight ends. And that depth for Garrigan and their ability to score in multiple ways is really paying off in this game.
And Beanie, I think Audubon's starting to realize you can't just run Kiergaard play after play the entire game, as he has 23 carries so far, but again, we've seen more Casper Bauer carries here in the second half. I think they realized, hey, Kiergaard has taken a bunch of hits from this Garrigan defense in the first half, and like you said, you put that best athlete at quarterback, but that also means best athlete's going to have to take a lot of punches from the Garrigan linebackers, so I think they're trying to share the load a little more now, as this could be a potential onside kick again. Garrigan has 7 of the 8 guys up in between the 40 and 35-yard lines, anticipating an onside kick by Vogt. Vogt approaches the football, and he's going to kick it deep. That is over the head of Dalton Clenz, and that one is into the end zone for a touchback. So no onside kick that time. Bishop Garrigan starts at the 15-yard line, 11:48 on the clock, and a 44-28 Golden Bear lead.
Well, that lead has shrunk a little bit, but the plan stays the same. I'm sure, if possible, Garrigan's going to run that football and all direction to the running backs to keep that ball wrapped up. Nothing new. You never aren't supposed to keep that ball protected, but now more than ever, with 11:48 to go until the state championship, if they can hold this lead, got to protect that football.
Speaking of running, Tate Furch has 67 rushing yards today. That means he's the first quarterback in Bishop Garrigan history to have both 1,000 rushing and 1,000 passing yards in the same season. Garrigan comes out with Ethan Marceau as the lone setback. Marceau takes the handoff, bends it off the right side, drives the legs forward, and he'll get a hard-fought 3.5 yards, toppled over by Casper Bauer and Christensen on the carry.
Boy, good team tackling there by Audubon, flowing to the ball. Nate Lear blocked his heart out there, but he was blocking 2 guys. They ended up pushing him right into Marceau. The Garrigan is really going to have to earn any yards if they want to put together a good running drive here.
Sets up a 2nd down and 6 from the 19-yard line at the official spot as Bishop Garrigan travels from left to right on the radio dial. Big defensive drive here for Audubon to try to get off the field as Michael Joyce splits out to the left. That's the wide side of the field as the ball's on the right side hash. Furch will follow Marceau. He's across the 20-yard line. He chugs the legs forward to the 22-yard line. Had the 225-pound end Hayden Larson jumping on his back and limiting that carry to set up a 3rd down and 4.
Yeah, this is where Furch really shows his running ability, just on the piggyback of him becoming the first 1,000-yard rusher, 1,000-yard passer. Those 1,000 yards rushing were not all gimme ones where he fakes it and runs for 80 yards like he did last week. But this, his ability to function as a running back here is very important.
3rd down. Ball's at the 22-yard line. The give to Marceau. Follows McGregor. Has the 1st down as he surges forward. Big hit there at the end as Marceau and Casper Bauer meet once again. But it's a 1st down pickup by the Bishop Garrigan senior.
I just love it. I am really going to miss Ethan Marceau. I just love watching him hit that gap and taking on the other team's best tackler, Casper Bauer, biggest hitter, and just winning that battle. And sure, Casper Bauer got him down, but he had to absorb a massive assault from Ethan Marceau running that ball for the 1st down.
Yeah, that was a pretty good stick by their safety, Casper Bauer. I've got to give him credit. One-on-one tackle against Marceau is not easy, as it's 1st down and 10. Fresh set of downs for the Golden Bears. Furch gives to Marceau off the right side, 30-yard line, moving the legs, 35, driving the pile out to the 38-yard line. 12-yard pickup by Ethan Marceau, taking defenders with him.
I think that last 1st down that Marceau got, where he had that big hit with Casper Bauer, I think that defense just said, I've had enough. And now we're going to see what we've seen the last couple times I've been to the Dome. In the second half, the Bears offense really wears down that defense and gets them to that breaking point.
Well, the big key on that play, they moved the 280-pound defensive tackle, Isaac Sorensen, out of the play. Great block by Nate Lear to dislodge that defensive tackle and clear the way for Marceau. I formation once again for Bishop Garrigan. It's more of an unbalanced eye here of Graves snapping from the right side. Marceau will try to run behind the right side as he piles his way forward. Not much there. We'll give him 2 as Kiergaard was first there on the tackle.
Yeah, McGregor tried to do his job and get in there and block, but just too many bodies. He got swallowed up. That play happened fast. Now let's see C.J. McGregor coming in for his brother Carter McGregor. That usually means Marceau goes to fullback, and we see the I formation, my favorite formation. But, Tyler, I wouldn't put it past Coach Kesselring and Coach Wiley to take a deep shot here.
Ball is just past midfield. Bishop Garrigan has it at the Audubon 39-yard line of a 2nd down and 8. They will come out in an unbalanced I formation. Marshall the fullback, McGregor the tailback. CJ McGregor gets a tote. He gets to the outside. He has some space. 35-30, 25-20. McGregor taking it into the boundary, and there's a late flag. That looked like a horse collar to me. Casper Bauer made the stop, but McGregor rips off a big gain with potential extra yardage at the end.
I think he caught a face mask, and Casper Bauer and McGregor, they go talk to each other, and I could clearly see from way back here, Casper Bauer apologized. He didn't mean to snag that face mask, and CJ says, hey, no problem. We're going to keep winning this game.
Well, ball's at the 20. This will be half the distance to the goal penalty once they officially announce it. And that's one where you might just have to do the face mask. Otherwise, McGregor might just go in for the touchdown. You've got to get him to the boundary somehow.
Don't you love to see that sportsmanship, though? Those guys coming over, you know, saying, hey, I didn't mean nothing by that. It was just part of the football game. And
again, good blocking on the edge by Bishop Garrigan. One missed tackle on the play for Audubon. And then it was an attempted stiff arm by McGregor, and that's when Casper Bauer's hands got inside of his face mask to rip him down.
Yeah, that'll scare any parent, though, watching that in slow-mo, watching their son's neck get twisted around by their face mask.
That's the negative of this big Unidome scoreboard. When your son takes a big hit, it is broadcasted there large for the world to see. 8:52 left in the fourth quarter, 44-28 Bishop Garrigan. They're in the red power red zone, first and goal from the 9. Marshall from the fullback spot works to the middle, and he is met by several defenders as he's pulled back by Weber. 2-yard pickup for Marceau as he has to settle for just a couple.
Garrigan going with the 2 tight ends, Madden Miller and Weston Rosemar. That time they ran to Weston Rosemar's side, and he's given up some weight to the fellas he's trying to block all day. He tried his best to get underneath and hold off that defensive end over there, but a great job by Brody Weber. He's been good today. He's 6'5", 210. I don't think we've said enough tonight how big these guys are on the defensive front for Audubon.
I formation again. Bishop Garrigan trying to impose their will inside the 10-yard line. Second and goal from the 7. Play clock running down and a flag before the play. I don't think Garrigan got it off in time. But it's going to be a pre-snap penalty on Bishop Garrigan either way.
Well, Bob on the clock, 8:08 left to go till the end of the game, 44-28. You never say never, but it seems like the Bears are in pretty good shape here, knocking on the door of yet another score.
Yeah, you punch this one in, and it's going to be hard for Audubon to come back. They just have not stopped this Bishop Garrigan offense in the second half from moving down the field and scoring. Man, how many times have we said that at the Unidome, Beatty, that Bishop Garrigan's offense takes over in the second half, they march down the field and they score, and they wear down teams. Even though Audubon, they rotate things where their defensive linemen only play defensive line, their offensive linemen only play offensive line, but Garrigan has still mashed their way down the field so far.
Yeah, incredible blocking, breaking the will of the defense.
Second and goal, it's CJ McGregor through the middle. McGregor moving the legs, and he's stopped right at the doorstep. Inside the one as they bend him backwards right there. He got just shy of the goal line.
I don't think you can get closer to the goal line than CJ McGregor did just there. He's got, I think he has almost a touchdown in every game trying to keep it alive.
Isaac Sorensen and Brody Weber combining on the stop. CJ McGregor does have 11 rushing touchdowns this season for Bishop Garrigan.
Great call by the officials, but he really could not get any closer to the goal line there.
Marceau will line up as the fullback. McGregor as the tailback with Furch under center. Unbalanced formation again. Furch will sneak it, tunneling his way into the end zone, and he got there for the touchdown. It's a 50-burger at the Unidome. Bishop Garrigan 50, Audubon 28 with 7:03 remaining.
Oh, I see some kids down there saying, I'm going to go check out the concession stand now. I think I have a little breathing room as people start to head for the stands.
Well, Beanie, speaking of concessions, you brought some great energy today. Is it coffee? How did you get up so early and get ready to go for this broadcast?
Tyler, when you're as old as me, it's all about chemicals, chemicals, chemicals. And the number one chemical, coffee. I won't tell you what the number 2 chemical is.
We'll let the folks at home fill in the blanks there.
You're a young guy, so you probably want me to run down there and get you one of those big, giant cotton candies I see the vendors.
2-point try, Furch throwing, end zone. It's Miller again, and he makes the grab. Furch boots out to the right, throws it to Mad Miller, pitch and catch, 52-28. Well, it doesn't sound so bad. I ate breakfast before I came here, Beanie, but they've got all these advertisements for food inside the Unidome. Of course, with this being a college field, you can see a lot more advertisements than you do at the high school field. So you're seeing some food advertisements. They're playing them on the scoreboard. We'll be chowing down after the game. How about that?
Yeah, who's buying is the big question we'll find out later. But
they don't make station credit cards for nothing, Beanie.
Well, I neglected to tell you that my son goes to UNI, and so yeah, he'll be getting on that credit card tab as well. Don't tell the boss.
She's already mad at us for that intro before the game. How much more angry could we make her? You know, that's the big question here in this one that's left.
Well, she'll be pleased that she gets to send you on another road trip next year, because barring an incredible miracle, the Bears up 52-28, 7:03 left to go in the fourth. It's looking like another championship game heading the way of the Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears.
So Golden Bears in command right now, 7:03 left. You look at the scoring margin this season. They came into the game having outscored their opponents 627-100. They've continued to pile onto that total with today's matchup. And you forget, early in this game, Garrigan actually trailed. This is only the second game this season that they've been behind by any point, but it was that first score by Audubon to make it 8-6. After that, Garrigan retook the lead. Even though Audubon tied it early on in the game, Garrigan has not trailed again since that first Audubon touchdown. Squib kick, loose on the field. Titans Warriors got it. Oh, it hit one of the upbacks. Everything going Garrigan's way. Sullivan, or check that, it wasn't Sullivan McLean, but Hayden Larson, rather, couldn't squeeze the squib kick. It bounced off him to the middle of the field, and Titan Warrior just outruns everyone to the ball. Not a turnover, but that's essentially like an onside kick, as Larson just couldn't scoop up that bouncing ground ball.
Boy, Titan Troyer is the new Isaac DeLange. He's just everywhere on special teams. We always have a special teams guy. Titan Troyer just earned it right there. But I don't know why more teams don't do that in lieu of an onside kick. Kick a hard ball, a squib kick right at the up guys, and it just ricocheted right off his leg. And then Titan right on the scene. And now here goes the Garrigan offense. Once again, starters on the scene. Furch comes up behind Graves.
McGregor winged up to the left side. It's play action. Furch taking a deep shot. Oh, they lost Rosenmeyer. Massive breakdown. Touchdown, Bishop Garrigan. 33 yards. And that should be enough to send Bishop Garrigan to the state title game. Start making those plans, folks. 58-28 to 6:54 left. Once again, the Golden Bears blow the top off the defense.
That was just cherry picking right there. Bears are all set up to run the clock. Marceau in the backfield. Figure it's going to be a grind it out to Marceau. And of course, the defense isn't going to pay any attention to Rosemeyer, who's been blocking all night. And he just squirts free from his tight end spot. Nobody went with him. You can't get any more wide open. That was a breakout dunk.
And that's a one-man route. Rosemeyer was the only receiver available down the field as they will try for a two-point conversion, and Bishop Garrigan shifted there trying to get set. That'll be a false start as Carter McGregor was the guilty party that time.
Well, they got to give something for the coaches to yell at him about after the game, and that's what's going to happen there. That two-point conversion was blown before the play just on movement. Will they bring in Gage Meyer, let him try to redeem himself with a PAT kick? Nope, they're going to bring in Dalton Cleanse. And we've seen this play. If Dalton Cleanse is any indication, they like to send Dalton Cleanse on a little route. He's very speedy. He does a little out route into the corner of the end zone.
Well, Beanie, I've got some bad news here to tell you after this play, so we'll hang out here for that.
Well, the good news is the Bears are winning 58-28, so I've already got the good news. I guess I'll take the bad news second. So Michael Joyce and Dalton Cleanse in right behind each other, setting up a bit of a pick play here on the outside. This will be an interesting one.
Yeah, it's a longer range two-point conversion. Now from the 8-yard line. Just announcing here in the PA that they are replaying the down after the false start by Bishop Garrigan.
Now Nate Lear checking the play with Furch.
So Furch has Marceau in the shotgun. Cleanse and Joyce to the right. Back to throws Furch, looking, lobbing near side Marceau. Oh, Marceau got free and he's in. Two-point conversion, Bishop Garrigan. Audubon actually covered up Joyce and Cleanse really well that time, but Marceau snuck out of the backfield, and it's 60-28.
And check out the hands on Ethan Marceau. We talk about him as a battering ram. We talk about him as the brute force. But that guy's an athlete. He's very skillful. He's got good hands as well. He hauled in that pass. Good touch by Furch, good catch by Marceau.
Art Beanie, the bad news I've been saving since the start of that play. Our boss has caught on to the act. We've gotten a text that the station credit card has been turned off unless you want to buy some cotton candy, but our boss has heard from us and does not want us running up a big food deficit here on the station credit card. She's going to shut us down.
This is terrible news because that means my wife could also shut off the credit card. I didn't know credit cards could be shut off.
Don't give her any ideas, Beanie. Maybe too late for that if she's tuned in this morning.
Well, we got 6:54 left to go in the state semifinals game. Garrigan put up 60 points. Coach Wadley, over the years, does not like to run up the score in games when he has the chance. But I think if you get to the state semifinals, he maybe bends his rule a little bit because you've earned your way here, and we'll see if he pulls any starters or not. But looks like the regular special teams is back out there. They got all the speedsters on the kick cover team at this point. There's the only size on that kick cover team. Boy, they're all small, fast guys on Garrigan's kick cover. That's a good strategy, I guess.
And Gage Meyer is going to come in and likely squib kick the ball here, so squib it down the middle of the field. It got through to Nowatzki at the 15-yard line, up the middle to the 20, 25, 30. Nowatzki, a good run back, all the way out to the 35-yard line. And Carter Sink first on the scene for Bishop Garrigan. Joining him down the field for the Golden Bears as well on the tackle was Sean Tilgis.
Good tackle by Sink. I think if now Nowatzki did not see him coming from the side, if he just would have ran right in the middle, I think he would have scored his second return of the game. So good job for Carter Sink sneaking up from the side. Keep blindsiding him, keeping that from happening.
So Audubon has the football back, but Bishop Garrigan has removed all doubt in this one, 60-28 with 6:48 left in the ball game. Kiergaard taking the snap and giving to Casper Bauer, trying to bounce to the outside. A stiff arm on Miller. Miller hangs on by the jersey, and he wrangles him after a modest gain of 2 yards. Boy, was that a war, Beanie.
That was a war. Miller showing great speed, just dancing with him side to side. Casper Bauer is a sensational player. Well, you know, we could say it for all these guys. This Audubon team, looking at their size, looking at their speed, it is completely understandable how they got here. This is a good quality football team.
Yeah, they have the goods, but unfortunately the 5 turnovers today and then the inability to stop the Bishop Garrigan offense in the second half as Casper Bauer runs right side, shifts through the line of scrimmage, jumps across the 40-yard line, and gets down to the 37. Solid pickup to set up a 3rd down and about 2 yards to go.
Ethan Marshall tripped him up with his left arm. Otherwise, Casper Bauer might have taken that to the house, or at the very least made Tate Furch and C.J. McGregor come up from their safety spots and take a hit.
3rd down and 2 from the 37-yard line. 5:52 left in this one. It's Casper Bauer again. Patient run and a big face mask that you could see from up here. Boy, that was a handful of face masks as Matt Miller rips the head of Casper Bauer down. He is all right, but that is going to be one of the 15-yard variety against Garrigan.
Yeah, Miller's over there talking to Coach Wadley right now because Miller, he's been getting blown up all night by pulling guards. This Audubon team is always pulling their guards and hitting the defensive end, and that's Matt Miller. So he's been getting brutalized all night. That time he got popped, and he tried to make a play with his left hand only and just snagged nothing but face mask. That's a dangerous play. Boy, that's going to march off the 15, and just like that, Audubon's knocking on the door. Mind you, against the Bishop Garrigan starting defense, who has taken their licks. They're looking a little battered right now. C.J. McGregor, Weston Rosemar are limping around a little bit. It's been a brutal game.
This is actually the most points Bishop Garrigan's allowed in a game this season, as dancing in the backfield and going nowhere is Obermeyer. Ethan Marceau jumps on top of his back, and Obermeyer falls for a 1-yard loss.
Weston Rosemar over there setting the edge. If you're defensive end for Garrigan, you probably hear set the edge about 1,500 times during the football season as the coaches just implore you, if you just get that edge set, you realize we have Ethan Marceau coming up to help tackle that guy when you turn him in.
2nd down and 11. Back to throw Kiergaard over the middle, has a man wide open. Christensen, he's to the 10, he's to the 8, held up by Michael Joyce right there as the brigade arrives. Tate Furch and Carter Schwab helping out on the tackle as well, but that'll be a stick-moving completion to Christensen, who is slow to get up after the play.
Boy, that ball got tipped at the line of scrimmage by one of the defenders. I think it's probably Carter Schwab. No, it was Miller. Miller tipped it a little bit, but it still went right through his hand into the reception. All right, ball at the 9. Now we're down to 5 minutes left in the game. Everyone's starting to make their plans for lunch.
2nd deflected pass of the game by Matt Miller. 1st and goal from the 9-yard line. At the ball on the left side hash for Audubon. Kiergaard in the shotgun. Fakes to Casper Bauer, tries to follow him around the right end, and hog-tying him there is Carter McGregor. Got him around the ankles as it's only going to be a 2-yard pickup by Kiergaard. So 2nd and goal now from the 7-yard line with 4:31 left in this one. Don't forget to stick around for our opening and void player of the game once this one wraps up. And of course, we won't be broadcasting it, but there will be another 8-man semifinal after this of Gladbrook-Rhinebeck taking on Woodbine. Casper Bauer running left, trouble in the backfield, dancing around, and he's dropped for a loss. Carter Schwab eventually stops him for a 1-yard loss with 4:11 left in the fourth quarter.
You know, that time Ethan Marceau, I think, just took it upon himself. Garrigan has played it straight the whole game, meaning their defense has not blitzed, they've not stunted. They've just had everyone do their jobs and stay home, and it's worked. The bend but don't break philosophy. By that time, Ethan Marceau said, you know what, I'm just hitting the gap, and it worked. He got in there and stopped. Garrigan didn't have to do that today, but they could.
Kiergaard working from empty formation. He's across the 5-yard line, chucking the legs down to the 4 and to the 3-yard line as he runs into a thicket of defenders. Carter Schwab got him around the ankles, and it'll be 4th and goal from the 3-yard line.
Everybody untangling, just a pile of bodies down there. Carter Schwab last up. Ethan Marceau helping up their guy that just got tackled. It has just been a really rough and tumble game here on those trenches. Both linemen, both teams, all the linemen on both teams deserve some great credit for a heck of a sporting day here.
Bishop Garrigan up 60-28. 4th down and goal from the 3-yard line for the Wheelers as the defense of Bishop Garrigan tries to make a last stand and pretty much put a seal on this one. Kiergaard is in the shotgun. He wants to run up the middle, has a big hole, and he powers forward into the end zone for a touchdown. He absorbed a hit by Michael Joyce right at the goal line, and Kiergaard takes it in for a Wheeler touchdown to make it 60-34.
Boy, this is a great running game for Audubon. They're getting up. There's a lot of guys limping out there, holding body parts. Everyone's going home bruised today after this big battle.
So the Wheelers will try to tack on the 2-point conversion with 3:02 left in this one. That is Kiergaard's 3rd rushing touchdown of the game. Kiergaard has 151 yards on the ground, which sounds like a lot, but it's not uncommon to see him well over 200 or even 300 in some of the other games this season for the Wheelers. Kiergaard looking to pitch it out to the right side. Kasserbauer throws into the end zone. It's tipped, but it's caught. Deflected pass caught by Larson on the 2-point try to make it 60-36, that is, with 3:02 left in the fourth quarter. We'll break for another timeout. Back to the Unidome after this as Bishop Garrigan leads 60-36 on KLGA and KLGZ.
We've got more sports club members making this broadcast possible on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
Schumacher Well and Water Care. You never know the value of water until the well runs dry.
Lance and Tracy Ludwig, your Channel C dealers in Wesley.
Triple W Livestock of Wesley.
Goshi Custom Cabinets. They'll meet all of your kitchen, countertop, and cabinet needs.
Grand Jeanette Jewelry in Algona. Think inside the box.
Sponsoring this broadcast on Hometown and Home Country Radio. Thank you to these sports club members bringing you this game on Hometown Home Country Radio.
Fidelity Bank and Trust in Bancroft, banking on the community's future.
Burhow and Dornbeer Drainage and Excavation in Wesley. Innovative drainage solutions that return for generations.
Jason Gardner, your Whiffle seed dealer. Plant your independence. Plant Whiffles.
First Plumbing and Heating in Algona, delivering plumbing and heating excellence every time.
Algona Feed Store, home for all your feed needs.
Cook Scrap Iron, home for all your new steel or metal.
All bringing you this game.
Bishop Garrigan 60, Audubon 36 in the state semifinal round. Vogt, the left-footed kicker of Audubon, will potentially try to kick an onside kick here as Garrigan at least thinks that he will. Here's the approach by Vogt. And he's going to pooch it near side of the field at the 20-yard line, bounces to the 15, and Clens picks it up. And Clens will take a knee right there at the 16-yard line. They tried to kick it away to the green grass part of the field and see if the Audubon coverage guys could win the foot race, but they could not as Clens got there first. And Bishop Garrigan has the ball back with 3 minutes left and a 60-36 lead.
Starting offense back to the field. The 2 tight end running formation, no doubt, will get out there. Last time they sold run and then threw a easy pick and touchdowns to Weston Rosemeyer, who was wide open. But I think at this point, they are just going to hand the ball off to Marceau.
Yeah, Bishop Garrigan, all they need to do is pass the next 3 minutes, and they will head on to the state championship game as Marceau runs up the left side. He twists his way forward across the 20-yard line, and he's able to get about 5 yards on that pickup. 2nd down and 5 with under 3 minutes remaining.
Well, Garrigan's just got to run 1 first down, really. Should get this clock below to the point where we can all take a big sigh of relief and this team can pat themselves on the back, because it has been a long year for these guys after the loss in the semifinals last year. I know a lot of these boys, especially Furch and Marceau and some of those seniors, were just haunted by that semifinal loss last year.
Yeah, they were haunted by that last year, and a totally different result this season as the handoff goes to Marceau. Marceau lowering the legs, driving forward. As he's close to the first down sticks, he got forward to set up a 3rd and 1. Hayden Larson absorbed that Marceau hit and made the tackle as Marceau is over 100 yards on the day.
Boy, there's a lot of bodies getting up on those offense and defensive lines that are hurting for certain as they call a timeout here. I think they might try to clear some benches, get some of these guys in pain off the field, but it becomes a I'm not going to pull my starters and you'll pull yours kind of deal. We see a lot in basketball. We're seeing the football version of that right now. I don't think Coach Wiley is going to let Marceau quit battering them until they throw in the towel and get their big hitters out.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think usually it's on the team that's behind to wave the white flag, and that's exactly right. Garrigan will say, when you wave the white flag, we'll put it in our backups, basically. But until then, it's Marceau up the middle until this game comes to an end.
Yeah, but hats off to that Audubon team. Very sportsmanlike. You know, sometimes when things are blowouts like this, 60-36, although this game, takeaways and turnovers could be different, sometimes people get flustered. I mean, this Audubon team, you know, this is their dream season coming to a close here, and sometimes teenagers get angry, but these guys are still helping each other up, patting each other on the back, and playing to the finish in a sportsmanlike way.
3rd down and 1. It's a sneak by Furch, and he will get it easily as he grinds his way out to the 27-yard line, and Bishop Garrigan moves the chains. When you look at Audubon, they've had a lot of success in the 8-man class. They've been playing 8-man football since 2016. They've been to the playoffs all but one season. They've been to the Unidome recently, 2021 and 2019. That 2019 season, they were a state runner-up against Don Bosco, and they've never won a state title, and this year will not be the year either. But, you know, you can see they just continue to knock on the door, and, you know, they just run into the buzzsaw of Bishop Garrigan this morning.
They just bring in number 76, Jesus Zaniga, Jesus, let's say, 200-pound senior coming in to play the last couple games. That's always fun to see those guys get those seniors on the field. And Garrigan, likewise, they put in Lucas Bahanik and Kyle Borman. Kyle Borman injured, blew his ACL out midway through the season. That was tragic. Bahanik, a long-time dedicated football player, done everything the coaches have asked him. Weight room in the summers, every practice working for the team. Bahanik gets in there to get some snaps in this semifinal contest as well.
Tate Furch just took the first knee as you hear the Garrigan crowd down beneath us applauding. Work one like day for Tate Furch, 4 of 5 through the air for 80 yards and 3 touchdowns. Hit a couple of big pass plays, one to Michael Joyce and one to Weston Rosemeyer. As he takes another knee, he'll have to do that one more time. Furch also rushed for 73 yards and 3 touchdowns on the ground in this one. It's exactly what you come to expect from this Bishop Garrigan senior quarterback, leading this offense to a 60-point game.
Now the Audubon coach is bringing his seniors off to a standing ovation by the Audubon crowd, obviously. You know, you talk about the last time they were in the Dome. These guys that are exiting the field right now were in 6th, 7th grade. And that is powerful in the minds of a young boy to see a team down here in the Dome. It makes you want to get there. That's where the seed is planted, and that's why some of these teams have such dynasties like Garrigan here. You know, you just keep it going because all those youngsters watching this right now, they want to do this too when they're that age.
And Furch takes a knee one final time. The Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears are heading back to the state championship game. After a heartbreaking semifinal loss last year, it's a different story this season. Even Marceau firing up the crowd down beneath us, and it's over. 60-36 is your final score. The Golden Bears were not stopped in the second half. They forced 5 turnovers, and then are moving on to the state championship game coming up on Thursday, November 20th. Garrigan will take on the winner of Woodbine and Gladbrook-Rhinebeck. That game coming up after this one wraps up as the players will shake hands at midfield. We'll step aside for a timeout and come back and wrap it up with our post-game thoughts after this on KLGA and KLGZ.
High school sports on Hometown Home Country Radio, brought to you by these fine sports boosters.
Greg Penning and Company, certified public accountants, where everyone counts.
Albert Electric. Flip the switch to Neil Albert Electric.
Dump It, Kasuth County's local and reliable waste service provider for commercial and residential customers in our area.
Glenn's Green Thumb. Paint your outdoor space with inspiration from Glenn's Green Thumb, North Main Street, Algona.
Weichert Realtors, the 515 agency, a fresh approach to real estate.
Tom Eischen Sales, your store in the country, carrying steel and Toro products and Green Mountain pellet grills.
All sponsors of this broadcast.
Thank you to these sports boosters bringing you this game on Hometown Home Country Radio.
J&J Custom Meats, located in Whittemore, continuing the tradition.
West Bend Ford, meeting your service, new car sales, and used car sales needs.
Tangle Salon for all your cuts, colors, hair extensions, and massage therapy needs.
Fairway Meat and Grocery. Everything's easier, fresher, and faster with Algona Fairway.
Lusher Family Dentistry, serving your family since 1965 on Call Street in Algona.
Ulrich Construction. Let them do the work.
Trend Salon, your complete family hair salon. It's all about you.
Bringing you this game on Hometown Home Country Radio.
Welcome you back to the Uni Dome here in Cedar Falls, Iowa, which is where Bishop Garrigan will return next week for the state championship game. Final score in this one, Bishop Garrigan 60 and Audubon 36. I'm Tyler Lance alongside Beanie Bodie, looking at a couple of quick final stats for this afternoon's and this morning's game. First all, the yardage gain today, total on the ball game for this one. Bishop Garrigan ended of 297, Audubon of 246, as the Golden Bears were able to really both balance the pass and run game. 80 passing yards for Bishop Garrigan, hit on the big play today, and then 217 rushing yards in this one for the Golden Bears. First downs were in favor of Bishop Garrigan, 21-18. Time of possession in this ball game, 26:02 for Garrigan and 21:58 for Audubon. Overall, the stats were pretty even in this one as far as the team perspective, but the one big advantage Bishop Garrigan had, 5 turnovers by the Audubon Wheelers, and I believe 4 of those 5 eventually turned into Bishop Garrigan touchdowns. Looking at the individual stats for Bishop Garrigan, Tate Furch, 4 of 5 through the air for 80 yards, 3 touchdowns and no picks. He also had 15 rushes for 73 yards and 3 touchdowns on the ground. Ethan Marceau, 29 rushes for 112 yards. He scored 2 touchdowns, while C.J. McGregor had 5 carries for 29 yards. Receiving, Michael Joyce, 1 catch for 38 yards and a score. Weston Rosenmeyer had 2 catches for 36 yards and a touchdown. Mad Miller, 1 reception for 6 yards and a touchdown, as Miller also caught a couple of 2-point conversions. For Audubon, it was Aiden Kiergaard, 5 of 9 for 42 yards, no touchdowns and 1 pick. He had 27 rushes for 151 yards and 3 touchdowns. Mason Kasperbauer toted the rock 9 times for 59 yards, while Carson Russell had 5 carries for 17 yards in this one. Again, I'm Tyler Lance alongside Beanie Bodie. Beanie, I'll use the word opportunistic again, because not only did Bishop Garrigan force the 5 turnovers, which is something that we talked about all throughout the broadcast, but they capitalized on those turnovers. Besides the interception on a Hail Mary at the end of the first half, Garrigan got those turnovers, they went down the field and they scored touchdowns. That's just backbreaking. I mean, you can't give Bishop Garrigan all those extra possessions and expect to win. Like you said, this could have been a very close game if the turnover battle was even. It was not, and the Golden Bears are going on to the state title.
Yeah, Audubon had 2 bad snaps. But other than that, Weston Rosemeyer just took the ball away from a ball carrier. That turnover was earned by the Bears. Interception by Miller was incredible. The quarterback thought he could sneak one over the top of Miller, but Miller leapt up and grabbed it, and that turned the tide as well. So those turnovers weren't complete and total mistakes by Audubon every time, as much as they were Bears playing some good D on a couple of those turnovers. And yes, opportunistic, they turn those into points. But this team from Audubon is really, really impressive. As we come down here in the semifinals, there's 2 more teams warming up already. One thing that they all have in common in these 8-player teams that make to the semis is size and participation. So 2 kinds of size, both sides of the bodies. This Audubon team was huge, 280 pounds, 260 pounds, 230 pounds. But they also have 30-plus guys on their roster, which in 8-player football is not that common. We don't see many teams come to Conway Field back in Algona that have 35 guys on their roster. But these 4 semifinal teams, they do. There are great participation and very impressive when you get down to the semis, but that's what it should be. These are the elite teams in the state. The biggest class in football is 8-player football, 67 teams. Like, you got to be good to get here.
You certainly do, and Bishop Garrigan has answered every test this season. They are now 12-0, while Audubon falls to 11-1. Beanie, I want to commend the offensive play calling in this game for Bishop Garrigan. You knew it would be a run-heavy approach, and it was. You had Marceau over 100 yards, Tate Furch getting a big game on the ground as well, and just moving the chains time after time. But I also felt Golden Bears knew when to take shots in this game. You saw that one-play drive. Audubon fumbles the ball. Weston Rosemeyer, by the way, a great play to get the ball out from Aiden Kiergaard.
Right.
Next play, it's a shot play. Michael Joyce, touchdown Bishop Garrigan. Then later on in the fourth quarter, Garrigan gets the ball. They go with a big formation, but they sneak one of their tight ends, Weston Rosemeyer, out. It's another shot play, touchdown Garrigan again. So I thought they picked really good times today to dial up shots and then mix that into the power run game.
Yeah, that big play to Michael Joyce was beautiful and really separated the 2 teams, because they both had established that they could both run the ball effectively. And that pass from First to Joyce, it kind of told the Audubon team, like, oh, boy, they can do that too. Like, how can we can't stop everything that Bishop Garrigan can do offensively. But, yeah, I agree. The play calling was very fun there. They only had to pass the ball 5 times, but it seems like they passed it more because it was so effective. They got that little tight end play that they run when they run the 2 tight ends out there. That's impressive, but Furch has been very wise with the ball, and sometimes their good play calling is sometimes the most insignificant, unnoticeable ones. Like in that third quarter when it was still a pretty good game and Audubon's trying to fight their way back in, Garrigan finds himself with 3rd and maybe a tough 8 yards to gain. They dial up that quarterback draw to Furch, block it beautifully, and they pick up the 3rd and long, no problem. And it doesn't go with great fanfare, but if Audubon holds them there and gets the ball back, it's a different game. So, yeah, I agree, Tyler. Great play calling, both big flashy ones and the ground and pound ones you need when you got to get some tough yards.
And the defense might go overlooked for some people today, but it's not going to go overlooked in this broadcast because, look, 36 points looks like a lot to a while, but when you're facing a team that averages 67 points per game, holding them to 36 is very good. That's the most points Garrigan's allowed this year or last year for that matter. But, again, you're facing the #1 scoring offense in the state. It's a bend-but-don't-break approach. They forced Audubon to earn it down the field. What were our keys to the game? Force turnovers and don't give up a big play.
Yeah.
Mission accomplished for Garrigan in that respect.
Yeah, sometimes it works out for you. It didn't work out for the Bears last year. It just a couple bounces of the ball the wrong way, but this year it's working out in the semis. And I will say, Brian Patterson came up in the press box after the quarterfinal win to get here, and we asked him, I asked him, I said, boy, Don Bosco was really moving the ball on you. Why didn't you start hitting the gaps and sending some linebackers and doing some blitzes? And he said, no, we're just going to play it straight. We just tell the kids to tackle better, to do your job better. And, that worked. It worked. It worked against Don Bosco, and it worked tonight because they didn't do anything flashy defensively. They just did their jobs. They played their formation, and everyone did their role, and it worked out. They gave up 36 points, which is fine when you're scoring 60, but that defensive strategy has worked. Not to say that there's one game left. If the Bears want to start getting creative and using some of those talented athletes that they have in the secondary, Furch, Joyce, McGregor, all those guys, and start sending some blitzes, I think they could wreak some havoc there too. So it's weird to be in the semifinals and say there's still a lot of progress this team can make.
Well, there's always something to improve on in high school football. There's so many plays and so many moments. You can't do everything perfectly, but Bishop Garrigan, they've been close to the perfect this season with now a 12-0 record. Wrapping up today's broadcast, we have our Erpeling Voigt Company Player of the Game coming up next on KLGA and KLGZ.
Erpeling Voigt & Company CPAs has a simple philosophy about the way they approach their business. Put people before the numbers. Before they can help you plan for a better financial future, they must have a thorough understanding of where you've been and where you want to go. They listen, then ask the important questions to build long-lasting relationships with their clients. They promise to know you and help you. Erpeling Voigt & Company CPAs. They're more than just taxes.
Back for our final segment here inside the Unidome in Cedar Falls. Again, I'm Tyler Lance alongside Beanie Bodie. It's our Erpeling Voigt & Company Player of the Game, as each week we choose a Golden Bear player who really stood out on the gridiron and contributed to the Bishop Garrigan efforts. Beanie, you and I were unanimous on this one again this week. There wasn't a whole lot of discussion. Sometimes we like to give it to more obscure guys, and, it's easy to give it to certain guys week after week, but for this one, we're giving it to Madden Miller. What an impact Madden Miller had in this ball game. First, early in the ball game, Audubon is setting up a middle screen. Looked like it was going to be a big play, but Miller made a great tackle in open space to stop that. Later in the game, Audubon tries the screen pass again. They throw back against the grain. Miller intercepts it, rumbles down the field, stops an Audubon drive, and I think at that point really grabbed momentum for Bishop Garrigan. Not to mention offensively, Miller catches a 6-yard touchdown pass. He catches a couple of 2-point conversions and tipped 2 balls at the line of scrimmage as well defensively, was in on a ton of tackles tonight. What an all-around game by the junior Madden Miller.
Yeah, Miller, definitely the impact player of the game. And coming back from injury, he got injured before the St. Ed's game during warm-ups, hurt his ankle real bad. And thankfully the Garrigan team has the depth, because you lose a player like Madden Miller, sometimes that's all she wrote for a season. But Garrigan's depth, it just is very successful. And Miller comes back, playing a little gingerly for a couple games, but boy, he looked 100% today, and then some great heads-up plays by him, not just with his skills of speed, size, his aggressiveness, but but just real headsy plays. All night he was taking on a pulling guard. And if you're a defensive end and have played that is just miserable to have those pulling guards coming at you all night. Just when you think you're getting somewhere, there's a guy in your face trying to knock you to the ground, and he really took those blockers on all day. I keep thinking it's night. It's only, was it even noon yet? But boy, Madden Miller, heck of a game. That interception both last week and this week were key. You know, that guy's not going to get in the Des Moines register as the flashy guys like Furch and Marceau and Joyce are going to get on there for their offensive stats. But Madden Miller definitely stepped up today and earned this player of the game.
So congratulations to Madden Miller, and congratulations to Bishop Garrigan. They're heading back to the state championship game for the second time in the past 3 years, as they'll take on the winner of Gladbrook Rhinebeck and Woodbine. That'll do it for today's broadcast. Big thank you to all our sports club members and postseason sponsors presenting this one. This has been a sports production of KLGA and KLGZ. For my partner Beanie Bodie, I'm Tyler Lance signing off. Your final score, Bishop Garrigan 60 and Audubon 36.